All right, we're live. You guys ready? All right.
Born ready.
We are live from the NFL Draft with the Paul Farrington Show. Paul, joined by Jack Weinberger and Robert Ziggy Ziegler. We got our boy Ryan here from On the Line podcast right in front of us on Radio Row.
Can't quite see him, but he's here.
Yeah, you can't see him, but he's here. He's filling in for producer. Yeah, there you go.
He's better than producer Zach, honestly.
Oh, well, Zach's watching this, so we got to
Well, we
be.
can't throw shade at Zach.
We can't throw
Come on,
shade.
Zach's our guy.
Especially when he's not here. It's the perfect time to throw shade at him. So we're here live at the NFL Draft at Lambeau Field. The draft stage is just, stone's throw away from us here.
And we just got an email. The NFL Draft is at maximum capacity.
It's
no one else can get
I'm
in.
sure everyone can see on TV, and it's pretty funny because we're here at the draft, but we're actually watching on TV as well. So we're seeing the same NFL Network, ESPN shows that you guys are. But it's cool in this room that we're in, just to give some background information. You might even be able to see, I'm not sure if the shot will capture it, but you'll be able to see potentially some of the prospects after they're drafted come into this room. Right off to our left, they go over for media questions, for interviews. It's going to be pretty cool here. We've never done anything like this before, but so far, I'm loving Lambeau Field in Green Bay, even though I'm a Vikings fan. What about you guys?
Go ahead, Ziggy.
Having the opportunity to walk on Lambeau Field, I will say, it's one of the greatest experiences in my entire life. Everybody was saying, we're talking to Bozorowski Productions, Alex Boz, and he was telling us that that's an extremely rare opportunity. Very rarely do you get to do this.
Ryan's nodding his head, too.
He couldn't believe that it was opened up for us, but it was. And the opportunity to go out there, see where all these Packers players had played, all these Minnesota Vikings players had played, where Sam Darnold had an absolutely incredible game last year. And, it's unbelievable. Being at Lambeau and really being in an environment where you've got the history of Lambeau Field combined with the future of the NFL.
All right.
There's really something special about having the draft here.
Yeah,
you have to admit, right?
Cool.
They bring out the 13 championships, they bring out all the rings, you've got the gigantic Lombardi trophy. Like that combination of history and the future, it really is special.
It's been a great experience. And, Green Bay, probably the second best fan base in all of football behind my Pittsburgh
Behind the Vikings?
Steelers.
Oh.
Behind my Pittsburgh Steelers. Ryan's pointing at it. He's saying number one, but it's so surreal. And, Paul, it is funny you point out that we fly miles and miles and miles from Jersey. You came from Florida. Ziggy from D.C. The draft is taking place live a few feet away from us,
yes.
Yet we're watching it on TV, which is funny. And to just walk through this whole area, and we're lucky enough to get media credentials and these passes. To walk through these areas, we were on stage yesterday, and we got a little tour of the tunnel where the players are going to come out. We went on to Lambeau Field. Ziggy says the grass smells like victory.
Yeah,
which is
I know.
probably
Going crazy.
Which is the quote of the trip. It's been great so far, and people that are lovely fans recognizing us. Like last night, we were at a Stadium View bar, had a great time. We were getting drinks bought for us left and right. It's been great so far.
Luckily Ziggy kept everyone in check to make sure we were good to go for tonight.
He was the DD.
So that's enough about us. People aren't watching because they want to hear about Jack, Ziggy, and Paul. People are here because they want to hear about the NFL Draft. And I'll tell you what, I think we've got a really exciting one dialed up. There's already been a transaction that we'll get to in a minute I think is really significant. The Cleveland Browns traded 2 6th-round picks to the Texans in exchange for a 5th-round pick and a 7th-round pick into the future.
Ziggy's got some theories on that.
Everybody knows who number 1 is going to be, and I think everybody knows who number 2 and number 3 are going to be, but where those players are going to go.
Does anyone know who number 3 is going to be?
You're right. We know who number 2 is. We don't know where that's going to be, and after that, we were talking with Daniel Jeremiah yesterday. He indicated that there's rumors of Jaxson Dart. Jack's new best friend was telling us he thinks it might be Shedeur Sanders.
Johnny Mitchell, former New York Jet.
After that, who knows what's going to happen. There are so many players to be had in this draft.
Well, so you say Cam Ward here is locked into number 1, but if you've seen Draft Day, Bo Callahan was number 1 too, and Kevin Costner was the only person who knew. Nobody came to his birthday party. He was falling down that board. So you never really do know.
I just watched Draft Day the other day. Underrated movie.
I like that movie. They trade 3 first-round picks for a running back.
You're right. That goes against everything I've ever said.
He's good, though. He's good. He's Arian
I think
Foster.
we've got a lot to look forward to, and the NFL Draft will be starting in just a few minutes.
Ziggy, you understand here, by the way, that what you did right before the draft, I think, was despicable, and you might not even realize it. Despicable might be a harsh word, but you did the media nightmare, I think, 5 minutes before we came on air. Ziggy comes reaching over. There's wires all over the table here. Everyone's working. They got their setup. And Ziggy comes over my shoulder with a little contraption. I go, what are you doing? He's like, just brewing myself some tea.
Look, man.
And with all the
I get
cables everywhere, Ziggy has up to the brim a cup of tea here that he brewed for himself right on top of all the expensive equipment. And it seems like he's really enjoying it. So you got away with it.
Well,
but
this tea probably costs more than most of the equipment here.
how much is that tea?
It's per pound, at least. It's a lot. We're not going to talk about that.
Wait,
What we are
how
going to
much
talk
are you
about
paying
is this
for
is some
tea?
unbelievable. There's only one family in Japan that knows how to make this tea. It's a particular kind of fermented green tea. They've been breeding their own varietals for years. This stuff is unbelievable. You can get it at 05 Tea Bar. It's called Meandering Monk. I don't know the Japanese name for it anymore, but this stuff is delicious.
Are you the only person in the world who would say something like that at this NFL draft media room?
Probably.
Yes, I think Ziggy,
that's why the fans watch us. You never know what you're going to get.
Ziggy knows more about tea than anyone in this room, and it's probably not even close. It
Well,
sounds like he's. If you think that tea pound for pound is more expensive than any of the equipment here, I don't know. I don't want to know what you're paying for tea. Must be good though.
Talk pound
must
for
be
pound. I think I'm stronger than The Rock. If you talk pound for
Jack,
pound.
what are you talking
Ridiculous.
I just love the looks that we're getting across the table here.
Yeah, he's
Come
going.
on, come on,
How does anyone listen to
So
this show?
if your screen suddenly goes black for whatever reason, now we know because Ziggy has tea and I'm drinking Pepsi, and we got a bunch of wires here in front of us. So we'll try to be as safe as we can.
It has
and
been.
I hate to disappoint our fans, but I do have to put out there early, because we're in a public environment, because we're at the NFL draft, the shirt must remain on for the entire show.
Oh yes.
I was begging.
I don't want any fans. I know we've had some scandals in the past around this.
I was begging for him to take it off.
The
but-
fans were begging. We were walking around today, and people were asking for Ziggy to take off his shirt.
But before we get in, so the NFL draft is about to start. We're closing in on 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. I've got to give you my take about what's going to happen, because I think something nobody's expecting is going to
I'd love to
happen
hear
as
it.
early as pick number 2. So, of course, Cam Ward is going number 1. That's locked in. We all know that. We've got everybody outside is expecting it. And everybody knows Travis Hunter is going number 2. He's maybe the most talented player in the draft. He's certainly the most versatile. There's a lot that guy's going to be able to do. The question is, where is he going to go? And he's been connected to the Cleveland Browns for months. But very recently, I talked about that trade the Browns made with the Texans, giving up 2 6th-rounders for a 5th and a 7th. Teams usually only do that if they have a deal in place. And reporting has emerged over the past few days, the Browns are desperately trying to trade down to a particular spot because they want to select a tackle. The thought is they're going to go down to number 5 with the Jaguars. Now, why would the Browns do that? Well, there's 2 tackles that are really exciting in this draft. Of course, there's Will Campbell. There's also Membu. So a lot of excitement there. Now, why would the Jaguars be moving up? If you want to supercharge your offense, and with Liam Cohen getting hired, this is what everybody's expected. People have been connecting him with Ashton Genty for a while, but Jack knows
I feel
this
like
as well
that's
as
very
anyone.
recent. The Genty
Ashton
stuff.
Genty is not going to supercharge your offense. I think he's a great player, but I think
A lot
on
of
his
people
own,
here would disagree with you.
who's going to supercharge your offense more, though? You can get Ashton Genty, great running back, or Travis Hunter. I mean, Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, Trevor Lawrence, and let's not forget, Travis Etienne is no bum. He's not a garbage
He
player.
was for my fantasy team last year. It was brutal.
very good.
But no, I like Etienne.
Tank
I like
Bigsby's,
Etienne.
he's their guy. Tank
Yeah.
Bigsby.
So
They
I
got
am-
a lot of weapons there.
I am predicting, I'm staking it now, it's a live show, this could go horribly wrong. I am predicting that you will see the Jacksonville Jaguars trade up to number 2 to select Travis Hunter. Now, if that happens, that will complicate a whole bunch of the rest of the draft, and we'll get there when we get there. But keep an eye out on number 2. There's been a lot of chatter, and the Browns are making trades to suggest that they have a partner in mind.
I wonder,
You heard it here
Ziggy,
first.
I wonder, Ziggy, with the Browns, would that be a mistake, do you think, for them to not when they drop back and can still go after a quarterback here, do you think that them taking a tackle, let's say they go back to 5 and they can get Membu, they could get Will Campbell, I just feel like if you're rolling into the season with, it's Kenny Pickett's there right now, right? I'm not crazy. Did something happen? Like Kenny Pickett's their guy at the moment. I just don't understand what the thought process is in Cleveland.
Well,
I know
here's
that you
what
have
the
all
thought
the money.
process is. The thought process is trading back now gives us ammunition to trade up to get the quarterback we want.
Later on in the draft.
So, Sanders and Dart, they're both projected to fall a little bit farther than people might have thought. Of course, there's a question of the Giants.
Yeah, people talking about 3. So, what's funny? We start the show and you go, we know that 1, 2, and 3 are logs. And
I
now
was
you
wrong.
present,
1 and 2, I think, are
Now you
locked.
present.
No,
well,
you said
you
2's not
just said the 2's all over the place and could get traded.
Well, no, which team selects at number 2?
The player.
I
okay,
think
okay.
Travis Hunter is locked at 2.
I mean, Travis
That's really
Hunter.
funny.
he is the best player in the draft. He's the #1 prospect. And you guys are going to call me absolutely crazy. My boy Kenny Pickett's a Super Bowl champion. I mean, you pair up Kenny Pickett now with Travis Hunter and Jerry Jeudy. I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So we'll see.
Wait, you might transition over?
You heard it here first on the Paul Farrington show, but I'm going to talk about number 3 here now, after Ziggy brings up number 2. And we are sitting about 100 feet away from an old New York Jet.
Hunter Cabrera donated $2 and asked you for this opinion, by the way.
What did...
On who the Giants should
wants
take
to
it
know
three.
who you think the Giants should take it
okay,
three.
that's shout out Hunter. That's my sister's boyfriend. So Johnny Mitchell, an old Nebraska Cornhusker, first-round pick, New York Jet, is sitting a few feet away from us right now.
I mean, Jack, you're his best friend. You got pictures of him and everything.
I talked to him for about 15 minutes, became good friends with him over, the course of the last hour here in this room. He was telling me that he's been in the league. He knows how this works. He knows what's going to happen. I'm like, all right, give it to me. Give it to me, John. What are you talking about here? He's like, all right, all these negative connotations around Shedeur Sanders, it's a big-time smokescreen. He says the New York Giants, at number 3, will take Shedeur Sanders. And if they do not, Pittsburgh is trading into the top 10 to take Shedeur Sanders. Now, Shedeur is currently plus 500, 5-1 odds to go in the top 10. If it's not the Giants, look for Pittsburgh to make a move into the top 10 for Shedeur Sanders. That's what I'm hearing from my new buddy, Johnny Mitchell.
Let's ask Jack. I think we know how you're going to answer this. And you've been following the show, you know too. Do you think Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback that should be going second?
I like Jaxson Dart more than Shedeur Sanders. I'd rather have Jaxson Dart, but Shedeur Sanders, and people, my father won't like this, but he's actually grown on me a little bit.
Is that Roger Goodell on a bicycle?
Yes. He's biking out right now.
We were on that stage
What?
not too long ago, guys.
I love that. That's what's cool
Okay,
about
well,
Green Bay. Is all these traditions. It does feel very college town-like, doesn't it?
Well, it reminds me of Penn State.
Am I missing something here? Can either of you explain to me why he's on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I see.
when they training camp, right? In training camp, they ride a young fans and they're walking out with the young fans.
Roger Goodell looks like he's never been on a bicycle before. I'm gonna level with.
By the way, just to add in, the best thing about when Johnny Mitchell came by and started talking about saying he's been in the league and he knows what's happening. Yeah, he was looking at us dead in the eye. Never met him before, and he was like, this is how it works in the league. And after he goes on this whole spiel and he says, adamantly, I've done this before. Ziggy looks him dead in the eye and goes, yeah, but Jack really likes Jaxson Dart. What are you talking about?
Admittedly, he doesn't know who he's talking to. Jack's never been wrong.
Oh, well, that's true.
I'm wearing this Steeler jersey, and he comes up to me. He's like, Shedeur Sanders at 3 for Pittsburgh. I'm like, what? 3? Like, we can get him at 21. Then he's like, no, it's all a smokescreen, dude. Like, you're either going to trade up. If the Giants don't take him at 3, like it was all this whole thing, but he seemed to know Shedeur was going in the top 10.
I am a little bit puzzled about the way the top 10's been talked about, because I think maybe the most interesting prospect, in my opinion, that could be in the top 10 hasn't been mentioned by a single draft analyst.
Who?
A case of spotted cow. I mean, you're in Green Bay, Wisconsin. You have an opportunity to select something unbelievable, and no one's doing it.
Hunter responds. He says, Shedeur Sanders is a second-round pick at best. Also, shout out to John, who says, Jack, do you think the Steelers in the 3rd take Khalil Black? I don't want to. I don't know. Is this a joke?
I can't quite see. What is
this a joke? Khalil Blacks. It sounds like
yes.
like a joke. Yeah.
It's a joke,
I
yes.
don't want to say it all the way through. So it looks like the draft is about to kick off here. And what do you guys think of when they open it up and it'll be 10 minutes on the clock for the Tennessee Titans? I wish that they would just get it over with.
Milk it a minute or two. I get it. You need to happen. This is just TV time. But this is part of why we're excited to be doing this live, is this is really an opportunity for us to just talk NFL, talk with the fans.
It is really cool how they have it set up right now. We were walking around yesterday, and they've been working on this since late March, they said, around here, building this setup. And what actually surprised us, and Ziggy, I think you were the most surprised about this, was that yesterday they didn't have a lot of this completed. They were still building a ton of the set. Yesterday when we were walking around, they had boards all over the place. It was basically a construction site, and we got lost inside Lambeau Field while we were walking around. That's how we roll. We're trying to find the pro shop. Next thing you know, we're stuck in Lambeau Field.
And it's just so big. There's so much history.
We're one of the last media people in the entire area. And we're like, we got to get out of here. This is just an active construction site right now. But it's been really cool. And more in this area where we're at right now, like Bass is right over there doing a show. Rocked On Lines is in front of us. They had a keyboard issue that looked really bad, but they figured it out.
So they got it, which is good.
Bustin' with the Boys is over here. I was just basically eating dinner next to them. It's pretty cool in the room. And here's Clay Matthews. You know, Clay Matthews, he makes my top 5 most hated Packers.
It is just...
He's definitely in there. Clay.
It's insane to look at the crowd here in Green Bay. And
the crowd is crazy.
We were just walking around yesterday, and it was just us.
Empty. It was empty yesterday.
We
were on
totally
the stage.
empty.
We walked into the green room. We got to look at everything, and now there's 100,000 people outside.
Now today, lugging our equipment from our car to the media room here. We had to push through millions of people who were recognizing us. We were stopping to talk to them. It was great, but I kind of missed when it was empty.
Yeah, this is cool. And even though I'm a Viking fan, I do have to say, walking around the whole place, and I don't have the same like Ziggy appeal to it, where I'm stopping and smelling the grass and saying it smells like victory. But
there's something special about it.
You do have to appreciate the area where you are. If you're a football fan, that is. If you're a Viking, Bear, Lion fan, it's really cool. Field Yates was doing a live show from someone's backyard with a great shot of the stage and the Lambeau Field signs. Like, you don't get that anywhere else. There's no other place in the world, no other football team in the world where you're going to see that.
I do feel a need to announce the Tennessee Titans, the team I picked to win the AFC South last year, is officially on the clock
the
for number 1 overall pick in the draft.
That.
I think we all know where this is going. We will see where it goes, but one other thing to say about this, Clay Matthews came out, said his little spiel about the Bears still sucking, and I have to say, as a Vikings fan, we were talking about this last night at Stadium View, Paul. It really is hurtful, the way that Green Bay Packers fans treat us. Right, the Bears get all this attention. They get all this hate. They're clearly the number 1 rival. Yeah. I think Packers fans sometimes, when they tell us, like, you guys are our favorite rival now, they think that makes us feel good. Like, oh, we hate you less. I feel like we're just occupying a smaller and smaller place in the Packers fans' hearts as they continue to shift their attention towards the Chicago Bears. And as the Chicago Bears, they'll be making some big moves tonight. There's no doubt about it, trying to improve their team under new ownership. I feel like the power dynamics in the NFC North are shifting a little bit.
Shifting towards what?
Ziggy.
The Bears?
A little bit.
You haven't seen anything.
Ziggy,
they won 5 games last year.
You know what's really hurtful, Ziggy? Is the fact that you're here sitting next to me and you got a shirt on.
Oh, jeez.
That's what's hurtful.
Back to this.
We're running a professional show tonight.
We're talking Bears fans and Vikings fans.
The draft next year is in Pittsburgh. Don't you want to go? Let's run a professional show.
I love that Ziggy's sitting there saying the power dynamic has shifted in the NFC North when the Lions are the co-favorites with the Eagles, essentially.
No, but it's not
Packers
just the Vikings,
have their quarterback who is hurt coming back next year.
But the Lions now, they're everyone's most hated.
You can't say the Bears have is shifting.
The Bears are taking a little bit of our... Like, it feels like we've been forgotten about.
And the Bears won 4 games
in the Lions.
Yeah, so with the Titans on the clock here, it seems obvious that Cam Ward's going to be the pick. If not, I think everyone here, especially Ryan, who's writing an article about it right now, will be very upset in this room. It will be quite a bit of ruckus. Let us know also in the chat if the audio is a little messed up, because they're now blasting the NFL Network audio. Daniel Jeremiah, who we actually got to talk to a little bit yesterday, he seemed to dispel the Jaxson Dart to the Giants rumors that
What
Joel
do you mean
Klatt.
Dispel?
He said, I don't think it's going to happen.
No, he said, I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm hearing about it.
He said the birdies are chirping, but I'd be very surprised. That seems to me like dispelling.
But I will say this. Well, we've got a minute here, Paul. Is there anybody that you need to shout out? So we're talking about someone sitting across the way from us.
Yeah, I was going to shout out during the Packer portion. I guess I'll do it twice. But
well, why not two? Why not two?
See, this is the problem, Ryan.
We do it multiple times,
we're sitting here, and Ziggy's like doesn't think I know how to do the job. It's
well,
you could
well,
see it, right?
I don't think that because you don't.
I mean, it hasn't even been pick 1 yet. So
I mean, producers Zach keeps the show in order.
All right, well, I'll shout out right now. On the Line podcast with Evan Smith and Ryan Brom at chaferpodcast.com. Go check them out.
It's that Evan Smith, the one who got stomped by Ndamukong Suh.
Yes, the one who got stomped on by Ndamukong Suh. Yep, you got to go check them out. Again, On the Line podcast with Evan Smith and Ryan Brom at Chafer, that's SEEHAFER podcasts with an S.com.
And I have to clarify, it's Braum with an M. It's not Ryan Braun, the old Brewers player.
Yes, we clarified
it's
that.
Braum with an
we
M.
clarified
It's not that
as well.
Ryan Braun.
Not an
It
M.
is that.
That'll be a story time during the
Yeah, when the pack. I mean, we got what? We got
Yeah,
3.5
we'll tell that
hours
during the-
here.
during
We
the
got a
Packer
lot of
pick,
time to hang out here. I'm sure at some point Zach says get it together.
Yeah,
at
he's
some
talking
point,
about you, Paul. He's not
I'm
talking
sure
about me.
that the camera battery will go out as well. So you have to remember, there are a lot of professionals here. We're professionals, but we have that still amateurism attached to us. That
We are professionals in credential only.
Yes.
We are absolutely not
we
real
try to get by on
professionals.
likability, and hopefully that pays off most of the time. I can see how maybe not everywhere, but
And we do want to say thanks to everybody who's been here so far. There's a whole bunch of you. Feel free to throw some likes at this video. We're trying to get it out as much as we can. And if you got any questions, you can throw them in the chat.
oh,
We're
Jeffrey
not sure.
Title says fire Ziggy.
Yeah, everybody says fire Ziggy. That's how it's been for years. But
That's how you
I'm
know
on
you're
that
loved,
Tua
Ziggy.
Tagovailoa contract. You can't fire me.
That's how you know you're loved. We paid Ziggy the big bucks, so he's stuck here with
Yeah,
us.
everyone's
but
saying fake it till you make it. I mean,
If
we're
you've
doing a
got
pretty
any-
good job of that, right? I
If
would
you've
say
got any
so.
questions,
I would too.
feel free to throw them in the chat. We're going to have a lot of time here. The NFL draft, I think every single year, I sort of forget just how much time there is in the middle.
Yeah.
But that's what you all are here for.
So Cam Ward, he's going to go number one here in about, hopefully in 5 minutes. You know? So
And then we'll see if my prophecy comes true.
Jack, you always liked him though this whole season, didn't you? I mean, I remember being on your couch a year ago before Cam Ward had this great season with Miami, and we were talking about. So again, you guys know I went to Notre Dame. Ziggy went to Notre Dame. We were looking at transfer quarterbacks who could become part of the Fighting Irish, and our old co-host Andrew. Basically, you shit on me for saying Riley Leonard was a potential guy. He's like, no way is Leonard from Duke going. But Cam Ward was someone we talked about a lot. None of us saw a season like this coming. I mean, we all knew he was really talented.
Wait, the pick
The
is
pick is in.
already?
Yeah, well, it's
They
been 5
barely
minutes.
took 5 minutes on
Then
that.
I'll answer the question here, but carry on. Go ahead. We
No,
know
I
who
was
this-
just saying. So
we know who this is.
Cam Ward, though, you watched him a lot throughout his college career. You loved him when he went to Miami. Do you think that he's the kind of guy? We were just talking today. Is he the kind of guy that you think is worth the number one overall pick?
I mean, he's the pick, right? Like he's the pick here, but I just feel like he's being pushed up the board. To me, he's not a surefire shoe-in, like franchise turner quarterback.
But there are very few guys like that ever.
Right. But there are some guys in the past who have been legitimate. Okay, he's number one. He's the best player in this class. Cam Ward, I don't think is the best player in this class.
But do you think he'll be a good pro? Because, for instance, you did not like Caleb Williams very much, even though
No.
he was the consensus number
But
one.
Abdul Carter, I think, is a better prospect. Travis Hunter is a better
But
prospect.
you would take Cam Ward. still.
Cam Ward being a quarterback is being pressured up the board just because of some team needs, and he's the best quarterback in this draft.
Uh-huh.
He has to be the pick for Tennessee, and I do think that Cam Ward will be a good pro. I know more college football than most people in the world, and I watch more than most people in the world, and I'll sit here and admit that. I was up watching at 11 o'clock p.m. when he was playing for Wazoo. I was betting on him late night, and they do go with Cam Ward here, but I was taking him.
All right.
I was taking him late night at Wazoo, and he was great. I was on the Cam Ward train before everybody else. Then he goes to the U, great season. I think he's pressured up the board because quarterback needs, but
There
I
it
like
is.
him more than I like Caleb.
So Cam Ward has been selected. He will be going to the Tennessee Titans. And I think in a lot of ways, Cam Ward as a prospect really represents a lot about where the NFL draft is going. This is a guy who started his career at Immaculate Word, transferred up to
Immaculate Ward.
Washington State.
Ward.
Excuse me. Look, it's going to be a long night, folks. There's going to be some mistakes. Transferred up to Washington State, transferred up again to Miami.
Down to Miami.
And while there was a lot of talk, I mean, I don't know what this NFL Next Gen's draft score means here, but this doesn't matter. The thing about Cam Ward that you're excited about, I know Jack just threw some shade on him, but to make the case for Cam Ward, this guy is the best deep play quarterback that we've seen in some time coming out of the draft. I mean, this guy this year, 56% of his completions
I don't
were for
shade on
10 yards
Ward.
or more. So this is a guy, obviously, there's some things to work on. You worry about the mechanics. You want him to play a little bit less hero ball. He took 106 sacks over the last 3 years, which is a lot. But Cam Ward, more than basically any other player we've seen in some time, is incredible at pushing the ball downfield. And the modern NFL, where teams are trying to take advantage and generate big, explosive passing plays, I can see the case for him being a successful quarterback.
I didn't throw shade on Ward. I like Cam Ward. I just think that he's number one more so in this draft. Based on
where's he last year? He's behind Caleb. He's behind Jaden Daniels.
Right.
He's behind Drake May.
Right. Like based on this class.
Is he ahead of McCarthy? Is he ahead of Michael Penix
Quite
last year?
possibly. He's a borderline top 10 pick.
I think I'd take Ward over McCarthy.
Last year, yeah. So he probably would have been the fourth quarterback last year, depending on whether or not you like
Ward
Penix
more so than I like Caleb Williams last year. But still,
wait a second. Oh, that's because you dislike Caleb Williams.
He would have been behind Caleb Williams.
99% of people would rather. Talking the prospect would have taken Caleb Williams.
So I just think it's more of like the class here and the Titans really needing a quarterback. And him being the best quarterback in this draft kind of pushed him up the draft.
The Jaguars just made a trade
board.
up to number 2. You heard it here first. Paul Farrington show. The Jaguars are moving up to number 2.
Wow.
Select, guess who? Travis Hunter. So the Jaguars are receiving the 2nd overall pick, 104 and 200. The Browns are receiving the 5th overall pick, 36, 126, and 2026 first-round pick. Paul, you will remember a couple minutes ago, right before the draft, I went over to you at dinner and said, I have seen the future. And let's be clear, I'm willing to say it now that Travis Hunter is going at number 2. I can't imagine trading up for anyone else. With Liam Cohen coming in as their head coach, you're going to have Brian Thomas Jr., who is an incredible rookie, right? Borderline top 10 wide receiver from day one. You're going to have Trevor Lawrence throwing to him, and now you're going to have Travis Hunter playing both sides of the ball, filling 2 needs for the Jaguars. This is a huge, huge trade.
Oh, massive. Yeah. I mean, Ziggy did call it. He walks up to me. He walks up to me while I'm eating dinner.
Oh,
he just
and guess
goes,
what's included in this?
Yeah.
A 5th-round pick this year from the Browns.
There you go. Ziggy, I mean, you nailed that as much as I've ever seen.
Ziggy just made the trade.
Ziggy made the trade.
We were talking about, so Ashton Jeanty this entire time.
That's why you listen to the show. I mean, this is why you listen to the show.
This entire time, Ashton Jeanty was a big plus number to go top 5. And then he was a minus number a couple days ago, and we're like, a lot of speculation and Genty to Jacksonville. And I was like, wait a minute. They have Etienne, they have Tank Bigsby. The running back room is not bad. I don't know if it's worth taking a running back unless you think
he said Hunter. Travis Hunter.
No. But I'm saying unless you think it's worth taking like someone you think was Adrian Peterson, I think Genty would be a bit of a wrong and weird pick for Jacksonville. And Ziggy comes up, he's like, I think Jacksonville's trading down.
That was unbelievable, Ziggy. You nailed
the nail on the head there.
And let's review the conversation one more
trading
time.
Up, I meant.
So the Browns are getting the 5th overall pick.
Yes.
They're getting number 36, so their 2nd round pick. 126, the 4th round pick from the Jaguars, and the Jaguars' first next year. In exchange, the Jaguars are getting number 2, 104.
Can you read the round? Can you read the round as well?
Yeah. So their 4th round pick, the Browns' 4th and the Browns' 6th.
Yes.
Or excuse me, the Texans' 6th.
Well, here we go. It looks like the Jaguars know who they're going with here.
So, really what you've given up here is I'm going to call 104 and 126 basically even. The Browns are getting a 1st, a 2nd, and a 1st next year in exchange for the Jaguars getting their 1st and a 6th.
So now if you give, let's say this pick here is Travis Hunter, and you give Trevor Lawrence now Brian Thomas Jr., he has Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, assuming that Etienne doesn't wind up getting dealt. And now you add in Travis Hunter. You have to think for Trevor Lawrence that this is now it. This has to be the year where if you don't show some progress here, I even think a wild card berth has to be almost the floor for this team.
I mean, you can't do what the Panthers did. Trade up, give up a 1st round pick, and then let that be a very early 1st round pick next year.
This was a team that a year and a half ago, they were 8-3. Contending for the 1 seed in the AFC.
I thought they were getting the 1 seed. I was so high on that Jaguars team.
100%.
Trevor Lawrence was the consensus number 1 overall prospect in that draft and expected to be a franchise turnaround
went
player.
To the playoffs, went to divisional.
Took him to the playoffs. Took Kansas City to the wire in the divisional round. He's been there. He's good. We've seen his potential. And this is now his best core of receivers in Hunter and Brian Thomas that he's had.
Honestly, this could be, as early as next year, one of the best wide receiver duos in the entire NFL.
This is the best receiving duo that he has had. Houston is not some well-oiled machine. Yes, Stroud's good. They've won the division the last 2 years. If I'm Jacksonville now, my goal is to go and win this AFC South. There's no reason you can't compete with Houston.
No, that has to be the expectation at this point. If you're a Jaguars fan, you're sitting back here looking at your team where you thought you were gonna ascend into the role that Houston's taken, and the last season, I mean, what a disaster to make a move like this. You know, you're giving up a lot, as Ziggy said, but the expectation, I think, should be win the division.
Well, and our fans are divided on this. I put out a poll in the chat who won, the Browns or the Texans, and it's very close. You've got about 30 votes, 50-50 each way. So people are a little bit torn about this.
I like it for Cleveland.
From the Browns' perspective, I think I like it from them too.
I like it for Cleveland also.
They really need to rebuild from the ground up. And while Travis Hunter is an excellent, excellent player, I think he may be the best prospect in the draft, getting a tackle, getting a first-round pick next year, and a second-round pick this year,
maybe
in a draft
tackle.
where everybody's talking about.
Maybe a tackle.
It could be.
Could be a quarterback.
It could be a quarterback, but I think that second-round pick is going to be used to move up for a
Cleveland
quarterback.
And you go back to 5 now, I know they want a tackle, but if you're Cleveland, you gain that extra first-round pick.
If you wanted the quarterback, you're not moving below the Giants.
Probably not.
I think the Browns are trying to build from the ground up.
I agree.
And I think it makes a lot of sense for them to do this. And the Jaguars, they've got Trevor Lawrence. He's on that huge deal. This needs to work. There's no excuses going into next year.
But do you like the move for Jacksonville? Because we all just said we like it for Cleveland.
In
we like
general,
Cleveland's side, but you can also like Jacksonville.
I understand why the Jaguars did it.
Duval.
I am generally suspicious of trading up. I think giving up a first-round pick is a lot and probably suggests some overconfidence in how good a player or how good a prospect Travis Hunter is. But at the end of the day, if you needed an immediate infusion of talents on both sides of the ball, and the Jaguars, their two needs were wide receiver and cornerback going into this draft. You've met it.
You see, this is the problem now. Some of the chat names, when I say them in my basement, it's hysterical. But then when I say it in a room surrounded by people, and
I mean, you have
Raw
people sitting right next to us right
Raw
now.
Thanks says that's the second best trade with Jacksonville and Cleveland since Costner traded with them.
There you go. Another reference to draft day.
But so I do want to say one more thing. Let's
that.
assume I'm right and the Browns are moving down for a tackle.
You see this? The pick.
It's Travis Hunter.
Oh yeah, let's see though.
No, I already got it spoiled for me.
Yeah, I think we're behind,
we can't
right?
spoil it for people.
I'll spoil it. It's Travis Hunter.
Well, yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Well, people
Let's
are
see.
coming here because they want breaking news.
There
It is officially
Hunter.
It is officially
So
Travis
this is
Hunter.
obviously huge news for the Jacksonville Jaguars, but the team I'm thinking of most right now are the New York Jets. Because
Jets. Yes.
they've been connected to Membu for how long? Forever. But the fact is, I think that both tackles are going to be gone when they're down there. And now things will start to get interesting. So I think this move has a lot of implications for the rest of the draft. Because if you're... See, what does it mean to say Travis Hunter has an athleticism score of 78? That's garbage. I don't know what that means. His production score is a 99. Sorry, I got distracted by this ridiculous broadcast. But listen, there's going to be a lot of interest when the Jets get down, if I'm right. Travis Hunter looks absolutely thrilled. He's hitting the Jacksonville thing. And I'd be, honestly, if the choices are going to Cleveland, where you've got nobody at quarterback, or going to Jacksonville,
Where there's promise.
you've got Trevor Lawrence and you've got a great receiver next to you, I think Travis Hunter might be the biggest winner of this trade.
People are
Isn't-
talking about it right here in the
Isn't
comments
Travis
section.
Hunter a Florida guy too? Isn't he from Florida? Or am I wrong?
He committed to Jacksonville State. I think he likes the area.
So I want to just go through the chat a little bit here. Magikarp says, just wanted to hop on and say congrats on making it to the draft, fellas. Crazy how far you've come. Also, love the Genty clip. Made me spit out my drink. That was right before
Have you
Ziggy and
even seen
Genty were about to do an Oklahoma drill if the weather didn't get in the way. They're lining up on the ground.
What do you guys think of Travis's pink look?
I like it.
I like it.
I mean, look, if you're a guy from West
Oh, wait, isn't he
Palm
walking
Beach,
in? Wait, did Cam Ward walk in here? I didn't even see.
I mean,
Totally forgot about that.
it's hard for
You know,
us
it's
to
crazy.
watch.
We are at the draft.
I'm pretty
actually.
sure. I don't think they don't walk through here.
No. They walk behind us. I thought.
It's
I didn't-
unclear to me.
Wow, crazy. I totally forgot that the
we
guys
can
came
see
through.
in our camera. maybe,
We'll notice if Travis Hunter goes by because he'll be wearing fluorescent pink. But I
Ryan
think
Atkins,
as a player, Travis Hunter is as good a guy as you could possibly ask for in Jacksonville.
Oh, he's a beast. Yeah, no, it's a great night for the Browns. It's a great night for the Jaguars with the trade. But now it has to work for Jacksonville.
Yeah, if you're going to give up a first, a second, and a first next year in order to move up and get Travis Hunter a fourth and a sixth round pick, You
it has
have to
hit.
be.
There were a lot of projections that I saw pretty recently with Ted McMillan, a good receiver out of Arizona, going to Jacksonville at 5.
You're so much happier to have Travis Hunter.
Of course. But this obviously goes to show they must have liked him a whole lot more.
Because McMillan would be there 100% at 5. Well, and again, if you're a Jaguars fan, cornerback is a huge position of need for you, too. Obviously, there's going to be tons of questions. How many snaps is he going to play? Is he going to be primarily a corner, primarily a wide receiver?
I think, to me, this is showing that he's going to play both sides of the ball. I think Ted McMillan's a great receiver. Travis Hunter is better. He's the best in the country. But if you were just going to draft for a receiver's sake, I'd rather just take someone like Ted at 5 and not make this trade. Travis will play on both sides of the ball, is what this is looking like.
So I actually align with our fans here. The fan vote is in. 60% prefer the Browns, 40% prefer the Jaguars. I think that in general, trading and amassing high-quality draft picks, like a first and a second, is worth more than taking the absolute best prospect, especially if you're the Browns and are in Deshaun Watson hell indefinitely. A situation of your own making, to be fair. But once you're there, I think you have to just try and get as much cheap talent in the building as possible so you amass the picks. But what an opportunity. And the pick is now in for the New York Giants.
This is what I want to do. This is where the draft starts right now.
Look for Shedeur
Hey, there's
here,
my good
maybe.
friend Joel Klatt. He's on television right now.
Look for Shedeur. Where's my boy?
Yesterday, guys. So yeah, again, people want to know like the behind-the-scenes stuff. Yesterday, I love Joel Klatt. I think Joel Klatt is awesome. And I love listening to him talk about Notre Dame. So if you haven't seen, we did a behind-the-scenes video yesterday, and part of that was me talking to Joel Klatt for a bit. I mean, look, I like Joel Klatt. I love might be an extension
You
here.
basically just talking about Notre Dame football.
Yeah,
honestly.
I went up to him and I said, I appreciate you talking kindly about the Irish. And then we kind of went in a tailspin away from the NFL draft, which is pretty funny. But Joel was talking about, again, those little birdies saying Jaxson Dart might be the pick here for the Giants. And well, we're going to find out in a second. But later on in the day, you guys were making fun of me. We walked by the ESPN and NFL Network crews, and Joel Klatt was walking by. And, to me, I thought we were friends. Like, at this point, we talked for like 5 minutes. It was a great conversation, and I didn't know what to say, but I had to say something, I thought. And I just went, Joel Klatt.
That's it. You just said 2 words, Joel Klatt.
I just went, Joel Klatt. And he turned around, like, I'm very taken aback, and went, hey, buddy. And just kept walking. And Ziggy and Jack started cracking up.
That's better than being totally denied by
ignored.
by
Or
Jalen
being like,
Milrow.
F you.
Oh, yeah,
I don't want to
something
talk
like
to
that.
you, bum.
Jalen Milrow just declined me completely. I was trying to talk to him, and he couldn't. Apparently some weather issue. Had to get back inside.
My mother said she loved having you talk with Joel Klatt, so that was really nice. Yeah.
I thought that was hysterical. Hey, bud.
So
My
we'll see who the
cousins-
Giants pick here. I'm expecting Abdul Carter and not a quarterback. But when you've got 16 points per game, the Giants need so much help in so many places.
My cousins from Colorado say hello, by the way.
There we go.
We got the Giants pick coming in
big.
right here. Shh. Who will the
Everyone's paying
Giants
attention
select?
to this. There you go,
Okay.
Abdul Carter. All right.
I know some people wanted the Giants to take a quarterback. I understand.
So Joel Klatt's full of shit. That's
Okay,
what
let's hold on.
So hold on.
Let's
now
your
keep an
best
eye
friend
out,
Joel Klatt.
Keep an eye out for Pittsburgh to be trading up here in the top 10, according to my new friend over here.
So let's talk about this pick a little bit. The Giants here are going for just clearly the best player. Abdul Carter is one of the 3 or 4 players who's regarded as having blue chip talent in this draft, and he is an unbelievable player. I know he just had 1 season, but his breakout when he was moved to edge, Micah Parsons-esque. This guy's an unbelievable athlete. He had unbelievable production, and he's just getting started.
Mm-hmm.
I know that the Giants have some players on the defensive line. I know they made that big trade for Brian Burns, but we heard this from Aaron Glenn from the Lions a few weeks ago when he was talking about their experiences at the Combine. They were asking around trying to get teams' 3rd or 4th best edge rusher to add in order to complement the guys they have, and nobody will budge. These players are so valuable and so hard to get.
Yeah,
if you have a
Abdul
chance
Carter's
to
a
add
beast.
a blue chip edge rusher, you can't get him trading. You can't get him in free agency. If they're good, you have to pay him $40 million a year now. I totally understand if you aren't sold on a quarterback, this is the next best thing you can do.
Oh, I mean, Paul and I down in Miami got to see this guy play against Notre Dame.
With like a broken arm, basically.
And, broken arm and was just a flat-out monster.
And you think about what won the Eagles the Super Bowl. Dominance up front, right? That's what the division, that's what the conference right now is sort of trending towards. Detroit can bully you up front with that offensive line. Same with the Eagles. This is a guy who's going to come into the Giants. There's a long way to go. Let's not pretend.
Look, it's a draft party back in our hometown.
And I'm glad to see, I know there's that foot injury that was lingering. Some people have him driving down to 7 or 8 for a while. That injury, he's going to get better from it. You can't let a minor injury like that stop you from taking one of the best players in the entire
but also,
draft.
here's the thing, though. I want to just clarify. It's very exciting for the Giants, but also let's also not forget that offense needs a lot of work. Like this is I like this pick for the Giants a lot.
They got famous Jameis,
Yeah,
dude.
but here's the thing I appreciate.
There's work to be done, is what I'm saying.
Shane and Dable, their jobs are on the line this year, and it's so tempting to take the rookie quarterback and try and buy yourself another year or two, whether or not it's right for the team. Abdul Carter, especially when you can roll out Russell Wilson, who's not terrible, to play quarterback for you this year. You hope the injuries on the offensive line get better. You've got Malik Neighbors as a foundational piece of the offense.
I mean,
I think this is the pick that makes sense for the team.
The Giants' defensive line, too, is also very good, even before this pick.
It's about to get a whole lot
And it's
better.
about to get a whole lot better.
Couple things from the chat here. Augustine says, "Hi, Jack."
It's my cousin Augustine. Hi, Augustine. Out
Sorry,
in Colorado.
I've been reading. I've been reading some about Julius Caesar and the.
It makes sense. St. Augustine,
Yeah, the Saints.
Augustine,
and I was reading the
Augustine.
most influential people in the world magazine.
That's also pronounced Augustine.
Augustine. Yeah. All right. Well, then
Okay,
I'm just an idiot.
To give you an idea of how exciting a prospect Abdul Carter is, Dane Brugler puts out this draft guide every year called The Beast. It's one of the best draft guides, probably the best draft guide in the entire business.
You're a beast.
I've seen some copies of it around here. Everybody's using it. Here are the weaknesses for Abdul Carter. He was flagged a couple times for offsides, though he wasn't over any of the important games. Sometimes he's a little predictable on spins, and his foot hurts. That's it. Other than that, this guy is the perfect prospect at the second most important position in the NFL. I am totally a fan of this selection for the New York Giants.
It's a smart pick. I think it would have been fun to
say
take
these NFL GMs are really smart, and we shouldn't be saying are they good or bad. But Giants fans know when you had Dave Gettleman in the building, every year there would be picks that were disastrous and made no sense. Sometimes the obvious choice is the right choice, and if this doesn't work out, if Abdul Carter's not great, I'm not going to hold it against them. There's no other pick that makes sense here.
I mean, the last number 11 to come out of Penn State is looking pretty good, so.
I mean, Abdul Carter asked for number 11. He said, I want that because there have been so many great number 11s. I want to try and live up to that legacy. Seems to me like he's done a great job.
One could argue, too, he's the best player in this
And the pick is already
draft.
in for the New England Patriots.
This has to be this is the offensive line.
Moving.
It is moving nicely. I just want to go real quick, Ziggy.
Chatter.
I do want to go here. Ryan Atkins has been begging to know if Jack's single. He's begging to know.
If I'm single?
Yeah.
Max Hammersmith is begging for me to do the soup chug.
He says, "Is Jack? You're Jack. Is Jack single?"
Atkins is known have not been single for over a month.
He's trying.
Do you remember the cold soup chug, Jack or Paul?
The cold soup jug?
Yeah, the cold soup chug that I promised on the Paul Farrington show way
Cold
back at WVFI.
Chug? Oh,
with
yes,
Max
yes.
Hammersmith. He just asked for me to cash it in, so I can't do it. Now, producer Zach, can you please ban this fool?
Yeah, here we go.
Do you think that us three could block Abdul Carter?
No.
No.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not.
The three of us?
Absolutely
That's
not.
how many pounds is that? That's over 300 pounds.
300 pounds is the weight of the offensive lineman that Abdul Carter obliterates.
Jack was standing in the mirror last night, looking at
Hold
me.
on.
You remember last night? You're standing in the mirror,
Yeah,
in his underwear, looking at himself in the mirror.
I've
He
beefed
turns
up.
around to me and he goes, "Am I fat?"
Yeah.
In his underwear, just his underwear, nothing else. You can see most of it. And he goes, "Am I fat?"
It's a shame because
Abdul Carter's stopping that. Or running right through that.
It's a shame because I used to have some nice abs, but I don't know what happened. But I got to get back.
Yeah, but I
gotta
know what we're
get
talking
back to
about.
it.
The New England Patriots, their pick is in, and we just got a question from Michael Manning, friend of the show and New England Patriots fan.
And
how
where-
concerning are the short arms of Will Campbell?
You mean Tyrannosaurus Rex Campbell?
Yeah, how concerning are they?
It's just something to talk about.
You know, we had an
Well,
interview question. We were thinking of going up to Will Campbell and asking if you were a prehistoric animal, what would
That'd
you
be
be?
so mean.
Kenny
No.
Pickett has small
I like
hands
Will
you want a
Campbell.
ring.
I like
Pickett
Will
has small
Campbell.
hands you want a
That
ring.
can't be. I think as far as it comes with the arm length.
It doesn't
Listen,
matter.
I'm not an NFL scout. I'm not pretending to be an NFL scout. We made a YouTube show that does generally pretty well. I don't know exactly how important the arm length is.
So
I know 33 inches. All right.
I ran the numbers on
It
this.
doesn't
I did a
matter.
historical
Yes.
analysis of all the traits at the combine that are measured with offensive tackle success. Arm length is important. There's no doubt about it.
It's definitely important
But what's
from all the
more
metrics.
important than arm length and what can make up for short arm length is agility, the ability for lateral
Yes,
movement.
yes,
That makes
he's quick.
sense, right? The reason short arms are a problem, if they are a problem, is because you can't get to guys in time. If your arms are longer, obviously you can reach out and get them. But Will Campbell has so much agility that I think that more than offsets any issues he might have about his arm. Now, he has to be smart. He has to win on his first move. But LSU, it's not like he was going up against bums, right? He had to go up against guys like Shamar Stewart, who become eventual first-round NFL draft picks.
Yeah.
And he was able to handle the grind of an SEC schedule very well, despite his arms.
We got the lovely opportunity to get access to some of the prospects yesterday.
You were talking shit about him.
And no, it was not.
No. You were joking. I was like, can you take that guy? And you were like, oh, that guy? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it's Will Campbell.
He is a massive dude, and he moves well for his size too.
He just moves well in general.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
There's Ziggy with his T.
I don't believe having an inch.
Oh.
An inch of shorter arms than most is a huge deal.
Well, let us know in the chat.
I guess we'll see.
Does an inch matter? Does an inch matter?
Well,
Does
the
an
thing
inch
about Will
matter?
Campbell, I think that was most impressive
People
about
say
him
an
at
inch
I think an
LSU
inch.
is at LSU.
Ziggy seems to be saying an inch matters.
Football's a game of inches, so maybe they do.
The thing about him at LSU
Well, here we
is
go. Here we
he
go.
faced a bunch of modern defensive schemes. He's a smart player.
If it's him.
But let's
Let's
see
see.
who will
Here we
come
go.
in for Will Campbell.
Yeah.
So this is
I mean,
not a shock.
Checks
Will
out.
Campbell is coming in, and of course, given that you have Drake May, this makes a lot of sense.
Protect
I thought
him.
they might go on defense. It's the first year you've got Mike Vrabel, defensive-minded head coach. That makes a lot of sense. But Will Campbell and protecting Drake May, I think that's a great idea.
He's on he's got his blind side too, right, Will Campbell?
Yes, he'll be
Yeah.
on the blind side.
He's
Assuming they
also
keep
great
him
as a
tackle,
puller
too.
in blocking schemes. So expect my boy Ramondre Stevenson could be in for a great year.
And the other thing about Will Campbell too here, just you watch him play and he's good at football. You know what I mean? We can talk about the arm
As
length.
most
You don't have to
most of these
overthink
guys
it.
tend to be.
No, as they are. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that we can talk about his arm length being an issue. A lot of people will bring up his arm length, but if there are certain guys that I do think you just watch them play, they're good, right?
Oh,
and Ziggy brought up the reason. Ziggy brought up several reasons why he can overcome.
I'll give you one more
a quarter
reason.
of an inch or whatever.
This
I
is
don't
a
give
reason that
crap.
Packers fans will be familiar with. You know how many games Will Campbell missed starting at left tackle? Out of 38 possible games, how many games he missed?
Zero.
One.
0. He started 38 straight games, and it's a tackle that is hard to do.
Mike Manning
It's-
goes, looking at him walk around, his arms are noticeably short.
It is very cool to see them walk in through the tunnel to get to the stage, and knowing we were just there yesterday.
Paul, I tried to
see
convince
he
him
could
his
clap,
Notre
and
Dame
he was
hat
able to.
down,
No,
so he
I'm
could
not.
pick
I'm
it
not
up.
gonna shit talk Will Campbell. I think he's very, very good. I've thought he should be the pick at 4 this entire process. That's why I feel a little bit validated in being able to
We were
make the
sitting.
joke.
We were sitting today in the hotel, and Ziggy called this trade, which was awesome. But we were saying that the top 4 in terms of players, we thought were pretty solidified, and that turned out to be the case.
From
FPP coming in,
Ziggy.
$2. Ziggy, our newest Packers fan. Again, fake news, not true.
Can we get a go pack up?
But we're about to discover a lot about the NFL draft because coming up here at number 5, in case you have forgotten, it is not the Jaguars. The Jaguars trade up to 2 to select Travis Hunter. Coming in at 5 here is the Cleveland Browns. And there's a lot of ways they could go. If they take quarterback, that's going to be a big deal. If they take offensive line, that's going to be a big deal. There's only one more blue chip tackle left in Membu. And of course, I mean, the right side of the line has been good for so long. But if you think Membu can move left, that's got to be a consideration for the Browns here. This pick coming up next is going to give us a huge insight into how the rest of the draft
I
is going
think
to
the
go.
Browns are just screwed.
all jokes aside, guys, I know I've talked pretty high on my boy Kenny Pickett here, but what would Cleveland's plan be if they take
They have Flacco.
It's Membu,
Pickett,
right?
take
and
a
Deshaun
quarterback in the
Watson.
second.
But that
or
probably,
trade back up.
that probably makes the most sense, right? Is take a big
If you
tackle.
don't think any of these quarterbacks are good and you love Membu, I'd much rather. I mean, unfortunately, Browns know what it's
This
like
is
to
cool
have a
right now with Will
franchise
Campbell
left
tearing
this
up
is
here.
neat. Yeah, you get
A lot of hard work.
That's what I'd do if I was Cleveland. If you don't love Shedeur or Dart, which I doubt they do, not at 5, Dart in particular, but I would take an offensive lineman, a good high prospect, big dude, strong up front, and then look to a quarterback in later rounds.
You know what's funny, guys? Like just watching Will Campbell in his interview right here. We mentioned this yesterday when we were walking around the practice field where all these guys were playing.
Did you say I'm an effing dog?
I
That's
didn't
great.
sound like where all the guys were playing with a bunch of local kids were there and they were doing drills, football drills, and we were walking around looking at the prospects, and like they're kids really. I mean, I know we're 26, we're still young guys, but these guys are 20 years old here. Like you look at them and I was talking to Will Johnson, and I'm just looking. I'm like he's younger than like my cousins who I've known since they were.
I mean, these guys
I
aren't
held
old
them
enough
in
to
my
be
arms.
college graduates.
Look, we got the chance to talk to Matthew Golden and national champion at Michigan, Will Johnson. Like a lot of these guys, Tyler Brooks, great guy.
The
by
Browns
the way.
haven't won a
Tyler.
divisional title since 1989.
Well,
Say again?
it's
That's
been
embarrassing.
owned by Pittsburgh. But anyway, we're interviewing them, and it's super cool. And I'm looking at them while I'm interviewing these guys who are about to be millionaires. And
Already are with NIL.
Already are. And I'm like, these guys are kids. Like, I have a sister who's a senior in college, and Jalen Milroe, he's a senior at Alabama. I mean, like, what's the difference, right? I mean, they're college kids.
And when you see them, it's like you just see, and I don't mean it's a bad way, like you say, Paul, because you see the youth, right? It's like this is a guy in front of you who realize, wait, I don't care if you're 1,000,000 feet tall. I don't care if you're 1,000,000 pounds. I don't care if you're the fastest guy on the planet. I don't care who you run over on Saturdays, soon to be Sundays. You're 21 or 22 years old, and nothing's going to change that.
Yeah,
Because
that's
it's super awesome to see these guys that we're seeing tonight be able to achieve. If you are here, it has been a dream for a long time for you to hear your name called on the first round of the NFL draft with millions and millions of fans in Green Bay surrounding you.
That's
like,
why.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And you get to achieve it. Nothing can ever take that away from them. Now, who are the Browns
Here
going
we
to
go with the
select?
Browns. This is very
Here we
interesting.
go. Let's see.
This is
Do you
the most
guys
interesting
remember-
pick yet here.
Hold on. Here we go. Let's see. Let's see what the Browns go with.
I'm thinking it's
Membu.
yeah.
Oh, there you
Now,
go.
this is
Okay.
interesting. So, Mason Graham
This
was not
is
a player I was
very
picking
interesting.
here. Now, Mason Graham, I think, is an excellent player. And I've talked about this before on our show. These defensive tackles that can pass rush, that can stop the run, they're the future of the NFL, and it's an incredibly important position. You've been able to see what, say, Chris Jones has been able to do in Kansas City, what Sexy Dexy has done for the New York Giants. Like, there's a lot to be said there. But if you're the Browns, I get what you're thinking, right? You've got an edge rusher in Myles Garrett that's making $40 million a year. You want to unlock that. But I feel like we've seen from the Browns before what an elite defense and a do-nothing offense gets you,
Yeah.
and it's nothing.
But this is
Yeah.
kind of my problem with the Giants too. And again, Abdul Carter, a different player than Mason Graham here. But I just said a second ago, I think the Browns are screwed right
Well,
now.
the Giants at least have a franchise wide receiver.
How safe do you think Stefanski is?
The Giants.
I think
sorry.
this pick signals he doesn't feel safe at all.
The-
I think Mason Graham is going to make a bigger impact
I think
next
this makes
year
it seem
than
like he
Membu
feels
is.
safer.
If you're,
Don't you?
If you're Cleveland, though, why wouldn't you just stay at 2 and take like Carter?
Well, they want
Because
to
you want
get
a
the extra
first-round
pick
pick
next year.
year.
If you think, and the
So you're
Jaguars, who
trading down
knows?
because I think he thinks he's got 1 or 2 years available. I know he signed that extension.
I think
but
he
this
feels
is a pick
this is
that's
a
trying to
safe
elevate them to
pick.
the playoffs now.
I think this is not elevate the playoffs now. They don't have a quarterback.
You don't have an offense.
You aren't going to pick one either.
I think this is I feel safe selection from Cleveland. And look, Stefanski, I've thought he had his issues in Minnesota at times. I know I think he's a 2-time coach of the year. So he has every right to feel safe. I don't know the discussions going on in the building in Cleveland. You were able to bring back Garrett. This feels like we're going to continue to build up this team and then we'll strike when we believe we found our quarterback. And clearly they didn't think Shedeur or Dart or even making a move up for Ward was the right decision.
And we did just state. I know they're in 2 totally different phases here in Cleveland and Philadelphia. But up front is what won the Eagles the Super Bowl. The New York Giants going defense too. If these guys up front, Mason Graham paired up with Myles Garrett now, it is dangerous. And I've seen it in Pittsburgh. When we got good, we went 5-6 years straight of defense in the first round.
Yeah.
It still matters. Defense matters.
Yes.
Having a good defense is crucial.
And let's be
having
clear,
these two guys
Mason
up
Graham
front now,
is an excellent defensive prospect.
he's incredible.
I've said this a million times. These guys on the inside are the future of defense in the NFL. Just like edge rushers for a while were undervalued, and now people see them for what they are. These guys on the inside, I don't care about the sack numbers. Mason Graham gets after the quarterback. He stuffs the run, and he's going to do such a great job opening up for Myles Garrett on the edge. I get it. If you're the Browns, I think the problem is just there's nothing they can do here that will bail them out.
Yeah.
Like, there's actually nothing that will make them a good team. So if you think Mason Graham is the best player, what else are you supposed to do?
It's funny, though. You are really most teams is a quarterback away. And this just really shows me that Cleveland really doesn't like Dart or Shedeur Sanders at all.
But also on offense, Jerome Ford, Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, Michael Woods, and Njoku. There's so much work, and your quarterback's Flacco or Pickett.
I mean, I think the quarterback's the problem.
No, it's all a problem.
Those skill position players.
That's why I think
it
it feels safe. So, it didn't exactly play out how we expected it to with the trades. Oh, Ziggy
I mean,
did.
Vegas has to be.
But we had Cam Ward, Travis Hunter,
Yeah.
Abdul Carter, Will Campbell, and now Mason Graham. So the players fell into the order that a lot of us were expecting. Raiders on the clock right now. The pick is in.
Well, Midwest Mountain Man, this is a good time to visit his question. He says, who would you pick for the Raiders, and who would Al Davis pick?
Well,
we know who Al Davis would pick. Al Davis would pick Matthew
Golden because he ran a 4.29.
Who are the Raiders going to pick?
I think they're
Probably
going
Ashton
Genty, right?
Who would I pick? I'd pick Membu.
Everyone's talking about Genty. I actually think Jalen Walker.
Here we
I keep
go.
saying Jalen Carter. Jalen Walker could be there.
All right.
I think it's going to be Genty.
Sixth
I think it's going to be
pick.
Genty.
So Genty has been selected by the Raiders.
Ziggy,
There we go.
if you do that again, Ziggy, I'm going to throw a fit in this room.
What do you mean?
I hate when people spoil picks.
Don't do that.
I hate it. No more spoiling
What do
picks.
you mean no more spoiling picks?
That's like, do you remember?
Paul, we're 20 seconds behind. I'm not spoiling it for anyone.
Are you guys remembering
Paul,
the draft?
Well,
Paul,
this
I'm
is
not
the-
spoiling
this
it
is
for
the
anyone.
broadcast.
We're 20 seconds behind on our
Yeah.
for these guys.
Yeah. So
That's
by the
because
time
we're
they hear
delayed.
it-
We're still living in real time, Ziggy.
Yeah.
They're watching on a delay.
Oh, are you worried I'm spoiling it for you?
Yes, I don't. Yes, I don't.
Paul,
want
we're here to
spoil.
provide an entertainment product. We're not here
So
about
you saying
ourselves.
I don't like
Genty 10 seconds before Goodell says it?
Because then
I don't
it
like
comes
spoiled
in right
picks.
after Goodell says it for our
Everyone in the
fans.
chat's going to agree with me here. Everybody in the chat's going to agree with me on this. Remember the draft when I think they were cutting back and forth to Schefter and Rappaport, and they were spoiling the picks? Everyone's like, why the hell am I watching this? I could just check Twitter every 5 minutes. I love having the
Let's put it
surprise.
to the fans. Let's put it to the
Well,
fans.
it's not about the fans because
Paul,
they
we're
are
here
seeing it
we're
live.
here to service the fans. That's our job.
I don't want it spoiled. Because if we're already delayed for them, which not spoiling for them, it's only spoiling it for me and Jack.
But this creates a better product.
I
Okay.
hate having it spoiled.
The problem is we're arguing about this. Okay, I'm not going to apologize. I will defer to your judgment.
Yeah, Eric Wallace, you're wrong. I'm correct here.
Gosh, I hate first-round running backs, though. I really do.
Well, so let's
let's get into the
let's
pick.
at least hype up Ashton Genty a little bit. Set aside the fact that he's really small and Jack could absolutely take him in an Oklahoma drill. Ashton Genty is a special prospect, and everybody remembers the Penn State game, and I get that was bad. He had a great game against Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
At Boise State, while he didn't play the best competition, he had basically no help around him. He was a one-man wrecking crew on offense, and this guy broke more tackles than anybody else. Had more yards after contact than anybody else. He doesn't have the breakaway speed you want to see from NFL running backs necessarily, but he's so good at running between the tackles, at breaking tackles, at dodging tackles. I mean, this guy's basically Barry Sanders.
People talk. I mean,
we had a.
those are some comparisons people are making.
We had a hypothetical before, right? It was if you were told that Ashton Genty was going to be like Barry Sanders, where would you take him? And I'm like, one.
number one.
Number one.
Yeah, people were asking like number one in the draft. But no, the control that he has, people do talk about it being you talk about blue chip prospects, and everyone says Abdul Carter and Travis Hunter, but there are a lot of people who believe Ashton Jeanty is also a blue chip prospect. I mean, you look at the height. Like, you can see the height.
I saw him yesterday, and I swear to you, I could tackle him.
But look, it's different when you get in the hole, man.
I'm like an inch taller than he is.
I mean, well, let's be clear. I talked to Ashton Genty yesterday, and I said, who are you looking forward most to blowing up in the hole? And first he said, you're trying to get me in trouble. But the second thing he said, we haven't talked about that, is more revealing. He said there's tons of guys.
Oh, yeah. Thank you,
Ashton
Eric Walsh,
Genty is coming to the NFL, and you saw it from the thing he wrote from the Players Tribune, where he talked about how running backs aren't getting enough respect, and he's going to change that. This guy is ready to rumble. He is here to blow guys up in the NFL.
The Jets has to be Membu here, right?
I think so.
I think so. The pick is, we're kind of flying here. I don't know if it's because we're going live.
You know
here.
what? Eric Wallace, he changed his mind. I'll change my mind. We're shaking hands on air. I'm not trying to cause any trouble, Paul. We're just trying to do the best we can.
I love watching these guys run through that tunnel, and like the raw.
Awesome.
It's the raw emotion.
Genty,
he's living his dream, right?
I'm going to remind you.
If you were Ashton Genty,
right.
you might have thought, I can never go in the top 10 because I'm a running back. He proved it. And frankly, the first phone call he makes should be to Saquon Barkley and say, Saquon, not that Ashton Genty needed help proving he was good, but saying, Saquon, thank you for showing to NFL teams what a running back can do.
Well,
because if Saquon Barkley was not a key part, if he'd stuck with the Giants, Ashton Genty's not going in the top 10 this year.
Henry, Josh Jacobs, all the acquisitions. Joe Mixon had a great year.
The last time the Raiders, I guess, were somewhat relevant is when they did have a good running back there in Josh Jacobs, which also goes against my theory. But
look, I understand that Genty's an exciting pick and that people really love him as a prospect. But
Ashton Genty is going to be a great player for the team that signs him to a second contract.
Yeah, we talked about this a few times. I don't hate the pick. I really don't hate the pick. I just think that the timing for the Raiders isn't going to sync up. I don't think that they're a team that's going to be competing for a Super Bowl very soon.
That's the thing. I agree. Is what I've always said. To me, a running back is
icing on the cake.
It's a force multiplier.
It's like the least important offensive position. If I'm the Raiders
but when you get one of those guys,
that's
changes
rare.
everything.
Like who's that? Adrian Peterson, Saquon Barkley.
They think Ashton Genty can be that.
Then I get that's fair, but wouldn't you? Like, I would have gone a big tackle in Membu, maybe build a line and take a running back later.
You know what it is? This draft has so many great running backs.
You know what it is?
Out of Iowa.
You know what it is? This is what it comes down to. Is I'm not sold on Genty being a Saquon or a Bijan Jahmyr Gibbs. If you told me that if Saquon Barkley was in this draft, I'm all over. I'm totally fine with teams taking running backs top 10.
You just don't know that he's going to be that.
No. But I don't love Genty the way that a lot of people do, and that's why.
Me too. I'm with you.
That's why. But if you believe in him to be a Saquon, I'm fine with the pick. That's where I'm okay with it. I'm not saying that if you have a generational running back in the draft, just like us talking about Barry Sanders, if you have a generational player that you feel great about, take the pick. And that's why I'm not going to harp on the Raiders too much.
No, but we've talked about this. We've talked Ashton Genty of the Raiders to death. I want to look forward to the Jets a little bit. Because let's not forget, this Jets team, they're in a time of huge transition. I wanted to say they weren't the Jets of last year where there was some belief they would have success. Devontae Adams is a Los Angeles Ram. Aaron Rodgers is a who the hell knows what. This Jets team is in a time of huge transition. They've got a few talented players on the team. They've got Garrett Wilson, obviously. They've got, on the inside, Quinnen Williams, who's perennially underrated. Justin Fields will be their quarterback next year, maybe, though the Jets may take a quarterback. They need cornerstone pieces to build talent on the team. That's their goal with this pick.
Yeah, I think it'll be Membu here.
But
they could go nuts. If they go quarterback
what if
this place is going to go crazy.
What about Tyler Warren?
Tyler Warren's on the. I think it'll be Membu.
Hate Tyler Warren at 7.
Fun fact, guys: the Jets haven't taken a tight end in the first round
since who?
Since Johnny Mitchell.
Yeah, amazing.
Right here, sitting about 100 feet away from us.
I want to real quick hit the chat. Bruce Nelson says, "Paul, what's up? What's up, Bruce Nelson? Having fun on draft. I love draft night. It's so much fun.
Draft night's great.
I'll be having a great night.
This draft is moving relatively quickly.
Very quickly.
We're on pick 7 already.
We're on pick 7. And it's only 8 o'clock.
Keith Pauly says Genty is solid. But top 10 on running back has to be high. Like that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it has to be generational.
And I mean, this is interesting. Mateus Lee said the Jets are worse than the Browns. The only reason I don't think that's true is because the Jets don't have the massive negative at quarterback Deshaun Watson is. But if you look at the talent of the players on the team, there's an argument the Jets are the most talent-barren team in the entire NFL.
Which is crazy because a season and a year, 2 years ago at this point now, we were coming into the year
Mercury
going.
Road gets it right. They just don't need cornerstones. They need stones.
Here we go. Here's the Jets. Let's see.
Our fellow Andrew friend, Jets fan, wants Warren.
So,
all right.
Membu's going to the New York Jets.
So this is
Membu's
all,
an interesting player, and I'll tell you a little bit about why.
Yeah.
Membu,
that was the pick for them there.
Membu's a tackle. There's no doubt he can play right tackle. The thing that worries me about him is Missouri had real need at a left tackle this year. They were cycling guys in and out. And the natural choice, left tackle is more important than right tackle, is to move your stud tackle to the left.
Yep.
Now, they didn't do that, and there's a lot of reasons why. Maybe it's because he can't play it. Maybe it's because they just wanted him to be in a position he's comfortable with. Maybe they thought this was better for the team. But if you're taking him at 7 here as the Jets, I think you have to be confident that he's going to be able to transfer his skills over to the other side of the line, even though he never did it in college.
Armand Membu's probably sitting there going, good Lord, I'm a New York Jet.
Yeah.
You see
I
all
think
these
he's sitting there thinking, good Lord, I just got paid $50 million.
Hold on. Let's see his raw reaction come to the tunnel here. What if it's all frowning?
I don't think it's going to be the same as Travis Hunter.
Just see him come in.
His head's down. He's moping.
Oh, my God.
No.
This is not how this night was supposed to go.
Mean, I can see the Jets next year is just Fields scrambling and getting sacked. This was the
remember all the graphics that came out after Pope Francis passed away? The Jets, the only team not to make a playoff game in his entire papacy. Like,
yes, out of all the pro sports teams.
The Jets are gone through.
This is flying.
Well, the Panthers already have their pick in. This is pretty unbelievable.
We're a fourth of the way through.
But let's just...
I guess it's been an hour, though.
I'll say this much about Membu. Time is flying by, and I want to say now that we're an hour in, I appreciate all of you that are here and have stuck around.
How many viewers?
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to our fans and our viewers. I appreciate you, too.
We got about 200 people. We're fluttering around 200 throughout the night. Thank you, guys.
To say one more thing about Membu, whether he's on the left or the right, this guy is the talent to be a solid starting tackle. And I think at this point in the draft, the best of the best talent is gone. He's one of the only players, I think, who's obviously worthy of a first-round pick at a position the Jets need. So I much prefer this to Tyler Warren. I think this take makes a lot of sense. And now the Carolina Panthers are coming in. There was a little bit of the Bryce Young renaissance last year. After he came back from being benched in 10 starts, he had, 15 touchdowns and 6 interceptions, which is not great, but was much better than we'd ever seen from him before. Jack, I'm not going to ask what you think about Bryce Young, because we all know. This team, there's some talent there. There's a little bit of talent on the defense. There's a little bit of talent on the offense. But the Panthers just feel like a team that's in desperate need of direction. Like, are they trending up? Are they trending down? Are they going for a quarterback? Are they not?
Like Dave Canales.
I would
as far as direction goes, would you say?
But the thing is it's unclear to me where this team thinks it's going. And if I were them, I would not expect to be competitive this year.
That to me is more of a Bryce Young question, because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, your direction is more or less attached to your quarterback.
At the end of the day, I expect this team to be bad again next year.
I do too, but as far as the direction goes, this is year 2 now for Dave Canales. This is year 3 now for Bryce Young. This feels like a prove-it time where you've had a full season, now you have a full off-season with your quarterback, with your head coach. Bryce Young showed some strides last year, and I think he needs some more help on the outside. You can't get away with Adam Thielen being the only guy for him. So
would you take offense here?
Bryce?
That's
in a different year where there's obvious offensive talent on the board, the first wide receiver or second wide receiver would sound great.
But not tonight.
McMillan.
No,
is he that guy tight end? Is that really what you want?
Not to me.
Where on the other hand, you have a chance to select one of the great edge rushers in this draft, and there's so many.
I like Jalen Walker here. If they took Tyler Warren or even like a Colston Loveland, I think I'd even prefer those guys over the receivers. But I still think that's a little aggressive. Tyler Warren's a football player, man. you hear these football guys.
When Tyler Warren is picked, I will tell you all why I'm not big on picking Tyler Warren. Because first-round tight ends never work out.
Yeah, no, I know you don't like that, except for
Brock
the guy last year, except for Brett Bowers.
There's one exception, literally since Tony Gonzalez was drafted.
Yeah, no,
you don't remember Tony Gonzalez played a long
time
ago.
Bryce Young he's not very good.
And, I mean, the Panthers had an enormous loss this offseason. They lost the most important and most talented player on the entire team in Johnny Hekker.
Bryce Young is not very good. You know how I feel about him. I'd get that dude as many weapons as possible.
Listen, I agree with you there.
No, but if you don't think Bryce Young's good, the goal is not to surround him with weapons. The goal is to get a better quarterback.
No, it's to surround Bryce Young with weapons.
Well, no, if you don't think he's good,
weapons don't turn a bad quarterback into a good quarterback.
No, here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying with the Panthers before they pick here. In a different draft, the first receiver off the board would be going right now. But tonight...
Second receiver.
Yeah, second. If you want to go offense, I actually think they'll go Tyler Warren because he's out of all the skill position players right now, he's the guy that you can say, oh, he might be special.
Golden could be special, too.
Golden could.
Tyler Warren's Gronk.
So I think if they go offense, I think it'll be Tyler Warren. But I'm not too attached to any of those guys where I think Jalen Walker, man, he's a beast. I would add to the defense, and there's enough talent. There's enough tight end talent, too, or receiver talent, where they can get a skill position player later on.
You have a young third-year quarterback who showed some promise at the end of last year. You get him as many guys as possible to throw to. You're in a terrible division. If you can score some points, you're probably going to win it.
Now, the Panthers pick is in, but before we get there, we got a super chat from Gary Weiss-Corbley asking, thanks for all the coverage. Who do you guys think the Packers will go for? Now, I'll say this, because this draft is so volatile and there's so many players that can go so many different positions. Daniel Jeremiah said yesterday he's never seen a draft of so much volatility. It's hard to know who will be there. I'm expecting them to go defense, and I'm expecting, if I did gut check right now who's getting picked by them, the answer is Will Johnson.
Here we go.
Ooh. Yeah, for the Pack. Oh, yeah, but he won't be there. He won't be there.
I think the Panthers go offense.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what happens.
I'm going Tyler Warren. You get your young quarterback as many weapons as possible.
So the Carolina Panthers have made their selection, and they select Shedeur McMillan out of Arizona. So we were just talking about that as a possibility. Now, if you believe in McMillan's talents, this makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, why? I wouldn't go defense when you have a young QB in Bryce Young.
If you think he sucks, then he's not going to get better because you put McMillan around him.
Forget me. The Carolina Panthers don't think he sucks. So why not surround him with weapons, which is what they just did?
Yep.
And he can only reach his ceiling with as much talent around him as possible.
Go ahead, Ziggy.
Shedeur McMillan, to talk a little bit about him, he's a prototypical tall, long, athletic receiver. Like, he is DeAndre Hopkins. I don't mean he's going to become that, but he fits in that mold.
You're baiting me. Go ahead.
And I say that, like, this draft is full of slot receivers. There's so many receivers this draft I think could be monsters in the slot. Shedeur McMillan is the only prime talent that can play that big style possession receiver. Now, obviously, the attitude needs to be worked on.
Well,
right? He said it himself. He said his body language during games and the penalties were out of control.
I'm sorry. I thought you were going back to
for a long time. I'm saying when they were losing games, he himself said, I needed to grow up, and I did. So, fair enough. And so you worry about that. He doesn't have the speed that you want from a deep threat, but a big-bodied, long-armed, reliable possession receiver is the best thing in the world you could dial up for Bryce Young.
And look, Paul, you just brought up this could be the prove-it time now for Bryce Young. Look what Jacksonville did. Trade up for number 2 to get Trevor Lawrence, another weapon in Travis Hunter. And now you obviously love McMillan here if you're Carolina, best receiver in your eyes. Why not go get him?
A lot of Packers fans wanted Tet McMillan. Walking around today, we talked to quite a few people.
They thought he'd fall.
And they all were hoping he would fall.
They hoped he'd fall.
Well, and the thing is, top-end speed for wide receivers is overrated because it's very hard to get up to those speeds. Like, you don't run 40 yards straight in a line in football. And Shedeur McMillan, one of the things he's really good at, as while his 40 is not going to impress you at 4.53, his 10-yard split is excellent. He gets up to his top speed very, very quickly, and that is way more important than the NFL. And the Saints pick is in. When we're talking about these quarterbacks, the Saints are the first team on the board that people have really thought a quarterback might go. again, this will be a pick that defines the
Ziggy,
NFL
can I
draft,
ask
but the
you-
offensive talent's evaporating.
Can I ask you one more question about the Panthers before we move
Go
on
ahead.
here? The question that I have around them is, again, I like Ted McMillan. I don't think he's
I like how we
special.
call him Ted McMillan when that's just not a name he ever goes by.
There's Shedeur.
I think I started calling him Ted McMillan a long time ago because I didn't know how to correctly pronounce his
Teteroa.
name originally. I mean, I know now, but I've been saying Ted. As far as McMillan goes, though, to me, there are a lot of receivers that you could take later on in this draft where I don't know. Do you think McMillan is separated from Jaden Higgins or Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka? One of those guys might fall.
But he's not a slot receiver.
He's
So
not.
Higgins isn't a slot receiver either.
Yeah.
He is significantly better as a prospect than Higgins.
So between the two of them, between the options you had, you could go McMillan and you could get a later pass rusher. There's a lot. Or you could go with the Jalen Carter and get one of these other receivers.
The thing is, at the position of need, there are many more edge rushers available they can take early in the second.
Yep, okay.
Because edge rusher,
I'm cool with it.
I mean, there's guys who are better at the run, there's guys who are better at coverage, but most of those guys are fundamentally the same. At wide receiver, and the kind of thing the Panthers need, they don't want a slot guy. They want the safety blanket who's going to come down with the ball. It's McMillan or nothing.
I love Matthew Golden and Egbuka. These guys are very, very solid.
Matthew Golden talked to you. For
You and Matthew
a while.
Golden are very
we became
close.
friends. I mean, yeah,
Our good friend Maggie tutored Emeka Egbuka.
I am
Tutored
showing.
him. Taught him everything he knows about the game.
I'm showing Golden around Pittsburgh sometime too. Show him
Yeah,
the spots.
we have close ties to these receivers here.
But McMillan has some size, better down the field, can go get a ball. Whereas these other guys, to me, are a little bit.
Here the Saints. We totally.
Wow.
All right, let's see. Hold on. Here we go with the Saints. Let's see.
I have Shedeur to go in the top 10.
Dude,
at
we
plus
just heard
500.
Travis Hunter yelling Duval.
Oh,
The
Kelvin
guy's
Banks.
so excited.
Banks.
So the Saints are not going quarterback.
Okay,
They're
this-
taking Kelvin
so-
Banks
so
out of Texas.
This is
The
my
draft
last
to
chance
me,
to Shedeur here at 10.
the draft to me really started with this pick, and because I
You
actually
said that
thought
3 times.
Yeah, you did. You did. You said.
Sorry, I had to call you out. on
no.
that.
I thought the order,
3, 5, and 9.
but we were confident with who the player. Yeah,
So the
fair
draft
enough.
has now started 3 times for Paul.
The
All
draft
right, but let's talk
really
about Kelvin
started
Banks.
on
a
this
little.
one.
Tell me why. Why do you think this is the time?
Well, I don't know if it's the right time or not, but Kelvin Banks, coming into the season, everyone you talk to, they're going to say he was a top 5 projected pick coming into the year. Now, for a bunch of different reasons, during the year, some ups and downs, he falls here. But if you're talking about someone who could be a bona fide stud, a stalwart at left tackle for years, Kelvin Banks could work. A lot of people thought this could be the quarterback, but now what are we seeing here? We're seeing Jackson. Wait, what? Am I? Oh, that TV's way behind over here.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
we're-
No, so here's the thing about Kelvin Banks. This
This
a
is
pick-
really bad
Unfortunately,
here.
the audio is now lagging,
Oh,
so we're
shoot.
going to have to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah, the audio here is way
But here's the
behind.
thing about Kelvin Banks. He started at left tackle. A lot of teams and a lot of scouts believe that this guy's really a guard. At number 9, you can't be picking a guard, even if he turns out to be Quentin Nelson. That's probably not good enough.
Dude, I
so
hate
I
the
think the
Saints.
Saints are picking him expecting
the
that he's
Saints.
going to be able to make it as a tackle in the NFL.
The Saints right now just seem to me as that team just in such a pit of doom. Like whatever pick they made here, I'd sit back here and be saying
A Bears pick is in.
you'd still need so much more.
But so,
Yeah, but
yes,
you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
And a tackle's a great place to start. And I
It
know we
is.
talked about injury. This guy's missed 1 game since his sophomore year of high school.
So I guess
He's an Iron Man.
Pittsburgh's not trading up for Shedeur here.
No, it seems that you were lied
So
to.
unless the Bears take Shedeur Sanders,
But this is
I lose
again,
my pick.
The thing about Kelvin Banks is if you believe that he can overcome the arm length and the athleticism issues to be a tackle, he, I think, has many kinds of talents that Membu and even Will Campbell, to an extent, don't have. He's just a very different kind of player.
dude,
But
you
now
go.
we've talked that.
I mean,
now it's time for the
I
Chicago
can't- I
Bears.
can't
You
wait to
go.
hear.
You go and get Caleb Williams, Tyler Warren.
Let's see. I
So
can't wait.
this is the real start to the NFL draft.
Here
He's
comes
the first
Cynthia
NFC
Freeland.
North pick.
All right, finally they fixed the audio
You
here.
go and get Caleb Williams, Tyler Warren.
Actually, they haven't fixed the
So
audio here.
the audio's off. I'm trying to lip read here, but it's very hard for me to make out
I
what
really
these people
want
are
to hear it.
saying.
I'm sure the crowd is booing
it's that
frantically.
it's that video package we saw. They're announcing the schedule
we're
release
doing
dates.
this. Yeah, we were walking around yesterday and we saw the promo.
Right.
They were
Only in
testing
the
this
NFL.
graphic for
Only in the
schedule
NFL.
release
Do they make a big
2020.
deal out of it?
I really like
we'll read it
date
across
of
the board. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, it's not the end of the
We'll read it
world.
across the board.
And let's be clear, right? The date of the schedule release is
That's
not
not
the day you
Cynthia
find
Freeland.
out who
That's
teams
Wolf.
are playing.
That's Colleen Wolf. My bad. Not Cynthia
You
Freeland.
have to get Tyler
Mercury
Warren.
Road 55 coming in. Caleb's girlfriend will be in Sinners 2 with Jordan Love cast in the lead. That's hilarious.
Young quarterback.
There was one other.
You have
there were-
David Dunze, DJ Moore. Get him Tyler Warren.
Ranger Halada earlier said, personally love the sync reactions, but not my show.
Tyler
from
Warren.
before. May 14th.
Okay,
Actually,
May 14th.
that is
I have to
actually
say
kind
it-
of important to us
Great.
because we're thinking about coming back out for Packers Vikings, and we need to find out the schedule first because there are some rumors going on about where we're going to potentially be hosting a live show if we come out.
I will say if Pittsburgh plays at home on Sunday night that weekend, I will not be in Green
Oh,
Bay.
here we go. We got someone. Who's in here? Is that someone's in the room over here?
That's
one of
Ash-
the prospects. Is it?
Is that Ashton Genty?
I guess. I don't think that's
Is that
Ashton Genty. No.
That's not Ashton.
Thank you. What?
I don't know. I thought I saw someone walking back there that was Ashton Genty.
All right, here we go.
So
Bears
Chicago
pick.
Bears
This
are
is what we
getting
want.
booed. This is unsurprising.
Oh, the booing is great with
I
the
love
Bears.
Yeah,
Don't-
no, it's. We talked about this at the beginning. It's
Don't you
tough
have
to
to
be.
go-
The Packers hate the Chicago Bears like nothing else.
Don't you have to go Tyler Warren?
You do not have to go Tyler Warren. You can go a good player instead.
This could be your guy,
Yeah.
Shamar Stewart. The Bears can go
That
anywhere.
was actually my prediction, right? With the Bears at 10 with Stewart.
Will Cooch, howdy, boys. Hey, what's up? Infidel for life. You guys are looking cute. Cute as heck. Thank you, guys. We're trying. The frame's a little thin on us here, but we do the best we can. Eric Wallace, member for 11 months.
I'd
That's
go
almost
Warren.
a year.
I go Warren.
Thank you, Eric.
Well, so let's see. This
Here
is
we
going to
go.
tell us a lot about
I
what
love
the
the
Bears
booing.
think about and where they are.
Prediction?
Bills, Warren.
Warren for you,
Chief
Ziggy?
Tyler Warren.
I would go Shamar Stewart.
Shamar Stewart?
Or someone else on defense. I could just justify a corner.
I think
could
they're gonna
justify
go Tyler
anything on
Warren.
the defense.
You get. Your
I don't
young-
think that's the right pick, though.
Well, you want Tyler Warren?
No, I don't think that's the right pick.
I agree. Okay, good.
It totally is.
I know Dennis Allen loves him.
All right, here we go. Come on, Roger, speed it up.
No, don't. Jack. He's doing an in memoriam for an important player in NFL
Oh,
history.
sorry, we don't have audio. The audio.
What do you mean
off.
we don't have? It's, Jack.
Got people
See,
shaking
some
their
people
head.
are just not sensitive.
That's my bad. I didn't know what they were doing.
We are getting a lot of history here. We do have something coming in from Eric Wallace.
Walter
Best part of the
Payton, I did
draft
not
is the
know that.
draftees' reaction. The at-home camera feeds the walk-ups. I totally agree. I love seeing these young men make history.
But look what the Jaguars and Panthers both did for their quarterbacks. They went out and got them a weapon.
Yeah, Tyler Warren will put up 600 yards if he has a great season.
Having a nice tight end helps. As a Heath Miller fan, I've seen it.
Yeah, but the tight end just doesn't produce as much as even the mediocre wide receiver, and you can get the best tight ends in the NFL in free agency.
Here we go.
So who are the Chicago Bears
Warren.
selecting?
I love
Let's
the
see.
booing.
Warren gives me Kelsey vibes.
I heard that Jack Weinberger is getting selected here.
Oh, they go tight end. They go tight end. So, Colston
this is
Loveland,
interesting.
wow,
Colston
okay.
Loveland goes first. A lot of people are
Yes.
wondering if this might happen.
He's also very
Tyler
very solid
Warren was
player.
the tight end that got the most attention through the process, but Loveland's athletics and his ability to come in as a big-bodied receiver impressed a lot of people. The player he reminds me most.
Sahim, I was not the one who said get on with it.
Yeah, Paul, come on. What are you talking about?
Are you kidding me
How
right
di-
now?
how
Are you
disrespe-
guys kidding me
how
right now?
disrespectful
How
are
do
you?
people think
Yeah.
we're on a recording?
Paul, that's disrespectful, man. He was giving him a
Mike
memoriam.
Gesicki is the player Colston Loveland reminds me of most in terms of what he can do. You worry about him as a blocker, but he's an unbelievable receiver. Is Mike Gesicki worth the number 10 pick overall? I don't think so. So that's why Tyler Eifert, great player, but it's very hard as a tight end to live up to this kind of salary and this kind of billing in terms of production. So I think Caleb Williams, you hope Ben Johnson, that receiving core, that offensive line get better. You could even convince me a guard would be more valuable than Loveland here.
I don't know. I kind of disagree. I mean, you got DJ Moore, you got a Dunze, you got your speedsters, your receivers.
I don't want to say we've got some people in the chat saying they're idiots for not taking Warren. People in the know in the NFL thought Warren and Loveland were neck and neck the whole time.
Yeah,
Yes.
Loveland's a very good player. He's a nice big target for a young quarterback. Like, you have DJ Moore, you have Roma Dunze, you have your receivers, you have your speed guys. I like this pick for Chicago. I think you get your young QB as much as possible.
But the thing is first-round tight ends basically never work out for the team. They're almost always busts. Seriously, there's only been one tight end taken in the first round that's been an All-Pro since Tony Gonzalez, and that's Brock Bowers.
The Bears like him.
Yeah, but I just think I'd much rather tight end's a position that takes time to develop. It's the only position in the NFL where all the stars are third, fourth, fifth round picks.
Listen,
I don't get
when
it.
When we talk about Loveland as compared to Tyler Warren, this is a guy who's closer to a receiver, right? Tyler Warren,
if you want a
he's
receiver, take a receiver.
Well, here's the thing, though. Colston Loveland may be a better tight end than any of these receivers are receivers. He might be a better receiver than any of these receivers.
Well, that's probably not true.
But
now, I get that it's Ben Johnson. I know what he did with Sam Laporta. I get that you're looking for 12 personnel.
I don't hate the pick.
It's hard for me to see it.
I think a nice
people
big
love
target
Colston.
is nice.
A lot of
Bears still suck.
We talked about Joel Klatt earlier. Joel Klatt in his top 50 prospects had Colston Loveland 3 or 4. I mean, there are guys who are really, really high on Colston Loveland.
But here's the thing. If he's Kyle Pitts, people would be disappointed, and Kyle Pitts is a 99th percentile outcome for a tight end taken in the first round.
But you want him to be Brock Bowers.
And it's very unlikely he will be.
It's unlikely, but it's unlikely for any of these guys to turn out into Hall of Famers.
Yeah, but the thing is being average at their position is good enough in the first round for most
guys.
But
you're shooting.
Okay, but what if Colston Loveland is Brock Bowers?
I'm willing to take the risk that he's not a 1 in 100 prospect.
But if the Bears drafted him because they like him,
then they're not being rational.
If he can be what the Bears want him to be,
they're not being rational.
That's a pretty good offense.
I don't know. I think it's unfair to compare Colston Loveland to a bunch of failed tight ends.
I'm just saying.
Right?
I think you start with the baseline of the position and say he's probably going to be close to there.
Yeah. Now, if they hadn't taken him, though, I bet the Colts would have. So they could have traded down, but they would have lost their guy. As for the Chicago, we're seeing some people say they should have traded down.
I understand the reasoning. We've talked this to death a million times on the show. We're not going to get into it too much. I have no issue of Loveland as a prospect. I think the smarter move is to take tight ends in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round.
Yeah. I get it, and I get where you're coming from.
You feel how I feel about running backs, I guess, essentially.
Well, they're similar positions. I'd much rather have in the 4th round Mitchell Evans than in the 1st round Colston Loveland.
I think that I would rather have Colston Loveland than McMillan.
I think that's foolish, but that's a lot on the Bears. They're trying to change things. They're trying to improve the offense, and I can see how Loveland will fit in. So good on them. I think it makes sense for him to go offense. I get that you want a better defense, but you've got Caleb Williams in the building. It's time to take care of business.
I think the Bears are in a nice spot here where they can get one of these running backs later on in the draft, and then I'm just stocking up on defense. And if their defense can take a next step in the following season, I think that they are in prime shape to be that team. I mean, everyone's been talking about it, and I know we talk about it every offseason with the Bears, but I really do believe
really is different.
I really do believe that this year
I'm not saying they're for sure going to be
they have a better chance.
But this wasn't the big flashy guys that you knew weren't going to be good. Like we said at the time, Keenan Allen is washed up. Adding interior offensive line and a smart coach, that actually makes sense.
We have some Weinbergers in the chat here, Jack.
Let's
there was one earlier. Let me see if I can find
Ranger
it.
Halata came in and said Tom Grassi drafts Jack #1 overall.
Interesting. From Julia Weinberger. This was funny.
Most rational people would draft you #1 overall.
Yeah, I see one that goes, "You guys are so talented and entertaining." And that was from your mom. That was a very nice comment from Julia.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you.
And then from Carolyn, she said, and now Carolyn's thinking the right way here. She goes, Pepsi, sponsor these guys. I mean, this is free advertising right here.
We are always looking for sponsors.
There's 267 people in this chat right now who are watching you drink that. And, I'm sitting here watching you drink that. I might go get up and get a Pepsi
wants to
soon.
sponsor me,
Carolyn's
I will
smart.
drink lots of tea and talk
thinking
about
the right way
air.
here. Carolyn's thinking the right way. Actually, I'm going to get a
Niners
Pepsi
will
soon
take it,
because you're making me want one here.
At pick 11.
49ers.
This has to be that Georgia. They need defense, don't they?
Well, they need lines.
So
You're right.
they need their lines.
The 49ers need a lot of things. I will say, people forget about Ricky Pearsall, who they took last year in the first round. I still think he can be a great player. I know he didn't have a great rookie season, but I feel like that can be excused a little bit when you get shot. Right? The man was shot with a gun.
Yeah, people aren't talking about that. Well, why are you Ryan's shrugging at that? Producer Ryan.
I'm not saying he's going to be a guaranteed surefire guy,
Producer
but that
Ryan.
is talent coming in.
Sorry, Zach.
I think you go Jalen Walker here in San Francisco.
Let's see.
I mean, I think Walker has fallen very far. When players start to fall too much, you start to wonder what's wrong with them. But the 49ers solidifying an edge here, I think, makes a whole lot of
I
sense.
love Jalen Walker. I think he's a
Walker's
beast.
great.
This is another guy. We were watching the Notre Dame Georgia game very closely.
He's so good.
When you
a beast.
barely got him with their backup QB, right, that game?
The game where we won, when everybody said we were going to lose.
You know what's funny? And let us know in the comment section
You were
right now.
favored. No one's saying you were going to lose.
Let us know in the comment section here right now. We were talking to a lot of Packers fans at the bar last night about the hated teams and how we get jealous that the Bears are more hated than the Vikings. And all of them said the same thing. They went, we actually hate the 49ers way more than you two. They said 49ers beat out the Vikings, beat out the Lions. I think they're number 2, I would say, on the Packers shit list right now.
You look at
Is that fair, Ryan? 49ers would be number 2 on the Packer shit list?
Yeah, sure.
With all the recent playoff? Yeah.
Why not?
and they're one
Maybe
of
I
the better
shouldn't be
teams in the
cursing in this
history
hall.
of football too.
But it's,
Yeah, they
so
do
I just
not-
put out a poll to our fans. Feel free to vote in this poll in our YouTube chat right now.
This
I
should
think I
be-
know how it's going to turn out.
Let's see.
Is there a chance my boy Tyler Brooks goes here? Or is that way too early?
Oh, very nice from Gene Hazen. You do realize over the past year you've made this
So
Packer
who's coming
fan
in here
actually
for the
like the
49ers?
Vikings.
I want
Thank
to
you.
watch this.
O-line or D-line? Jalen.
Yeah.
So Michael Williams
okay,
he's a slightly different edge rusher out of Georgia, but it's the same thought here. You're taking
Yes,
a very
yes.
talented player
Yeah.
at a critical position.
Yeah.
Dude, I love Jalen Walker. I love Will Johnson. I mean, they are the 2 top guys on the board. But
I was hopeful that Michael Williams would go under the radar a little bit and we might be able to sneak in. But sometimes you remember, this is the NFL draft. No one actually goes under the radar for very long.
We got a couple dogs here in this draft. Michael,
Do you
Jalen
have your
Walker.
Georgia hat with you, Jack?
I forgot it.
oh, listen to this.
How foolish is that, Ziggy?
Listen to this. Bruce Stagfield. Now have ESPN on mute, and I'm listening to you guys. Best choice of the night.
Love
wow, what a
that.
comment. Thank you very much.
Well,
That
I
is
think
super
we're
kind.
doing well so far. I really do. I
It's
think
a
we're
lot of
killing
fun.
it. It's a lot of fun.
It is flying by. It's flying by right
The
now.
thing
it
about
is.
Michael Williams is
Almost halfway
he
through.
played on a great defense and didn't produce quite as much as you would want him to. He had 14 sacks over his career. This guy is an athlete. And I know Packers fans have heard that a lot, but he's not just an athlete in terms of putting up a good 40 time. He's explosive, he's tough, he breaks through guys, and he has so many different ways that he won at Georgia. Now, of course, you need to see a little bit more consistency out of him. There's no doubt about it. He doesn't have a consistent set of moves. There's some issues with how he plays in terms of skill. But Michael Williams overall is a player who I think can really develop into something in the NFL, but has the skill and athleticism to immediately overpower guys, especially fitting in next to Nick Bosa. He doesn't need to be the best edge rusher in the NFL right away, and he's got a great mentor to learn from.
And, you know, we talk about a guy who take Kelvin Banks, who just went number 9 to the Saints. Go watch the tape of Michael Williams versus Kelvin Banks last season twice. This guy has the potential to be dominant there in San Fran.
And you can't forget, part of the production, this is good and bad, he had a lot of injuries. He had a left ankle sprain that hurt him for a long time. He had a previous foot injury that required surgery. So you hope he gets healthier. Oh, the Cowboys had their pick. I bet this is golden.
This
But-
feels
Yes,
like
this
Matthew
feels
Golden.
like
Michael
right?
Williams, I'll finish talking about him. I think he could come in and improve the 49ers pretty significantly, add some athleticism and youth into that room.
And our friend Andrew texts us, this sets the Jets back 10 years.
Well, he wanted Tyler Warren.
There's no way
He wa-
taking a tackle sets the Jets back. I don't
He
want
wanted Warren. This feels like Matthew Golden for sure.
Yes.
University
I
of
think-
Houston kid,
Facts.
Texas.
Well, we will
Dallas,
see who the Cowboys
Dallas lacks
select
that
here. I know
number
you guys
2.
don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say anything.
Ziggy knows.
But
the
we've
pick.
got the Cowboys media guy up at the TV right there getting excited with his phone.
Oh, my boy!
We love this guy. They
So
are,
you can
they
hear
are
the media.
not
I don't know if you
happy
can hear this
here.
or not. The
Look,
media room is
this-
baffled. Tyler Booker, first of all, nicest guy we met this
He
weekend.
was
Dude,
fantastic.
I think he
He's
became.
afraid of heights, believe it or
I
not,
love
actually.
Tyler
Did we post
Booker.
that? We didn't post that clip.
No, we're gonna post. Don't worry, we're gonna post
Okay,
it.
okay.
I
I
love
became
Tyler
best
Booker.
friends with him this weekend.
So he's afraid
I'm
of heights.
posting right
He
now.
hates pickles.
He
He
hates-
hates Auburn.
He doesn't like going on Ferris wheels.
I'm
He's
posting
okay
right
with
now.
flying, except that he's too big. If he could have any superpower,
It would
he
be
would teleport.
teleportation. What
But
else? He has a car named Big Shirley.
Tyler Booker's an interesting player. He's an interesting prospect because I think there's a lot he can do well. He's an old school type guard. He's not a guy who wants to get up to the second level. He's a player who wants to obliterate guys at the line of scrimmage. That's what he's up to. And the Dallas media guy, you can see him. He looks crushed. He's not happy about this pick.
He is furious.
But if you're the Cowboys, you built, I mean, you remember what they've been able to do at left guard historically. They've built an entire franchise out of having great left guards. Obviously, they had a huge retirement this year. I think he steps in and replaces things and can help them unlock with a running back they take later in the draft.
Booker's great, and he said the reason he likes playing football is to make others not want to play football, right?
He's a monster.
He's a
on it.
monster.
Look at this. Cowboys fans, Tyler Booker was the nicest guy on the planet. Can he play football? Who knows? But he's got a great dude.
He became my best friend. Sorry, guys. But he might have become my best friend in the last couple days after that interview with him, which you guys, fans, will see soon. This pick is puzzling to me, though, because what has been Dallas's problem repeatedly now, last few years? It's been that lack of a wide receiver, too. And Matthew Golden, the Houston, Texas guy, was on the board.
And let's not forget, the Cowboys have been set at interior offensive line for a decade. With
Yeah, but Tyler
Tyron
Booker's
Smith and
so
Zach
nice.
Martin.
But
Booker's
he's
so nice, man.
nice.
Booker's nice. He's vicious on the field. And honestly, I like this more from the Cowboys than picking like people are predicting a Marion Hampton to them here. People are predicting them reaching on a variety of offensive guys. I understand why you might like Tyler Booker here. And even though the pick had the media room in uproar and it was a little bit of a surprise,
I'm posting a clip right now on our social. He goes, Jack's talking with him about traveling, and he's saying how he doesn't go on planes too much. He doesn't like heights. He's like, gas is expensive, and he looks
roller
at
coasters?
he looks over at me. I'm posting it right now. He looks over at me, smirks, and he goes, Big Shirley gets thirsty.
That's his car.
That's the name of his
That's car.
Escalade.
Dude, this guy was... I could have sat down with this guy for like 2 hours and just chill with him.
I mean, you know how Tyler Booker described his game? Legal assault. Like, this guy is here to blow people up, and I can see why Jerry Jones would fall in love with that.
I bet you that Booker likes my interview better than this one, right? No, probably not. He just got drafted.
I love Tyler Booker.
He was my favorite player in the draft.
Yeah, I think if you are looking for a guard, and if you're the Cowboys, I mean, again, you haven't had to worry about the guard position for a decade. Again, I like this a lot more than picking a running back because I really think Booker, you'll be seeing if you're watching it on TV, he can take big defensive tackles and shove them 20 feet back.
Yeah, but I thought a receiver was the move for Dallas here.
I mean, what you're hoping, there's lots of receivers in the second and third round. You're saying, we got CeeDee Lamb.
That's their
We
hope.
don't need a star. We need a solid wide receiver, too.
That's their hope.
We need T. Higgins. And you can get T. Higgins in the second or third round.
You can't really ever go wrong with beefing up your offensive line.
I mean, I hate taking guards in the first round.
It's unattractive. It's not sexy.
But look at this guy.
It's not sexy.
Well, Tyler Booker's a sexy guy.
Oh, yes.
Tyler Booker's
his position is not quite sexy, though.
Yeah. I mean, he might be redefining the position.
Fins up for Zach here.
Fins up for Zach.
I don't think producer Zach's going to be happy with anything other than trading Tyreek Hill right now.
Where do you get the Pepsi? I kind of want to go get a Pepsi.
I got it straight back there.
I might go get one.
So is Paul Farrington bailing on the Paul Farrington show?
Paul's the first to dip here for a little break.
I'm just for a second.
Me and Mr. Ziegler.
Does anyone
here
want
we
anything?
are running a live show, and Paul
Can
Farrington,
you-
the
I'm a little thirsty.
dictator.
Is that so wrong?
Got a radio guy right here that can fill in.
Sit down right here.
You want to sit down?
right here.
Come on in. Come on in. Introduce yourself, boss.
So this is we've got a special guest coming in here on the Paul Farrington Show. Let's hear it.
Our buddy Ryan Brom.
It's now the Ryan Brom Show. We're going to make the adjustments to the graphics here and everything.
What an upgrade.
Yes, you guys were talking about how guard is not the sexiest position and the sexiest draft and all that. I would completely disagree, and I will tell you exactly why.
Let's hear it.
Exactly what he was telling you guys, where he likes legalized homicide. That is what you need in a guy that is going to be on the interior of your line.
Oh, no doubt.
Yes.
But it's
And
a 4.29 is sexy.
If you're an actual fan of your team, you are happy with this pick.
Oh,
If you are just in it to watch the stats pile up, maybe you're not as happy.
And Booker's a leader, too. I mean, after that loss to Vanderbilt, everybody in the building said this was the guy who stepped up, who got us in line. And you don't often hear about offensive guards being the leader of an offense, right? Guard is a position that's easy to forget about. But the way he plays gives him a kind of credibility that lets him be a difference maker for the whole offensive line and the offense writ large.
See, I'm a Packer fan, and I've talked to the Packers offensive
This is
line.
the first time we've had a Packers fan in person.
You're
on
the
the
there
show.
you go.
first Packers guest we've
Well, I'm glad I
had
could
in
be the
person
first.
here.
So, Elton Jenkins was the anchor of that offensive line this past season, and I was sad to see Josh Myers go because he was a close second. But that whole offensive line ran through the interior, but also had very strong outside guys as well. They had the #1 inside zone rushing offense in the entire league.
Oh,
So
look.
I was a little sad to see my buddy Josh Myers go. But I understand at the same time.
You are preaching to the choir about offensive line. As a Steeler fan, all those years of watching Le'Veon Bell,
Sure.
then the holes would open up miles long, and he'd take his time and burst through them. And then these past few years, the offensive line's been shaky. We're nowhere near as good.
That's part of it, man. Your running back is only as good as the offensive line. Yeah. Ashton Jeanty, they showed a lot of highlights of
I
him.
love this guy. You hear that?
They showed
Yeah.
a lot of
Oh, we've
highlights
heard
of
it.
him
We've heard it.
bouncing off of tackles and stuff like that. But if you also looked, he had a bounce back lane to go to.
Oh, it's all the offensive line. I agree.
Sure, one guy might have snuck through a hole or whatever, but the rest of the line stuck with their blocks and gave him a bounce back lane. So he had all day to run.
I have been saying for quite a while on this podcast that I don't really value running backs a whole lot because it's all the offensive line. So you just
Well, I'm not sure you should be
it's
telling that to a
not all.
Packers fan with Josh Jacobs
Okay,
in.
so we meant at the top of the show, they mentioned the On the Line podcast. Hi, going to plug
That's
it again
great.
real quick. I have a podcast with a former Green Bay Packer, and he said that the offensive line makes the quarterback's life easy, and the running back is what gets the O-line paid. Sure, yeah, you got all your pass blocking and all that stuff, but a running back can make up for a lot of mistakes on the offensive line. If you miss a block and he makes that guy miss, you still look good. It sounds weird, but if you really kind of break it down on how this whole thing works, the offensive line keeps the quarterback safe, and then that's how the quarterback gets paid. And if the running back does his job better than any other running back, that offensive line is going to get paid. Is that making sense?
I'll get what you're saying completely.
That's
yes.
some great insider
Yes.
information. So
So we do appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you
Looks
so
like the
much.
Dolphins
Well,
think
let
about
the-
it.
let the guy with the name on the title come back here.
Unfortunately, Paul's back, but thank you so
Thanks
much.
for stepping in.
I might get a Pepsi soon too, so if you want to hop back on. And right in time, Paul, for Miami
I wound up
selection.
getting a
here.
Mountain Dew, but yeah,
I'm
just
just
kind of
as well.
regretting the choice.
The Dolphins steak. Kenneth Grant from Michigan. That's who I wanted at 21 for Pittsburgh.
So Kenneth Grant is moving here to the Miami Dolphins. I'm gonna be watching the chat to see if producer Zach comes in here and has to say anything about it.
That's kind of early right now. I mean, he's good. It's an
Kenneth
early
Grant
pick.
is interesting. The thing about him, he's big, he's fast, he eats up running lanes like basically nobody else. The thing you need to see from Kenneth Grant in order to be worthy of this pick, he has to develop a pass rush arsenal. Now, he has the ability to, physically and mentally, but at Michigan, in part because of who he's up next to, they never asked him to do this. So, as a player coming forward, I like the pick. I can understand why he's going here, but the reason he's not at the draft in part is because we just didn't know what team was going to bet on him to develop that arsenal. The Dolphins think he's their guy.
Do you think us three could block him?
We have no chance against this guy. He's an animal.
Better chance against him or Abdul Carter?
This is
Abdul Carter.
Really?
This is a high upside pick for the Dolphins here. This is a guy who probably doesn't even know what his own potential can be right now. Yeah, a little fins up for producer
Make
Zach
the
here.
noise, too. Make the sound also.
I can't do that. I'm not doing it in the NFL draft. But I don't even know if Kenneth Grant knows how
The
good
Lions
he
guys
can
across
be.
the way were pissed that Kenneth Grant just went off the board, by the way. Locked on Lions, great podcast.
Oh, well, and the Dolphins guy right over here was pumped up.
I wanted him at 21.
He said, quote, we got our guy.
Oh, we know who's going to the Colts here. It's Tyler Warren.
This is Tyler Warren.
This has been been written on the wall.
It's the next Dallas.
Warren or Loveland to the Colts
as
at
Julius
14
Caesar
has
once
been
said.
basically locked in.
He's the
this
next
entire
Dallas
time.
Clark. He's the next Dallas
Kenneth
Clark.
Grant, but Miami was. I have to say, guys, we do a lot of research going into the draft. We do a lot of shows on the draft. The Dolphins were one team that I did very little research for. I didn't look into them too much. I didn't have an interest into they feel so lost to me.
I will admit I was kind of the same way with them, yeah.
They just feel like a team where, and it's not because they suck. There's being lost where you're just so bad, it's mind-numbing, no one cares. But then there's also this side of where are they? Because none of them believe in Tua. No one believes in Tua, who's the Dolphins fan anymore. But you still have Tyreek Hill. You have Jalen Waddle. You have Mike McDaniel. That offensive side of the ball can still be good. You have Achane. That's why you're going defense here.
And that's why you're going for a guy who's the potential to develop into a star.
Yes, so it makes sense here to go defense, keep building up there. But the Dolphins are in a weird spot where would it surprise me if the Dolphins had a better year than expected and made a playoff push? No. But would it surprise me if they won 6 games?
Have we heard from producer Zach? What does he think?
Producer Zach,
Zach,
I think, is gone. I
there we go.
This has to be. Yeah.
We
saw that.
I've said what there is to say about Tyler
That's the next
Warren.
Dallas
All
Clark.
of you know who he is.
Yeah.
The fact about Tyler Warren is the Colts need weapons badly.
Yeah.
The receivers, Michael Pittman is a fine guy. They needed tight end terribly.
Here's our boy, Tommy Cash.
Mo Alley Cox is not that guy.
That's
Jelani
right.
Woods, my favorite, is not that guy. Jack Doyle was a difference maker for this team.
Doyle
That's a
rules.
guy who, outside, if you don't follow the Colts, you probably have no idea who this guy is, but he was a difference maker for a long time.
Yep.
This is such a Colts pick. We don't care about the position. We don't care about the value. We just want to get a guy we think is good at football.
Jack Doyle, I remember, was for a few years lived on the fantasy on the fantasy waiver wire. And I'd pick him up. Anyway, this Tyler Warren is a guy who, big guy, 6'5", 6'6", and I know the college game is different, but at Penn State, you could kind of just throw it in his direction, throw it out to him. He was making a play. He was making guys miss. He was picking up what felt like 25, 30 yards every time he touched the ball. A truly special player. I liked him a lot. I thought he was going to be Chicago's pick at 10. Now here at 14, great pick for Indy. A team who needs offense.
We talked about Chicago and whether they would take Tyler Warren, and I said Dennis Allen, when watching tape, stood up in the meeting with all the Bears coaches and said this guy would be a problem to go against. And I've thought about this. I haven't heard too much of the comparisons, but he actually reminds me in some ways, not so much as his body type, and he's not a great route runner, but Travis Kelce's creativity that he has, the way that you can use Travis Kelce all over the field. Sometimes you see him throw it. Sometimes you see him get that little pitch and a run. Tyler Warren did all of that. They lined him up under center. He was sneaking for first downs. The versatility that he has at the tight end position. Now, I'm not saying you don't line him up in the backfield the way Cordero Patterson was for the Vikings.
No, but you can use him
but you
for
can
a lot
use him
of things.
everywhere.
And the thing about him is, there's a few, I worry about him a little bit as a blocker, and he has some growing to do as a route runner. But those are relatively minor concerns.
Listen, man.
You are taking him because you think that this is a guy who can become a cornerstone player on your franchise. And if nothing else, he fits with the identity of Indianapolis Colts football. He gets in, he does it all. He's not on social media. You know what this guy's nickname was at Penn State?
What?
Psycho T.
Yeah.
Because he's such an animal on the field.
I think he might be the best end-around runner I've ever seen in my life.
And this is a guy who thought that just a few
end.
years ago, a tight end was taken as the best player he'd ever seen in his life.
Dalton Kincaid.
He might just be.
You guys, our boy Tommy Cassius.
I'm a tight end guy.
Colts just went to Value Town, and everyone knew them.
I mean, you could argue that they just went to the free money store.
That's the second.
Listen about this.
Nittany Lion taken.
When you have, whether it's Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson, let's for now assume it's Anthony Richardson. The Colts get inside the red zone. They get inside the 5-yard line. You got Michael Pittman. You have Tyler Warren. You have Jonathan Taylor. And you have Anthony Richardson. That is going to be a tough team to stop when they get the ball close to the goal line.
The problem is Anthony Richardson
can throw the football. Yes. So it's all right there for Anthony, or even for Daniel Jones if he takes like they have playmakers in Indianapolis. They just need to bring it together. The quarterback.
I can see Tyler Warren, like his type of game, really having no problem translating. Like I see him stepping into the NFL, and in not too long down the road, maybe super early on, doing what he does. Like getting in under the 10-yard line, and you know he's scoring a touchdown.
You can't tackle him.
Yeah.
You can't tackle the guy.
I watched him this year versus USC. I'm like, this dude is legitimate.
You watch him in every game. You watch him against Boise State. You watch him against Notre Dame. Whenever he was on the field, he was unstoppable.
I said when we were down in Miami at the Orange Bowl for Notre Dame Penn State, I said this guy is better than Rob Gronkowski.
So we've now had 14 picks in the NFL draft. So I want to take a quick step back, just review it, and take a look at where we are. Now that the Falcons are taking a lot of time.
Do you like reviewing?
I think trying to move. So Cam Ward, number 1. Jaguars trade up to number 2 for Travis Hunter. Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3. Will Campbell to the Patriots at 4. Mason Graham to the Browns at 5. Ashton Jeanty to the Raiders at 6. Membu to the Jets at 7. McMillan, Panthers 8. Kelvin Banks, Saints 9. Colston Loveland, Bears 10. Michael Williams, 49ers 11. Tyler Booker, Cowboys 12. Kenneth Grant, Dolphins 13. And Colts, Tyler Warren, 14. Now, I will say, compared to what I expected, edge rushers are staying on the board. A lot of the edge rushers we were really excited about, guys like Jalen Walker, Shamar Stewart, Mike Green, are starting to slip, which if you're a fan of the Green Bay Packers is great news. And
yes.
Some of the offensive guys, the tight ends, Tet McMillan, obviously Cam Ward going number 1, they've been bumped up.
Yep.
So the edge class is deep. There's still no cornerback off the board as of yet. Great news if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan.
I'm very happy to see
We are
that.
starting to see, we're getting to the point in the draft now that you're 14 picks in, where you can start to talk about players falling. And the fact that a guard's gone, 2 guards, or a guard and a tackle
Ziggy,
have gone early,
there's a
lot going on here.
I just tweet out, this is where things start to get interesting, and I think for any...
You could say, this is where the draft begins.
No. For different
begun,
reasons.
but now it's
No. The draft has begun, but this is where things get interesting.
To get traded. No team has taken more time than the Falcons.
This is why. Well, this is Mike Green. Everyone's been saying the entire time. Well, actually, they're gonna go Jalen Walker.
But if it's Mike Green,
they're gonna go Jalen Walker.
No,
yeah,
you're
they're
not
gonna go Jalen Walker.
They're
gonna go Jalen Walker.
The Falcons,
watch, they're gonna go Jalen
They have
Walker.
the least sacks in the league in the last 5 years, right?
Since 2019, they're the only team in the league with under 290 sacks or some
so
number like that.
This is an
They
edge.
can't get after the quarterback. But this is what I mean when I say things are starting to get interesting here, is that for a lot of our viewers now, a lot of Packers fans, a lot of Vikings fans, Bears, NFC North, this is when I start looking at the board and I go, Jalen Walker's there, Will Johnson's still there, Jahdae Barron is still there. A lot of these guys, like you just said, Ziggy, Shamar Stewart, Matthew Golden, guys that you think are going to probably go over the next few picks. If they don't, when does the phone start to ring? Right, and that's what you're talking about with Atlanta here. Pick number 15.
You're not going down to the wire because you want to make your pick.
Yes. But that's what's going on here now is these teams like the Packers, like the Vikings, who else is right there?
Are on the phone.
Shedeur Sanders and Jaxson Dart are on the board.
The Rams could be interested. The Ravens, the Lions.
Yes,
even.
People think that the Steelers might go quarterback. Like now, you start to get into this territory where there are some guys falling down the board. And there are a lot of teams coming up that have their eyes on them. So are we going to see some jumps?
Well, I will say, if you're the Minnesota Vikings, you could not be happier of how the board is falling right now.
I am loving the way
all of
this
the
board
players
is
we're
falling.
interested in are still available. So now the Falcons, the pick is in. We don't know if that may yet be traded, but I believe the Falcons have made a pick. They probably were trying to move and just couldn't get a price they liked. Everybody is saying to their team, trade down, trade down, trade down. But if this is a draft where everyone wants to trade down, you can't just trade down. There has to be a team that wants to trade up, and I'm not surprised that the Falcons are struggling to find a trade partner.
We mentioned that a lot of these guys on the defensive side of the ball falling, I believe that in today's...
Great tweet, Paul. Great tweet.
I believe in today's...
You're just stealing what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
from
wanted
your
to see if
Twitter.
you would see that.
I believe in today's
You know what I just
NFL...
did?
No.
I just tweeted, Ziggy said, I love the way this is falling for the Vikings. I wanted to see if he would say it. I just tweeted, I'm loving the way this board is falling for the Vikings. Loving it.
I believe that that today's game, a lot of people, and including myself, have become clouded on the fact that they view it as more of an offensive game now. And that's only because of guys like Mahomes, and the Ravens have Lamar, and then the Bengals have Burrow, and the Bills have Allen, and the Eagles have Hurts, where, you know, they feel like offense is the move, and it's kind of a clouded judgment.
Yep.
And I value defense more than most others tend to.
Well, that's why Steelers' offense has sucked for years.
I will say this.
I've also seen 2 Super Bowls
No, I mean, yeah, it was a long time ago. Different
with
league.
great defense.
In
With
case you
different
were
league.
wondering whether it's acting when GMs are like everyone's standing up and clapping when it picks in, the fact that everyone in the Falcons room is standing up clapping, hitting each other on the back when they were obviously desperately
Which
trying to
means
move
it's
out of the pick.
Which means it's defense.
All right, let's hear a prediction.
It's
We
Jalen
will
Walker.
see. We
We're
will
on
see,
Jalen
boys.
Walker here. If the Vikings get, I'm going to tear this place up. If he falls, come on, baby.
Who's going to be going? Who's going to win? Who's going to lose?
Yeah, it was
So
obvious.
we
That
were
was-
talking about edge rushers starting to fall.
Great pick.
They're not going to fall forever. Jalen Walker just makes sense here. The Falcons, I think they were probably trying to trade back because they saw what we did, that a lot of these edge rushers, we didn't even mention Jahad Campbell, by the way. Like,
Well,
there's
Jahad
so many
Campbell-
guys available
Jahad
here.
Campbell, he's got the torn labor.
Yeah,
right?
but it's just guys you can take. I think they saw lots of edge rushers they liked, and we're calling teams like the Lions, like Minnesota, like Green Bay to see if they can entice them. But you can't be upset about taking Jalen Walker here. The Falcons are doing what they have to. And I get they've got a rookie quarterback, well, a second-year quarterback in Michael Penix, and you might want to put players around him. But there's talent on that offense. You don't need desperately to add someone. What you need is an offense that doesn't require your quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., to score 40 points every single game.
A falcon is also a very cool bird.
Can someone
kidding
also in the chat let me know what's going on with the Knicks here? It's a big playoff game right now. So someone in the chat,
I
if
forgot
you're
about
watching.
that.
Oh, big playoff game. And the Panthers.
Are
Let me
they
know what's
winning?
going
What's
on
the
here.
score?
Knicks, I saw they were up, but just let me know what's up.
I'm rooting for the Pistons.
Yeah, come on, man. So
Do you think the
I love
falcon
this
is
pick,
the
though.
coolest bird in the NFL? Falcon, Seahawk,
No, I think Eagles are cool.
Eagle.
Unfortunately,
I kind of like the Seahawks.
I like Cardinals.
The Seahawks.
The
cool.
Seahawk as a mascot, not as a bird, but as a mascot.
Eagles are pretty. Yeah, Eagles are the coolest. Bird.
Eagles like the bird of America. though.
I want to say though, I think that right now, the Falcons might be the winner of the draft to me at this point in time.
I mean, letting him fall to them at 15, the pick they need desperately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Position of need,
they don't
really
think of
great player.
themselves as a winner because they were trying to move down.
Maybe.
But
maybe.
look, if you
Are
are
we
a
sure of
Falcons
that?
fan,
How are
here
we
is
sure
what
of
you're
that,
going to
though?
say. We finally made the pick that for years we've known we needed to make. And that's a good feeling to have a front office that's making a smart pick.
I
love what they're doing here.
This could be Could this be Matthew Golden here?
It could be. I mean, the Cardinals, there's a lot of ways they can go.
No,
They
this
could
is
take
Ibuka.
Golden.
This is Ibuka.
But also, I mean, you've got your tight end. You've got Marvin Harrison Jr. They could go defense here. The Cardinals feel like a team. I had
know,
them
but
winning
they-
the NFC West last year, and they were close. They're a team that's a couple great players away from really
great
contending.
players are ways.
So if you're the Cardinals here, what I mean is you shouldn't be picking a player at a perceived position in need. You can deal with basically anything. You should be picking the player you think has the best chance to be great.
You pair up Marvin Harrison with his old teammate Ibuka, you get Kyler, that duo, boom, 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 boom. This is a Mecca Ibuka to me all the way here.
I know. I feel like they need a fast guy receiver here.
Ibuka's a pretty fast receiver.
He's
Or,
good.
again, let's not forget, there's defense available. This Cardinals team, they could really use a cornerback.
Their offensive line also sucks. I think that they could they be looking at Josh Simmons.
I don't
maybe?
think this is a good spot for
Ibuka.
offensive line. I think that the way the board is, there's a lot of talent here. At positions they need, it's not as if they don't need cornerback. They couldn't really use a wide receiver. I would focus on offensive line in a future round and take a guy. You never want your team to be led by a tight end. Trey McBride's a great player, don't get me wrong, but they could use a talent infusion on offense. And, I mean, let's not forget they got Gannon as a head coach. He'd be thrilled, I think, to get, say, Will Johnson here.
You know what would be funny?
I don't.
I'm not trying to speak that into existence, but
this is Ibuka.
I know that Cardinals people have recently been talking about Jahad Campbell here. Mike Green is there. Like, it's for the Cardinals. What's nice is what do they need? They need a receiver, maybe. They need a guard,
Shout out David
maybe.
Baudaga.
An edge. Like a lot of these guys at the Paul Farrington show. I'm going back to Mad Mel Kiper. Nice. All right, so prediction for this pick right here. The pick is in right now. You're going to Mekabuka.
Yeah.
Ziggy?
Will Johnson.
Will Johnson. I think I disagree there. I think they're going to go Matthew Golden here. I think
they could also, honestly, I think an edge rusher could also make sense. I would not be shocked to see Mike Green go here either.
No, I mean, I think Mike Green is. I was just saying Mike Green and Jahad Campbell. I think it will be one of the picks of Mike Green, Jahad Campbell, or Matthew Golden.
I don't know how Jahad Campbell's a polarizing prospect. I don't know how he's seen around the NFL. Everybody
I'd
at
imagine
least
Mike Green will
likes
go
Mike
above him.
Green.
Yeah, all right.
Except people at the University of Virginia.
Yes.
You get Marvin, his old college teammate here.
Well, you're all about the camaraderie. You're about locker room.
That's lethal there for Kyle.
You don't take it.
This is the thing.
Man.
Everyone who talks about Mekabuka, every single person that talks about Mekabuka brings up just how great of a teammate, great of a guy, hard worker, locker room dude, and again, yes, very good at football.
You can never have too many good wide receivers on your team.
No, you can't have enough good receivers.
What do the Cardinals have? One?
You can't have too many good edge rushers either, and they currently don't have a whole lot. Josh Sweat, I know he was signed. He is not transforming that room.
Most teams nowadays in the NFL have weapons on offense. The Cardinals with Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison.
And Trey McBride.
Yeah, I think you add Ibuka or a receiver, Golden. I think that's awesome.
Looks like they're going to win, up 6 with 10 seconds to go.
Yes,
Panthers 1-2-0. Hooray.
They're
up 2-0 now in the series? Great.
How are the Pittsburgh Pirates doing? Can you check?
I'm not checking the Pittsburgh. Nobody cares about the Pittsburgh Pirates.
What if I say please?
Okay. I will check for
Well,
you.
here's what's interesting if it does wind up being Jahad Campbell.
2-0 Pirates?
They're up 2-0.
Sweet.
All right, here we go.
Playing
We're
the
seeing the pick.
Angels.
We're about to sweep them.
You and I would be up 2-0 playing the Angels. So who are the Cardinals going to select here? So this is a Walter Nolan. I mean, it was mentioned to us yesterday.
You like him. He's your guy.
I believe it was Daniel Jeremiah who told us Walter Nolan could go 11. He could go 40. This is a player with a huge variance. I love Walter Nolan. We talked about it during our mock draft. I had him going near the end. I had him as a potential pick for the Packers. I think Walter Nolan is a great pickup here if you're looking for a high upside guy to play on your defensive line.
Yeah, I'm kind of neutral on the pick.
Ole Miss, which we're not used to seeing, the last couple of years has had an awesome defense. We're used to seeing Ole Miss.
He's a big piece of it, yes.
We're used to seeing Ole Miss go score 80 points a game and win games 55-47, and just playing no defense at all, scoring on 2 plays, letting their opponent score on 2 plays. These last couple of years, Ole Miss has had a great defense. They've gone to the quarterback, and he is the cornerstone in that transformation for the Ole Miss defense under Lane Kiffin. I like this pick. I've liked him all along.
And I'll say this much. When I'm looking at defensive tackles, a warning sign, and one reason why people are really bearish on guys like Shamar Stewart is because they missed a lot of tackles. You have to be able to bring people down. It only gets harder in the NFL. Walter Nolan's calling card is he gets to the guy quickly, and once he's near the guy, that guy is hitting the floor. Walter Nolan is maybe the most reliable tackler of any player available in this draft. And I think if you're the Cardinals looking for a guy who's already good, but he only started 1 season, and he improved the more playing time he got consistently. If you're looking for a guy who can take that next step forward with more time and more opportunities, I think Walter Nolan makes a lot of sense for a Cardinals team that just is begging for a star on defense.
Hotty toddy, baby.
John Stockton says, "What's up, fellas?" Keith Parley, bad pick,
John
second
Stockton?
round. Yeah, but I think it might be.
We got any questions? It's been a while since we had a
Second
question.
round talent. Yeah, guys, drop some questions into the chat here.
Ask
Let me
some
see. I think I
anything.
can actually.
I'll answer anything.
Oh, Jack will answer anything.
I will
And he
answer
means-
anything, and you
he
guys
means-
know that.
He means anything. I'm gonna write. Ask us anything.
My goal.
That's what's fun here, though, is that you do get, endless content here at the draft.
You know what's funny? I got to check how many times in the history of the draft this has happened. But with the Falcons and Cardinals here picking back-to-back, that's 2 red birds going back-to-back.
It's only 2 red birds, no?
Yeah, so how many times does that happen, you think? It can't be, super often. The 2 red birds going back-to-back.
Christopher says, where do you guys get food so far? We actually went to a restaurant here in Green Bay called Mangiare.
Good stuff.
One of our friends, Marcus, set us up.
Shout out, Marcus.
Listener Marcus set us up. He
Free
works
apps.
there. And we walked out. It was awesome, guys. We went into the restaurant, and we had a reservation at 5 o'clock. First one's in the restaurant. And Marcus goes, I can hook you guys up with some appetizers. And
I was thinking like 1, maybe 2.
we had, I think it was Allison was the name of our server, I think.
Yeah.
Also super nice.
Super, super friendly.
And the Ravens ate at the restaurant next door.
Yeah, she brings up.
And they weren't good.
She brings out 3 trays of appetizers, or three.
And we're like, wow, that's
yeah,
a
and we're
lot.
like, that's a lot. And then she goes, oh wait, we got 2 more coming. So Marcus shelled out, and they gave us 3 things of tiramisu at the end. Marcus shelled out for us. That was super, super nice. I mean,
We
we're
had the
talking
best
like
rates.
a lot of money.
We got
We tipped very generous.
So I do want to turn just real
I hope
quick.
they
I mean,
do
we
it
know
that
our
way.
audience here to the Packers and what I think they're thinking. We've got people in the chat clamoring for different players from the trade up for. Some are saying Jahdae Barron. Some are saying Matthew Golden, the wide receiver out of Texas. And I'll tell you this. This is exactly why the Packers are not going to trade up. There are a lot of players remaining that would fit very well with what they're trying to do. You've still got Golden. You've still got multiple excellent cornerbacks.
Will Johnson.
You've got edge rushers. You've got defensive linemen on the interior. Like, there's a lot of things. Jahdae Barron, I think, could fit great in Green Bay. There's so many players available. I think they are going to be thrilled to just sit back and let a guy come to them.
Green Bay is going to get somebody who is on their radar with their pick, with the way this draft is currently going. I think if Will Johnson's there for them at 24, that's who they're snagging right up.
All right, this is an urgent question from Israel Sosa in our Q&A. Are
like
the
that
Steelers
name.
going quarterback? Y'all need someone to sling that pigskin.
We have Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, you don't understand. Jack thinks Mason Rudolph is a top 10 quarterback
Mason
in the
Rudolph.
NFL.
The last time Rudolph was a Steeler, he won 4 games road out in the year, got us to the playoffs.
What happened in the playoffs?
And now we have DK Metcalf.
You can't think Mason Rudolph though will get you over the hump of this run you've been in.
Neither any of these quarterbacks.
Okay, fair.
So-
That's fair.
This is what I saw out of Shedeur Sanders. I saw somebody who played for his father in college, and
He's very good in
who then didn't make a bowl game in a 12-team playoff, and then comes out in his bowl game wearing New York Giants cleats, and he gets killed. I don't want him in Pittsburgh. Give me Mason Rudolph. He was under Ben Roethlisberger. He's a Pittsburgh guy. He's been there. DK Metcalf, George Pickens, some good weapons. Give me Mason Rudolph.
So returning to the draft, the Bengals pick is in. Now, I think the Bengals are a very interesting team.
Guys, I'm going to go to the bathroom, right?
Go ahead.
It's all
go
you
for it.
guys.
Because the
I haven't been able to look at
Bengals,
Ziggy for a while.
if
This
you're
is a
interested in
treat.
the offensive line, there's a lot of players they could add here. Obviously, Zabel's
Brother.
available. You could add
Brother.
guys on that offensive line, but also, I know what you're thinking, Paul.
You know what I'm
need
thinking.
defense bad. And I think
Yes.
if you're the Bengals, if you need defense bad, Trey Hendrickson may or may not be leaving, but there are players available for you to take.
We talked about it a couple times on the show. There were, and I've said this stat a few times, so apologies if you've heard it, but there were 9 times this season, Ziggy, where a team scored 33 points or more and lost the football game. The Bengals had 4 of them. That's unbelievable.
Dan Gardner tells me not everyone is interesting. I think almost every team in the draft is interesting.
So I think
in one
almost
way or
every
another.
person in the world is interesting to some
Yeah.
degree.
If you don't think they're interesting, that sounds like a you problem.
The Bengals, yes, Gray Zabel's there, and he's been a name that's been flying up draft boards. Simmons is still there. They can use help on the interior, but man, if it's a guard,
But also, I mean, it's
they're
Joe,
going
Joe
draft.
Burrow
They're
needs
going defense the
so
rest
bad.
of the draft.
Yeah. If
One
you
way or
think-
another, they're going to take a guard at some point. But after that, it is all defense. And who is Mike Green is there right now still.
But now here's the question. Roger
see.
Goodell's about to announce it. Who's going to go? The answer is they take Shamar Stewart. Now,
There we
this
go.
is a very interesting. I know it's interesting, but this is Shamar Stewart was one of the more curious cases in the draft. I mean, if
Absolutely.
people had him as
Too
a
bad
number
Jackson,
7.
using the
People
bathroom
had him
first.
at out of the first round. And for the Bengals, it's a particularly strange selection, I think. I don't mean strange bad, but he's a guy who needs to develop badly. And Paul, I bet you were thinking
100%.
the Bengals need help on defense immediately. And this is a guy, of course, who was able to get in the back, who was able to do some work, but he averaged 1.5 sacks a season.
Well,
He
this
missed
is-
40% of his tackles at the college level. There athletically, he is one of the most incredible prospects we've seen at the position. But unfortunately, at Texas A&M, where he didn't have great help, but he didn't have bad players around him either, on TV right now they're showing sacks. You just saw almost every sack of his entire career.
So yes, that's true. The 4.5 sacks for his career, not a great number. He did lead A&M pressures last year. The measurables are off the charts. 6'5",
part of why he led them in
267.
pressures was he missed 40% of his tackles.
So here's what's interesting is again, now it's in my head. With Shedeur Stewart going to Cincinnati right now, what do we know about their defensive coordinator, Al Golden? Well, at Notre Dame just this past year, you saw what he did with our defense, who sustained injury after injury. Remember, Riley Mills goes down, Benjamin Morrison goes down. Everyone on that defense was hurt, and he had that unit playing at a top-end level. Lou Anarumo was a phenomenal coordinator for a long time. Eventually, you just need a change. Al Golden, I think, can be very, very good. We'll see on the adjustment to the NFL.
But the Bengals they're saying it was entirely a coordinator problem with how they've approached the offseason.
Yes, no. And Lou Anarumo has been very good for a long time. That's what I'm saying is Al Golden here.
Yeah.
I do believe in him as a coordinator. And if you believe in your defensive coordinator, going out and getting a monster like this, someone that you believe your D coordinator can develop, that's where I say, okay, by the end of the season, now here's the thing for the Bengals. What cost them last year? They got hot at the end of the year. They won 5-6 in a row to end the season, and it was too little too late. So Shedeur Stewart may come on by the end of the year if you believe in him adjusting to the NFL, Al Golden helping him to adjust. But
Jack just walked right past us
he's a
and
little thirsty.
But I'll say this.
By the time that we get to the end of the year, if the Bengals can hold on long enough and Joe Burrow's rolling, this is a guy who, come playoff time, you want someone chasing Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
Who's
could really pay off.
And I will say this. I heard a collective, you couldn't hear on TV because it wasn't applause, a sigh of relief from every Packers fan in attendance here. Because you knew if he was available where Green Bay was, he was getting selected. Now, I don't think he's a bad prospect. I'm not saying he's going to be terrible. But the Green Bay Packers have made this mistake too many times. At least fans think so. They've failed this way too many times. You do not have to worry about Shedeur Stewart derailing you.
About Shedeur Stewart derailing you?
Derailing the draft. And I think he's a good player and a good prospect.
I don't know if he would have derailed the Packers.
But is there a single Packers fan? In the comments, let us know.
They don't want a project.
Put a poll.
They do not want a project.
Is there a single Packers fan that wanted Shedeur Stewart?
Yes. No, they are all very happy. They are all very happy. And again, it's nerve-wracking. This is what we talked about as well. I talked about the positive side of drafting Shedeur Stewart. The negative would be the comparisons a lot of people have made to these freak athletes at defensive end is Danielle Hunter. I've heard that time and time again. Shows I've gone on, people have said, hey, how's he compared to your guy, Danielle Hunter? I said it's great to have the super freak athlete, but you got to remember, the Vikings drafted Danielle Hunter in the 3rd round. I love drafting a freak defensive end prospect, a freak defensive guy, later in the draft.
You guys miss me?
Right. Well, do you see who went?
Like my boy.
Yeah, your guy.
Danielle Hunter had also only started 23 games.
But this is the thing I'm talking about, is when you draft these guys, for Shedeur Stewart, not a lot of sack production. You have questions about the tackling. You take them in the 3rd round and you go, hey, let's let our guy mold him and turn him into something. In the 1st round, it might still work out great. There's just a little bit more pressure here to nail that because of what you gave up. Mike Green was sitting there as well, who had 17 sacks. It's the production versus potential question that we see.
Look at Cincinnati, too. Joe Burrow last year, MVP level season. Jamar Chase, one of the best receiver seasons ever. Offense is there. Defense was absolutely abysmal.
Yeah, the last player I can think of, a defensive lineman, freak athlete, no college production, who got picked and did great in the 1st round, Jason Pierre-Paul. Like, he's who they want him to be. Did basically nothing in college.
Didn't Clay Matthews have like 5 sacks in college, though?
Yeah, but Matthews didn't play a sack-heavy defense. That's just not what they asked him to do.
Great Zabel. Yep.
So Zabel to the Seahawks, maybe the most obvious selection in the draft.
Wait, we're getting into the Will Johnson and Jahdae Barron are right there.
Yeah, this is an exciting
night for
Packers.
If Will Johnson's selected, I'm going back there and I'm giving him a hug.
You can try.
Who does Pittsburgh take at 21? I'm curious now.
I want to say why this, since Sam Darnold's in Seattle, I got to talk about this a little bit. The Seahawks have a terrible offensive line. They desperately needed somebody in order to protect Sam Darnold. And Zabel's going to be able to slot in and do just that. I think this is an obvious selection. That is not a criticism. That is a praise. He can play anywhere on the interior, which is great when you're trying to fill multiple positions. He can play center. He can play left guard. He can play right guard. And I always love versatility for offensive linemen because there's always an offensive lineman that gets hurt. He can even play at tackle if you need. Like, Paul, how many times have teams seen seasons get derailed because one offensive lineman gets hurt and they can't find a replacement?
How many times have the Vikings seen their season get derailed because of that?
Ziggy,
Zabel can take care of business.
Was this your pick in your mock?
Yeah.
Was able to Seattle?
Yeah. Again, this was such an obvious pick.
That makes sense.
And a guy he's flown up the draft board.
Like, this is not interesting. This is incredibly boring. And congratulations, Seattle. Right? Your first round has been wasted almost every year. Their draft record with first rounders is horrendous. They're worse than the Green Bay Packers in first rounders, and that's saying something. Making a nice, safe, comfortable pick with your nice, safe, comfortable team, that's good.
I think
he will love the salmon out in Seattle.
We talked about Gray Zabel. Say that name. Gray Zabel. That screams interior offensive line legend.
You know Gray Zabel can throw a 95?
Yeah, dude's probably a freak.
Is he righty or lefty?
Athlete.
Righty.
Creed Humphrey.
What, baseball?
Quentin Nelson. These are names.
He was a real pitching prospect.
These are names that you just say and you go, he was born to play offensive line.
He loves farming.
Farmer. Perfect. If I'm a Seattle fan, remember the problem that Sam Darnold had. Any Viking fan, oh my gosh, any Viking fan can remember that Detroit game, more specifically and probably more accurately, that Ram game.
Oh, yeah.
The pressure that Sam Darnold was under fell apart.
No.
Collapse in those games.
And the thing you want, I want grass-fed beef and I want corn-fed offensive linemen.
Exactly.
Have you guys
On
been
that,
to
I'm going to
Seattle?
step out.
I've never been. Oh, there goes Ziggy.
Really?
Ziggy's out.
The big event's about to happen. We got to make sure.
We got to. Oh, and the camera went
Ziggy. Oh, shoot. Okay.
You keep talking. They can hear.
So they can hear, but they can't see. So, and as I was saying, as Paul fixes the camera here, I was going to talk about Zabel going to Seattle, but I was going to sway off football a bit here. And for those of you guys who haven't been to the city of Seattle, the salmon there is absolutely fantastic. I took a trip a couple of years back. My sister Carolyn had a soccer tournament out there, so my family made a whole little. It was me, my dad, and my sister Carolyn made a whole little trip out to Seattle. Landed in SeaTac Airport, and Paul's still trying to work the mic here. And it gets this rep, right, for being all rainy and gross and nasty. We were there for 3 days, and the sun was shining. It was awesome. We had this restaurant called Virginia Inn. It had their salmon. Went to the first Starbucks.
I'm so sorry. I had so much problem with that.
We knew it was going to happen. But as I was saying, Paul, whenever somebody goes to Seattle or I hear Seattle, I just think of how awesome that city was.
Yeah.
Like, it was one of my better trips in a while. And I can't eat salmon here on the East Coast after eating it there.
I'm going to make the camera a little clearer.
Go ahead. So I hope Gray Zabel enjoys the salmon. Hopefully he gets some sun. I need a water break there. Ziggy was the last to last before going to the bathroom. This draft is kind of flying along. Pick 19 here. The pick is in for Tampa Bay. I guess time flies when you're having fun. We good, Paul?
Yeah, well, we talked a lot about Tampa Bay, and Jihad Campbell's name has come up quite often as this could be the last place we see his name called if he's to make it in round one. And Jihad Campbell is someone that a lot of people really like, but he has that injury that's saying he might not be available till even September potentially. So this is where I kind of get into this question of, all right, if you believe this guy is a early, to mid first round talent, but you're just concerned about the shoulder injury, which he should recover from quite well, costing him the offseason, I'm taking him. Like I'm willing to bet on that being worth it.
Who's the buck, the defensive buck who's been on the team for like 12 years?
Oh, David?
Yeah. I feel like defense would be a good pick here. They kind of pass the torch a little bit here.
Let me see.
This could be Jihad Campbell. You're going to Tampa Bay next week, right, Paul?
I will be in Tampa Bay next week with my good friend Weston.
I heard Tampa's great.
It's awesome. St. Pete's an area down Yeah, Lavonte David. I'm sorry, I don't know who else.
That
I
was
thinking.
David. He's been there for like 15 years. Pass the torch, maybe.
I didn't
love-
miss a pick.
You did miss a pick, and you missed the camera did go out though. When
And
you
you
were
got some
gone.
Pepsi.
Oh, so I could not have picked a better time to leave.
I was talking to it in front of a black screen for a while, but
John,
you are
anyone who
black
just
screen.
hopped in here just completely saw the. Everyone's saying Ziggy got drafted.
Bum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum.
So Tampa, you're right though. They need a linebacker badly with Lavonte David.
pass the
being so
torch a
old
bit. I mean, this guy's 50 years old.
at this point in
Lavonte
time.
David.
But Ziggy, I was saying before with Jahad Campbell, people are concerned about the injury. But when you look at the player himself, if he comes back, the versatility this guy has, it's very intriguing. And if you don't take him here, he might fall potentially in the second round or very late first round. But this feels like a spot where it could be Campbell.
It could be, but the question, this will reveal a lot about how the Tampa Bay Buccaneers see themselves and see their organization. The off-ball linebacker, I think, is generally a bad pick within a first rounder. Those are guys you can get in free agency who can do very well. Even guys like Roquan Smith back in the day you can acquire by trading. I say back in the day like he's not still great.
Here we are.
Honestly, I'd like to see the Bucs go offense here and really build around Baker Mayfield.
What name do you like better, Buccaneer or Pirate?
Buccaneer,
Buccaneer.
no question. So who do the Buccaneers select?
Oh,
So,
Buka,
like
okay.
I said,
There we
I
go.
wanted them to go offense. Ibuka's going to shock a lot of people because they'll say, you got Mike Evans, you got Godwin. What do you need Ibuka
Well,
for?
Evans is an old guy.
I think you're using Ibuka just like, their player comp from NFL Network is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Well, the situation comp is just like Jackson Smith and Jigba when he was drafted to the Seahawks, right? You've got two wide receivers, both of whom are getting older, one of whom is elite, one of whom, Mike Evans is better than Tyler Lockett was at that point, but he's definitely getting older. Ibuka can step in and be an elite wide receiver 3, and then step up, become wide receiver 2, and eventually get the opportunity to be wide receiver 1. I think it's a great situation for him to develop just like his teammate Jack Smith and Jigba from Ohio State. And I think him and Baker Mayfield are going to have a blast in sunny, beautiful Tampa Bay next
Baker
year.
the playmaker.
Mike Evans.
Can we get a shout out to
getting
our friend
older.
Weston Dell
Weston?
in Tampa Bay?
downtown.
I know he's
Weston,
celebrating.
is he
this.
watching us?
So this is where it gets interesting now.
He's a
Remember
Bears fan,
earlier
though,
on
isn't
I
he? What?
said, this does get interesting though, because remember I said
This is where it starts.
Let me just.
right,
Here's
this
the
is where it
Bucs
starts.
This is where it
offense.
starts.
Baker, Bucky Irving, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Ibuka, Jalen McMillan,
who's receiver 4 right now for them.
Jalen McMillan.
Okay.
Not a bad player.
But yeah, here's the thing: is looking at last year, Godwin clearly had the horrible injury. Mike Evans has had some injury problems, even though he's still going over 1,000 yards every year. But he's getting older. This is where people love Emeka Egbuka. I'm telling you guys, fantastic receiver. But I'm serious when I say this. Everyone loves the person too. And what I was saying before, what I'm excited
Weston
about,
Dell, go Bucs.
what I'm
He's
excited about is
he watching
Weston,
us?
our buddy
Yeah.
Weston is down in Florida, but I just said our other good friend Maggie, who tutored Emeka Egbuka, we have connections now to a guy who's right there in Tampa. We might be.
Are you
seeing
trying to
Emeka
set up
Egbuka.
Weston Dell and Emeka Egbuka?
A little bit. I might be. I'm just saying. I've heard great things about Emeka Egbuka here, and he's a
The
great
fact that
fit.
Emeka Egbuka was getting tutoring rather than saying, I ain't here to play school, that really speaks to his character.
I think Maggie taught him everything you need to know. Maggie
don't know if
played
I love
football.
that, though.
But here's the thing. How does he fit in really nicely? Because Mike Evans, a great X receiver, right?
Dude, this board
guy-
could not be falling
This
better
guy,
for Green
phenomenal
Bay, Minnesota.
hands, great route runner. He's the definition of safety, I would say, at the receiver position. I don't know how high the ceiling is for Emeka Egbuka.
I think it's quite high. He's an unbelievable athlete.
That's what my question with Emeka Egbuka is. I think there's a pretty high floor that he will be a very good football player.
Right now, he's Tampa's number 3, like a Jackson Smith and Jigba was.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he's going to be expected to be that number 1 really for a while.
I don't know.
Maybe
How
never.
much- come on, guys.
I wouldn't say
Probably
never, but
Chris Godwin's coming off. What did he tear? What was it?
Chris
Achilles?
Godwin's done it before.
Chris Godwin's coming off a season-ending
No,
injury.
I
and
think
Mike
it
Evans
will
is in his
be.
30s.
I think in 2 seasons, right? So the season after this one, he will be expected to be wide receiver 1, just like in Jigba.
but still,
Sure,
that's,
but
that's 3 years down the road.
It's 2 years down the road.
Look, I think Jay Asen could be number 1 right
here's
now.
the thing, though, is that there's a world that a lot of weight is placed on Emeka Egbuka's shoulders at some point this year.
It could happen.
Yeah,
It could. No, and you can't play the what-if game with football, but
I
it's
think he
something
can
that you need to be
handle it.
prepared for.
He's a great receiver, and I don't think he's expected.
He's much more polished than Luther Burden. That's
he's not
why you pick
expected
him.
to be their one for at least 2 or 3 seasons.
Yes,
and
but
at
if
that
someone
point,
goes
at that
down,
point, I think he's going to be awesome.
when Evans and Godwin, if one of them went down, you had big questions about the Bucks. This helps a lot.
Well, that's
because
why it
he
was
can
a good.
fit
That's
in,
why
like,
it was
yeah,
a good
he
pick.
can fit in really nicely and be unbelievable, definitely a serviceable wide receiver too, if not better.
I thought he's who the Cardinals going to go with at
And
16.
the Bucks too. This is the thing about the Bucks. They're
Terrible.
close. No.
They're not good.
Sorry. They're not close to winning the Super Bowl, but they're capable of making runs. They
No,
win their
they're not.
division. They win their division. They're going to win it again this year.
No, they're not.
Who do you think? Atlanta?
Yeah. I think they finished 3rd in the division this year.
3rd in the division.
So the Broncos here, they're going to the time they're trying to trade down. That people said they were in love with Omarion Hampton. I don't think that's true. But I do want to get, we had that Q&A out. A bunch of people have asked us, since we got a
let's
little
answer some
pause here.
questions.
Almost everyone's asked us how we've liked being in Green Bay, seeing Lambeau Field, meeting the people here. Paul, you're the one who's really on enemy territory here. I'm still sort of new to this. How has it felt?
You are definitely. I'm getting texts from people that are saying the video of you on Lambeau Field being like, "Oh, the air and the winning." They're saying, "Bro, have you not known for 2 years now that Ziggy's a Packer fan? Have you not been watching your own show?" It's like, yeah, I guess that's a fair point. I said at the top of the show, and I'll say it again. I think that Green Bay has been unbelievable. Now, listen. I'm not here in the middle of December or the middle of January when it's freezing cold and there's snow everywhere.
We did South Bend.
But I
we
did
know
South
what
Bend,
it's
Indiana.
like.
I think well, maybe. I don't know. It might
Yeah, it's probably
be
terrible.
It might be even colder. And no, it's doable. And football does take you a long way through those December.
Yeah,
and
it
when
does.
you're playing playoff football in Green Bay, which they are often doing here, it helps get you through a lot. I think the vibe of this town has been great. We haven't done too much exploring because we've been working the draft a lot. But the area immediately around Lambeau Field, part of it, is the hype around almost like a game day experience. It felt like a game today. The marching band is playing for University of Wisconsin, and it's like cloudy with a little nip in the air where you're feeling like it's like a football day. But I just think it's a really cool place where
And the people are amazing.
the people are amazing. Like, I mean, yeah, we got
Producer
Ryan
Ryan,
in
he's
front of us
great.
here. Producer Ryan, who is just, salt of the earth.
Temporary,
Salt of the
because
earth.
Zach's our guy. But
And yeah, I've had such a great time in Wisconsin so far. Super nice to Vikings fans. And one more time, shouting out Ryan's podcast, On the Line Podcast with Evan Smith and Ryan Brom at seehaferpodcast.com, SEEHAFER podcasts.com. Former Packer on the show with Ryan. And I mean, come on. Like,
It
what are
is
we
that
talking
Evan
about?
Smith. It is not that Ryan.
You would
Here we go.
like any Packers fans listening to us and not that show. You're wasting your time. I
Wait,
don't know
is
what you're
it
doing here. This is the show to listen to.
Is Ryan
This is
Braun
your
the Brewers player, right?
Yeah,
Is
no,
that
no,
Ryan
no.
Braun?
I mean,
not
if
that
if
Ryan
they
Braun.
were live right now, all of our viewers would be with them instead. So we're fortunate they're not going live. We appreciate it. But the Broncos pick is in. I'm excited to see
This
who
is the
comes
running
here.
back for North Carolina.
If this is that,
That's
and
very-
then the Steelers are up, this
Well, we
could
have some
not
Broncos
be going better
fans
for
right
Green
next
Bay
to
and
us here. Let's
Minnesota, which
see.
means we're both trading down.
This is the UNC running back.
We have,
I can't wait for the Vikings to trade down and select a corner.
let's see.
World Wish Month in April. Oh, I've had. This is
Jack,
such a
if
cool.
you're about to make it,
No, this is such a cool experience. Like, look at us sitting here, the media room, Radio Row.
you know what kind of wish he's talking about, right?
I'm not saying anything. I'm saying it's cool to be here, sitting on Radio Row.
I think it's cool the NFL cooperates with this too.
I agree. I
So
wasn't gonna say anything.
I love those Bo Nix faces. Bo Nix, I wasn't super high on him. He had a great year.
What if this is Shedeur?
So if you're the Denver Broncos looking at Bo Nix, that would be so funny if it was Shedeur. I would laugh.
You hear Ryan in the background going, "No way." Hey, if they don't like Bo Nix, man.
I mean, I'm not saying Bo Nix is elite,
We got
but
a
on the
lot
basis
of
of last
cheese.
year,
Here
there's
we go.
nothing
Here we go.
but liking Bo Nix.
Oh,
That's one of the guys you
So
want.
Jahdae Barron's off the board. I'm not worried about this.
Well, you
I
still
really
got-
think Jahdae Barron, he's a
Damn it.
controversial prospect.
I didn't see
really
that
see
coming.
him as a nickel corner. But if you're the Broncos, you don't need a cornerback one. You've got Pat Certain, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL.
Oh,
I
man.
really like Barron as a complementary piece.
I'm really upset about that.
And now you know who's on the clock.
Jade. Oh, I did not think that was going to happen.
Denver-
All right, Nick, I appreciate the cheese, but slow it down a little bit, please.
Denver
in the
stinks.
comments.
Let's get to Pittsburgh now, baby.
Oh, I really thought that again, we talked about running back being a potential area of need for the Broncos that we all know. I'm sorry, it is an area of need for them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Matthew Golden is still on the board.
He's
right?
still there.
Yeah, I thought that would have been Hampton or Golden.
Matthew Golden had a great visit with the Steelers.
Is Matthew Golden on?
Just recently.
Wait, who?
Yeah,
did he go?
no one's taken Matthew Golden yet.
Okay, yeah, Matthew Golden was still there.
Hey, now Ziggy, you talk about a situation with Seattle and Tampa. How about Pickens, DK, and Matthew Golden?
So I think if Matthew Golden gets selected, that is the clearest sign there could be that George Pickens is not going to be on this team for very long.
Shout out Nate G.
Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The Steelers, all the rumors were, and I believe them, they were shopping Pickens. It's tough to have a guy like that in the locker room and on the field. He's had a lot of opportunities for maturity. It hasn't quite come. You know, if Antonio Brown, you could live with it because he was a transcendent, all-world talent. Pickens is a very good player, but if you've got DK Metcalf and you've got Matthew Golden, I think you could really be justified in moving on.
Look at those towels. I love Pittsburgh. You know, it's probably the best place in the world. Do you like pierogies?
Driving into Pittsburgh was the single worst driving experience in my entire life.
Do you like pierogies?
I got in a car accident in Pittsburgh. I hate Pittsburgh.
Ryan's on his head, right?
I mean, pierogies are fine.
Pierogies are great.
Fine.
Yeah, we go fine.
You're fired.
Get out of here.
You can't fire me.
Pittsburgh-
You had your chance as a dictator, and you said no.
Pittsburgh is some of the best pierogies you'll ever eat.
All right, hold on a second. I want to get back onto
Do you like inclines?
We got to
that go
talk
in and
about
out?
the draft here.
Do you like
just for a
inclines?
second. This is it right here. This is our
This is
draft.
where the draft really begins.
This is where the draft
Oh,
begins.
here we go.
We're 21,
Pittsburgh
22,
from
23,
Pittsburgh.
24.
There's
This is
someone
it for
that
Do you
us.
like inclines that go up to mountains and stuff like that?
No, I do. I like declines.
Well, you can decline too.
Hey, John Stockton in the chat
you
is
can.
so angry that they didn't take Jade Barron. He wanted to trade up so badly.
I wanted Barron. This is where this is the nightmare situation. Oh, this could be the nightmare.
Ziggy.
Oh, and Will Johnson's going to go to the
Oh,
Packers.
I'm gonna be. Oh,
Ziggy, do you like rivers? Pittsburgh has three of them that meet in one spot.
We're not talking about how great a city Pittsburgh is. I know the truth.
Paul drove a ducky
So
boat.
Pittsburgh,
Packers
you can
take
go for
Will
you can go
Johnson.
for wide receiver. You can go for defense here, or you can take a quarterback. This is really the first spot I think where
This
it
is-
could make sense for Sanders.
I mean,
or
this is
Dart
gonna
to
this
go.
is Sanders
maybe, maybe not.
or Dart. If we get Dart,
Ziggy.
I can see the Steelers going.
Ziggy, do
defense
not
here.
spoil this for me before
not
Goodell
spoiling
reads it.
if we take Dart right
Oh,
here,
I haven't spoiled anything since we agreed
Dart,
I wouldn't.
Dart.
Am I lying?
You want
to
Dart?
I want Dart.
I mean, Jack has wanted Jaxson Dart for basically since the first game. he saw
Pittsburgh
Dart
knows
play
how to
with.
draft, man.
I'm really still upset
You
about
don't know how to
Jade
draft
Barron.
quarterbacks.
here. I
Pittsburgh
wanted
knows how to
Jade.
draft.
You do
I
not
did
know
not
how to
think
draft
he'd be going to
quarterbacks.
the-
Take
We've
my
seen
boy.
this over and
Take
over
my boy.
again.
I'm shocked that the Broncos didn't go with Matthew Golden. Or I mean, I look.
I love them giving a guy to run next to Pat Certain.
Yeah, no, they're gonna have
take a wide
their
receiver in the
defense
second or third
will be
round.
nasty again next year. But and you're right. There's a lot of talent later on.
I mean, there's talent everywhere, but
Here we
I
are.
think I get it.
The best fan base in football.
Who are the Steelers going
My
to pick? Is the
Pittsburgh
quarterback.
Steelers select. Bum ba bum bum bum.
Oh, so there's anger.
I have a lot of anger
We
in
heard
this room.
loud swear words.
A lot of anger.
I don't
in
know
this
who
room.
I don't
know
get-
who that is.
Derek,
The
you know
Oregon
who that is? I
defensive
talked
tackle.
about him on the show.
Oh.
Derek Harmon is, we were talking about them picking guys on the insides, potential Cam Hayward replacement. Derek Harmon fits in there very well. He's quick, he's big, he stuffs the run. He's developing as a pass rusher, but he can get there. He was great at Oregon against some of the best offensive
People
lines in
are
the country.
pissed.
He was able to get back. I
Is
mean,
he
that's the
good?
angriest we've heard the room all night.
Is he
over
good, this
pick,
guy?
right?
Was he a first round pick? Or,
I was
who
very
is he?
high on Derek Harmon. I mean, Dane Brugler had him as a top 10 player. I think Derek Harmon is he got after the quarterback better than anybody else on the inside in college football. He's great at blocking the run. He's going to get to learn from one of the best in the business, from Cam Hayward.
Jack, one word.
I like this.
One word to describe your feelings on this pick right now.
Surprised. But I mean,
why are you surprised? The Pittsburgh Steelers. I was saying
you're right. You're right.
Defense.
You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. But
the Pittsburgh Steelers are never going to take a quarterback they don't like.
This is funny.
What most Steelers fans know, and other fans don't, is the Steelers' defense as a whole, surprise, surprise, is really not all that good. TJ Watt kind of had a little bit of a decline last season. Cam Hayward's 100 years old. So I do understand it. Maybe taking a young player, kind of a bully in the middle.
Look at your face. I just tweeted this out for anyone who wants to go look. Jack's face after taking Derek Harmon was he just stood here like this.
I'm not saying he's bad. I didn't
know much about him.
See any like projections anywhere.
Here's some numbers. Led all defensive interior linemen in QB pressures last year by a wide margin. I mean,
he seems like a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Here's the thing. Ziggy said it. Cam Hayward's not going to play forever. It feels like he might.
He's not going to play.
I thought Cam Hayward retired. Like, when was he drafted?
I'll tell you this.
Wait, what year was Cam Hayward drafted?
Like 1945.
He's like 37.
Cam Hayward's ancient.
But here's the thing, and this is what worries me about this pick, is the reporting coming from Ian Rappaport, is this is a pick the Steelers made because they were torn on Shedeur Sanders. So rather than continuing to debate or making a decision, they went with a guy everybody liked. I think you might wonder whether or not that's an effective way to make decisions. But regardless, I think as a player, he fits very well into what the Steelers want to do. And ultimately, I mean, I don't think Shedeur Sanders or Jaxson Dart was transforming you this year. So if this is the guy you want, take him. Wait until next year, where there's a chance there are franchise-transforming quarterbacks, and take a swing there.
Oh, you and me. I love Mason
Wait until
Rudolph.
the next round, move up, move down. There's all sorts of things you can do.
I
don't get the outrage behind this pick that we just heard.
I've been saying it. I love Rudolph. So
I take this as a strong sign they expect Aaron Rodgers to come to town next year.
Do you know what the response was? The response was wanting the Shedeur or Jaxson Dart pick. That was the outrage. It's not the pick is very good.
No, but
people love the pick.
Aaron Rodgers is coming to town next year.
I don't know if
They're making this pick because they think Aaron Rodgers is coming to town next year.
The defense, though, it does need help. But the defense is a one-man defense. Cam Hayward's old. I get it. I don't hate it. I didn't.
Harmon's a player who makes so much sense.
Yeah, I agree. I just didn't see him projected at Pittsburgh in anything I saw.
Yeah, well,
So
it makes a ton of sense.
It does.
You do agree
it just
with
caught
that,
me
right?
off guard.
Yeah.
But I do like the pick.
So this is the pick now,
The
given our
last
show.
pick before the Green Bay Minnesota duo.
Yeah, and this is the pick for our show.
And then we're good to sign
When we
off.
have the Steelers, the Chargers, the Packers, and the Vikings, this is the pick that we don't really, just don't steal our guy here. If you're Los Angeles, as far as the Chargers go, could this be golden? Right? You're talking about a team that needs more weapons. I think this would be a very nice spot for him to go.
What about like a Travion Henderson type of guy here? Little thunder and lightning with Derek Henry.
Travion Henderson, every time he touches the ball, is a threat to score.
No,
I'd be a little surprised if he goes over Hampton.
I don't know if Jim Harbaugh takes a Buckeye.
But you hear a lot of guys who like Judkins and Henderson potentially more than Hampton and say he might have been better if he had that lead role opportunity.
I mean, you could Najee and Travion, little thunder and lightning here in LA.
Wait, so real quick, Jack. I just want, before we move on from this, you're happy or not happy that they did not take Sanders / Jaxson Dart?
I wanted Jaxson Dart.
Okay.
I didn't want Sanders. I'm happy with the pick. I would have preferred Dart, but now it's time to roll with Mason Rudolph, and I'm fine with it. I wanted to see Jaxson Dart at 21.
I'm debating running to the bathroom before the Packers are on the clock. Do I do it?
Hustle.
Second break, man.
I hustle.
The Packers are trading back anyway.
Wait, so the Vikings are 23, correct?
No, the Packers are 23.
Then Vikings are right
the
after
Vikings
them.
are 24.
Right. So great. This would be scripted just so beautifully. to have Green Bay steal.
What did Paul say was the nightmare scenario? The
That-
nightmare scenario, there were two. One is Will Johnson's available and the Packers snag
I
him.
want to see it.
The other was Will Johnson's available and we trade back.
I want to see the
And
Packers.
I struggle to see the Chargers taking Will Johnson. I think that's not where they're going. I think they could be going Golden, who I had them trading up for Golden in my mock. Him falling here makes sense. They could go running back. They could go offensive line. There's plenty of defensive talent not at corner.
Oh, Golden here makes so much sense.
Justin Herbert is a great player who's never had all the tools around him, a good coach, a good, well-coordinated offense and weapons. I totally get it.
You probably have a top 7 quarterback in football right now who's elite with so much talent and potential.
And you've got one wide receiver.
Yeah.
Get a second.
Yeah, get a second.
Golden, I know people are profiling him in the slot, but when we talked to him, he was clear. He sees himself inside and outside.
I talked to him yesterday. Great guy, too.
Are the Vikings thinking of trade? The Chargers, if you're going this long, they're thinking of trading. Could the Vikings trade up with the Chargers right now to get our guy?
Oh, they're on the phone with somebody if this clock is winding down here like this.
They were saying that he's falling.
As Paul is back here. That
Not
they're
because he's a bad
falling.
player, but just because of who's available.
Wait,
And team needs.
that can't be. Huh.
Are the Vikings on the phone with the Chargers right now? Perhaps.
The Chargers are thinking of trading back.
This is only like the third team that's taken the full time so far, right?
Yeah, it's
Under a minute here.
Guys, how good was that bathroom trip, by the way? I mean, that was
Paul, I'm not
Amazing.
complimenting you on your bathroom.
No,
a
it was
bit
great.
horrible timing,
Like,
but
stretch your legs, get a water.
well,
It's-
I was
You know, I
sprinting.
think I
It
could
was
go for a
great.
little bit of a walk. This credential will get me back inside in a few minutes, right?
What are you
I
talking
think that'd
about?
be a great time just going a little stroll outside, check out the draft. Paul, if we go
Dude,
outside right now, we can see the
are you
Vikings select.
are you
something on the
guys
stage.
okay if I go outside for the Packers pick?
Go. I mean, it's gonna be amazing.
Hey, you want to fill in?
Yeah.
I might go outside for Green Bay's pick. I'm thinking about it. I won't have as much to say as you guys on these next two picks. I'm gonna go out and just yell with the crowd.
But you know who's also available that I'm sure Green Bay is their eye on right now is Mike Green. I mean, Packers fans were telling us there was no way Mike Green could possibly be available to them at this pick.
If they take Will Johnson, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Does this get?
You will be the one yelling
I'm
curse words.
telling you, I can sense some things when it comes to who the Vikings are going to get. Percy Harvin in 2009, I felt it, right? I just felt it.
Why do
I
you want
think when I
Johnson? Why do you
talked
want
to
this
Will
guy so
Jo-
bad?
I want a cornerback, and I think this guy's a beast. He's amazing.
It's okay. He's
I
good.
want a cornerback. I think he'll be amazing. And we're friends. We're friends. That's the thing.
That's
All right.
fair. Not like
Well,
me and Booker though.
Our viewers are
No.
starting to skyrocket now that the
Another
Packers
Green
pick
Bay
is
is
starting
coming
to
in.
come
This is
in.
it here.
I feel like I got to stay for Green Bay's pick.
As opposed to go out. It's going to be amazing there right now. And that's one of the funny things Ziggy was saying. A lot of the people who listen to this show are actually out there right now,
Yeah.
cheering this on.
And most
That
of our
looks
most of
awesome.
our fans are right there, as you see on your most
where
you
they
see,
should
see on
be.
your TVs.
Where they should be.
Where they should be.
All right, so this is going to be
This
the Chargers.
has to be golden here.
I
You
think
have one of the best quarterbacks in football with so much talent and potential, and he's elite, and he hasn't had anybody.
well,
Yeah,
Like, get
you've
him a
got Ladd
weapon.
McConkey, who
what
I
do
think
the
is
what
a
do the
great
Chargers
receiver.
need? The needs right now I'm seeing.
He is, but he had to him, right?
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
They're saying here D tackle, wide receiver, tight end, running back, edge, in that order. If you're talking about D tackle, they're mentioning Kenneth Grant, who's gone. Walter
No,
Nolan is gone.
The tackles aren't available.
They're gone. Yeah.
This has to be.
Tight end
has to be golden.
They're talking about Loveland gone, Warren gone. So
I'm not taking Hampton
yeah,
over Golden.
based on this, you're going with the number one receiver option, who would be gold. I mean, look, there are other receiver options.
I'd go golden or like Travion
but,
Henderson or something like that.
like people have talked about Luther Burden sneaking up.
Yeah, but
Uh,
it's. I mean, I just want to see if they pick a different receiver than Golden, I won't mind. They can evaluate receivers better than me, but I think strategy-wise, picking a receiver makes sense.
Does anyone know why Isaiah Bond fell so far during the year? Was it attitude and
well,
Seriously?
what?
Okay.
What?
I'm not sure we should talk about this on air.
he made me angry with the Iron Bowl catch. So
Maybe I'm misremembering.
It's because of the arrest
Okay.
for sexual assault.
oh, we forgot.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm
it's-
sorry.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all right. It's all right.
Let's see the
Criminal.
Chargers here. Wait, actually, yeah.
Okay, I'm wrong.
So they did go Hampton.
So
A lot of oohs in the
I,
room.
I don't like the
A lot
pick
of oohs in the
personally.
room.
I think he's a great player, and I can see why they're going. I prefer receiver, especially in this draft. But this fits of what Harbaugh wants to do. They're looking for the explosive running back. J.K. Dobbins, who I think used to be a great player, but unfortunately has just had too many injuries. He was able to have a great year. Hampton's going to be able to do even better. Expect this guy to go in the first round of fantasy drafts next year.
Well,
he's going to get fed.
I was thinking it could be a potential Travion Henderson here because, like you just said, having that little thunder and lightning type deal with Najee and Hampton is what Jim Harbaugh wanted to do.
You know what's better than thunder and lightning? Lightning and lightning.
Yeah.
Lightning bolts, when they hit you, you get electrocuted.
Listen, okay.
When thunder comes, you're like, ooh, that's kind of scary, I guess.
Okay,
Paul
listen,
doesn't like thunder. He's scared of thunder.
I don't like thunder. We
Are
got
you
ushered
more,
in
you're
yesterday.
scared, are
I
you
do
scared
not
of
like
thunder
thunder.
because it reflects lightning?
No, I'm not scared of thunder. I'm scared of lightning.
Yeah.
I
So
don't like. I don't like.
what's scarier,
I don't like
thunder and
bolts
lightning
of
or just
electricity
lightning?
No, but like
shooting
thunder's-
out of the sky to
thunder's
the
the
ground
sound of lightning,
in random
so
locations.
you're scared of both.
All right, here's what I'm going to say, and it's going to be 10 seconds. With Hampton, when you're building up the line the way the Chargers have, like it here, we're
She's
moving
gonna be
on now
great.
to the Green Bay Packers because this is where everyone's here. This is what everyone's here to see, right?
I would love to be outside. We're right there. We're like 100 feet away.
This is
I
it
might
right
go.
now.
Paul,
All right,
I think
so-
the nightmare scenario is coming true.
They're taking
This
Will-
is the-
they're
this could
taking
be
him.
the nightmare
They're
scenario.
taking Will
But
Johnson.
here's the reason they might not come true. If I'm the Packers, I get Will Johnson's an exciting player. I think Mike Green is a pick that also makes a ton of sense for him here.
Go
As far as
Pack,
production
go.
over, here, let's put it in the chat right now.
Listen
Ziggy.
to it out there.
Let's say who right now in the chat. Let's know who do you want.
Go Pack, go.
All right. This is when the draft gets
Go,
interesting here.
Pack, go.
We got a lot. Who do you want,
Our viewer
Ryan?
count is like
Yeah.
What do you
double
want?
now that the Packers are on the count.
You know. All right.
I have too much in my life to pay attention to college sports.
This
All right.
this
so
looks,
Top four, and that was about it.
guys.
right
we're
now,
like,
let's look through this real quick. You got Mike
There's
Green
two
on the
players
board.
here that they can take. I think three.
Do you think Golden?
You can take Golden.
Johnson.
You can take Mike
Johnson.
Green. You can take Will Johnson. I think if you're the Packers, you sit and think, what position do we need? What makes the most sense?
It seems like they want Sanders would be hilarious. It seems like Packers fans want
I'd trade
They're all
down
over
if
the
I'm the
place.
Packers if there's a good deal.
Mike. Listen, here's the thing with Mike Green.
Virginia
When you
kicked
go
him
Mike,
out.
You go Mike Green. This is we were talking with Shamar Stewart before. 17 sacks last year in college. He did play at Marshall, and that's the big question around him: is do you want a guy, despite the 17 sacks, who wasn't playing against the toughest competition week in and week out? But 17 sacks is 17 sacks. You know, I don't care where you are. That's pretty impressive
and
numbers
he played
here.
well against the good competition they played at Marshall
look at that
too.
crowd.
But when you look at Jeff Hafley and more so the Packers and what they like to do at defensive end and in that position, the measurables don't quite match up.
Guys, do you know why my phone's ringing right now?
What? Oh, wait a second.
Are you being drafted?
Yeah,
Is that LaFleur?
really.
LaFleur or Gutekunst?
Who is it?
Mr. Gutekunst, I would be
Gutekunst.
thrilled to join the Green Bay Packers.
It's
He said he was impressed by the tape.
Ziggy, get out there.
get out there. Go.
All right, so the breaking news here on the show, Robert
tell-
Ziggy Ziegler has been selected
Tell him
with the
Goodell to come here.
23rd
I mean, they
overall
saw my
pick
Oklahoma
in
drill
the
against
NFL
Ashton
draft.
Genty.
Ziggy,
Thought we need that guy
Tell-
on defense.
round of applause.
Tell
A lot
Roger
of
to
people
come
in the
here.
draft room looking around here.
Tell Roger to come get you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
Roger's got to come get you.
haven't sent him a
So
text.
this is crazy here in the chat right now. It is all we didn't say it. It's all Golden, Johnson, and Mike Green. All of them. Everyone's
Well,
putting in with exclamation points.
Look, Christian Watson's.
Do not take my guy.
Christian Watson's hurt, right?
Do not take my guy.
There's only one thing we're asking. You know, they're going down to the wire. Do you think they're trying to trade down?
There's been speculation about that. A lot of fans seem to think that's what they're going to do,
Can
right?
you imagine they have the draft in Green Bay and
Yeah,
they
you
trade
can't.
down, they
You
don't
can't.
take a player in the
You
first
can't.
round?
But they're trying to right now.
Just for the sake of your fan base, you can't trade down. Could Golden be that receiver who helps Jordan Love get over the hump?
I think with Golden, the thing you're asking, everyone knows he can play slot, but the Packers don't need a slot receiver. The question is whether you can project him playing well on the outside. He thinks he can. We talked to him about it yesterday, and I can see it, but I am much more confident in Matt LaFleur's ability to assess
Oh
that
man,
than I am.
I do not want these bastards to take my guy.
Oh, we'll know in very shortly here. They're letting this clock run down.
I guarantee they're trying to trade back, but given that no one else has succeeded, I'm not sure they will either.
If Golden is the pick, Ziggy, how would you rate that for Green Bay? But let's just do this. Between Green, Golden, and Will Johnson, you're going Green?
So here's the thing.
I go Will Johnson.
I think that if Golden can play outside, he's the pick.
Yep.
I trust the Packers in their ability to assess it. So if they pick him, I rate it very highly. If they don't, I don't fault them. I think that Mike Green is the third pick here. I would not take Mike Green, but I can understand why they would.
Man, how great would this be?
Any of those picks make sense.
How great would this be if the clock ran out and the Vikings got to swoop in?
I mean,
that only
we know that happened to the Vikings long ago. We don't want to hear it.
Because
we understand.
We've had this debate. We've talked about this moment.
Oh, the Packers have made their pick. They're doing the ceremonial fist bumping, handshaking, pretending they loved it.
We've talked about this with Green Bay with a good receiver on the board. Are they set with their receivers or not yet?
All right, I'm gonna cry for the stress.
Ryan, Ziggy, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I want to see it when Goodell says it.
He doesn't know.
I would think with either Golden.
I'm so pissed off if they take Golden. Or
Johnson, the crowd's going nuts out there, right?
Any of them. I think they'd be happy. I think they'd be happy with Green too.
Anything that's not a trade down.
Ziggy,
Shamar Stewart there would have been an earthquake.
Ziggy, who do we? What about? Oh, wait a second. We've forgotten the name.
Jalen Milroe.
What about Donovan Ezeraku? Boston
College.
Jeff Hadley's guy, long, 6'4".
I think Mike Green is a better pick.
Maybe Mike Green's a better pick, but he doesn't quite measure up the way the Packers like to have these guys.
Their internal metric.
Here we go.
That's literally just RAS. The pick is in, folks. This is a huge night. We've all been waiting for this. The Green Bay Minnesota turn. We're in the river now. The draft's almost over. There's fewer than 10 picks left. Packer Nation
We've talked about this. Do they have enough receivers? Do they want some more?
I'm ready. I'm ready to be pissed off. Yeah, don't do it. It would be Will Johnson, the guy that I want.
Michigan. I think go corner.
They got rid of 2 corners. I mean, Jair's not.
I know they have.
Jair's coming back.
If it's Will Johnson, does that mean Jair's gone?
No.
I think the pick is clearly Johnson.
If it's Will Johnson, Minnesota trades back.
If it's Will Johnson, I'm going to be so freaking mad.
Who is it going to be? The pick is in. The clock is counting.
The fans are ready.
We will hear the cheers from over here.
Yep.
I'm keeping an eye on Boz.
Do not take
the pick has been in for like 3 minutes
in this room. You are going to hear how people feel about this pick as it comes in.
This is the most nervous I've been all night. I can't believe it fell this far.
I'm terrified.
We were talking to Klatt yesterday.
Taken, I will start crying.
We were talking to Klatt yesterday, and I said to him, remember, I said I would love for the Packers and Vikings, 2 teams that need corners. If Will Johnson's there, I don't expect him to. He's like, no, he won't.
He's here.
Oh, I'm gonna be.
Oh man.
I am forgetting we're on air right now. I'm just so dialed in here to the draft.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean, this is unbelievable.
Come on, botch it, please.
You can hear the cheers from in this room.
Can you?
Yeah, you can.
I don't know.
I'm trying to build an atmosphere. All right. You got to let me lie a little bit to our audience.
I hear it.
Well, not right now. Okay, so Mark Murphy is coming in. The Green Bay Packers
Come on,
starting.
don't take.
Oh, that was the pick.
He's the CEO of
Mark
Titletown.
Murphy, you line him up on the edge.
Okay, Mark.
He's soaking it in, man. It's his moment.
This. Keep it quick and move on. We got to know who the pick is. The Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
He looks like
look at that crowd.
No, I don't want to hear it.
I mean, that's a great scene.
He looks like a younger. Who's that Raiders owner? Al Davis. He looks like a younger Al Davis.
I don't know. Oh, come on.
What?
Hold on. Here we go.
Oh, I'm so nervous. You guys have no idea.
A lot of Packers media in this.
I wonder if Will Johnson's slipping
right
because
now.
of that knee injury, though. That's the thing. If he keeps slipping.
And with the 23rd pick. Oh
man.
I'm going to record it first, but it might take.
Right,
Mark's going on a rant here.
Yeah, look, I get it. He's got to hype up the Packers.
I mean, he sounds like you walking around Lambeau Field.
I do the same thing.
I mean,
that's pretty cool.
Look,
there's
a lot of respect
owners?
about the Packers.
Right
now, I'm just not interested. There's one thing I'm interested in, and that's who the Minnesota Vikings are going to select.
I'm going to be really pissed off if someone blows this pick.
I'm not saying anything, Paul.
No,
I'm
I'm looking at
anything.
people around.
He is somewhat. Here we go.
Here we go. Come on.
Here we
Do
go.
not take my guy.
All right, who's it going to
13th
be?
time. We get it. We get it.
Here we
You win
go.
Nervous.
Here it
Yes.
is.
All right, they
Oh,
took
they're
Golden.
taking Golden.
Whoa. Oh, it got to be Golden, right?
Yeah.
I love the tease here.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people are going to be excited about that. We said,
Wow.
I've been saying for weeks that you shouldn't
Hey.
take the fact that Packers
Hey.
haven't taken one before
How
to
about,
mean
how, about,
anything.
how about we go get a guy now to lock him up?
I just.
Oh, man. I love that pick for them.
I
The
just-
Golden
That's
pick
that's
makes
good
a
pick.
world
Good
of
pick,
sense,
Packers.
and Packers Nation is going to be thrilled over that.
I had a good, fun convo with Matthew Golden yesterday. Got the chance to interview him. Good buddy with Tank
Wow,
Dell.
there you go, Packer. Let us know what
and
you
the
think.
thing
They're
Tank
all,
Dell
everyone's
told him,
happy.
the piece of advice was be yourself.
Be yourself.
Be the
Be
kind
you.
of player you are.
What'd they say?
2002 was the last time he took a skill
Wow.
position player.
You know, I have to say that was a great read from at the end by Murphy. I loved him saying they took a receiver and didn't say the name. Just let him
Go,
cheer for a
Pack,
second.
go.
No, I mean, Packers fans are very happy, but yeah, it was Javon
this-
Walker was the last skill position player taken by the Packers in the first round. He was taken 20 in 2002. Certainly not a bad player, but Matthew Golden is a guy they're hoping will elevate Jordan Love.
We were seeing some comments. We put out a clip about our first day here in Green Bay, and I was interviewing Matthew Golden, and a lot of comments came in saying, "Oh, good job with the future Packer." So I think a lot of Packer fans are happy here.
Hey, how about this, guys? We got to talk. So we got to talk to 4 guys yesterday, and we talked to the future Packer and the future Viking. Amazing,
Paul,
right?
You've forgotten about Nightmare Scenario 2.
No. This Kwesi's not. Don't do it to me again.
I will
Kwesi.
say that pop was the loudest pop I heard since Stone Cold came out to take down The Rock. It had,
We had
was
to
it
put-
1998, 1999?
We have to post that Golden. That
Mankind.
Golden clip can get heat now.
Yeah,
World
look.
champion.
Oh yeah, we talked
That was
about
a great
Golden.
year.
We have to.
Too
But
bad we
that's
asked
the
about Tank
loudest
Dell.
pop
We
we've
should have
heard
asked him about
since
Green Bay.
I know.
All right, Packers fans, everyone seems very happy here.
Yeah, our fans are thrilled. We don't blame you. You've always wanted.
January 4th, 1990.
There are
Okay, it's
fireworks
99.
in Green Bay.
So
here.
99
I don't know about
is the last
98 or
time.
99.
There you
Green
go,
Bay
Packer
took a
Nation.
receiver.
Wow. Wow.
I mean,
Okay.
you're taking this pick because you want to elevate Jordan Love and the things around him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're saying we didn't go for the free agents. We know. We didn't go for the big expensive guys.
Yep.
But we are looking for a guy who's going to be able, especially with Christian Watson missing most of the year. He can play inside. He can play outside. There's all sorts of stuff he can do. He's a great route runner. You need him to improve as a blocker. You need the attitude to improve a little bit. But I think being in Green Bay is going to give this guy all the tools to succeed.
This is what we've talked about for a while now. Do they have their receivers with Wicks and Watson and Dobbs? Is that good enough? And obviously Green Bay thought they needed somebody else for Jordan Love, and here
I
we go.
will say,
Pumped
though,
up.
compared to the other top receivers in the 2025 draft class, Matthew Golden had by far the most drops. He really struggled with drops in his college career. At Houston, he dropped nearly 10%. It
Well,
was
he-
about 6 or 7% at Texas. No one else was anywhere near that.
Then he belongs in Green Bay then.
Great line.
They can't catch
Great
the ball.
line.
He belongs
no,
here.
No, but you know what though? Again, the speed was 4.29. Ziggy, you said many
just- he
times he
doesn't
doesn't
have
play
that
at that
in game.
speed. But
But he's
think
still
about
very good.
think about Texas when they needed that play against Arizona State. Who'd they go to? Matthew Golden. When they needed big moments, they went to Matthew Golden over Isaiah Bond, who, yes, Ziggy is alerted, had the
No,
problems.
but that has nothing to do with on the field play.
But on the field play, Isaiah Bond was a beast. And you remember they went to him in the semifinal game against Washington. They went to Isaiah Bond. Matthew Golden transferred in, and he became that guy. He took over that receiver room as the trusted guy for Quinn Ewers. I think that he is a great pick.
this-
I mean, for someone who fell this far down the board, we thought he could have gone at 12. You happy? You have to be, right?
Matthew Golden, ladies and gentlemen.
Congratulations.
First receiver in the first round.
Congratulations.
I talked to him on Wednesday and asked him that. How would it feel being the first receiver since 2002, drafted by the Green Bay Packers in the first round? And he said he would
I
love
was
it.
watching you
There
when
you
they
go.
got
He would
selected.
love it.
That's awesome.
There you go.
Wait a minute. How about Will Johnson to lock him up, maybe?
Oh, maybe.
Maybe?
Maybe.
No, that's a great
We'll
pick.
see.
Good
We'll
job.
See what the Vikings do.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's our good buddy,
Good buddy
Packer
pass.
guy.
All right, so Matthew Golden.
And this is a pick, unlike Tampa Bay going to Buka, this is a pick Green Bay wants Matthew Golden to step in and be their number 1 receiver.
Or
They
at
hope.
least
They hope. Well, Jane Reed, I think. Well, no, you're right. They want him to be
He
the one.
wants him as their number 1 receiver.
They want him to
Or
be
they
the
want
one.
him as their number 1 receiver. Now Golden, Reed, Wicks.
Let's see
All right,
here.
Jordan Love.
David Barsamian. We are BC. Good night, Jack. Ezraku is the best value in the draft. Hey,
What did the Vikings go with Ezraku?
All right, we didn't trade back. Look, if you want to add Ezraku to Jonathan
this is a
Bernard,
slam dunk.
Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner. I mean, this is it. This is easy, right?
With the 24th pick, the Minnesota Vikings select Malachi Stark, safety, Georgia.
Yeah. This has to be Johnson.
I mean, we will see. But if you're a Packers fan, I think every Packers fan was expecting huge disappointment tonight. There's no doubt about it.
What, every Packers fan?
No, Packers fans were expecting huge disappointment. We talked to them outside, like, oh, I want Golden, but we're never going to get him. We're not going to take offense. You are not leaving tonight
That was fast.
disappointed.
That was
here
fast
we
from
go.
Minnesota. That's a good sign for you there.
It's got to be Will Johnson.
Yeah.
Please. It's so easy.
They're all booing him out there.
It's so easy. No.
Your reaction to
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God.
Skull. Minnesota Vikings doing what they do. Skull.
I mean, I'm happy for Donovan. I'm very happy for. I'm sure he's a good player.
Congratulations, Donovan Jackson. At least you
Bro.
won tonight.
Why do you think
Bro.
Henderson was so good? Donovan was paving the way for him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, we need.
Donovan was paving the way
It's
for him.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
We need a corner.
Well,
still. It's
listen,
not
listen,
we don't need
listen,
corners.
listen. Will hasn't been drafted yet.
Oh,
There's still round 2.
God.
Oh, cool. So I'll say this.
Oh,
I will
trade.
say this.
Trade.
Giants are getting a QB. I will say
Shedeur.
this, Paul. I think that Will Johnson wasn't selected because the knee injury is worse than we thought, and that's why every team's passing on him.
Who's calling me? People shitting on me.
So, okay, look, I gotta look. It's got to be the knee injury. I know this is cope. I know this is egregious cope. It was the knee injury. That's why we didn't take him. I trust our medical team. Way to go, Minnesota medical team, getting us Donovan Jackson. Maybe he can play tackle. Maybe he can play guard.
Oh my God.
The problem, he's not even good in the run game, though. He's not even good in the run game.
I can't like get
What are
mad in
his
here. This is a
strengths? They're trying to
professional
his
environment.
GPA.
This is the.
So
Look.
take your time. Me and I can carry on the show a little bit.
I understand why we took Donovan Jackson. I have to assume the knee injury is a problem.
It's where is he on this board?
I'm trying my
Hold on. Where
best.
is he
I've
on
got to
this board?
try and tie myself in.
Where
with
is he
this.
on
I'm
this
not
board?
trying to.
I'm
Look,
scrolling.
Paul,
I really hope.
we can't be a negative show. That's not who we
Guys,
are.
we'll be drinking tonight. You'll get over it. We'll have a good time. It's all right. There's worse things in the world. You took a great offensive lineman. Help pave the way
we
for.
can't be a negative show.
It's so easy.
But of course,
you could just. It was right there.
Hey,
You still
Jack,
got him in round 2.
Can I put on that Steelers jersey?
This feels
I'm looking for a
like
new
when I was
team.
sitting there in the draft and I said,
No.
and I.
Not after you crap on Pittsburgh like the way
This
you do.
feels like
If
when
there's a
in
Packers
2022,
jersey right
Ziggy.
now, I'll put it
Ziggy,
on.
I'm sitting there. You shut your mouth, Ziggy. Are you kidding me?
I will
you
put on a
watch it.
Packers
Do not-
jersey right now.
I thought he was handing you a jersey. 2022, I'm sitting in a hotel in my house in South Bend, Indiana, and Kyle Hamilton's sitting there on the board, and I'm going.
Your best
"Done
friend, Kyle
by
Hamilton. You produced his podcast.
Legitimately,
Kyle
someone
Hamilton.
I know. A friend might be a stretch, but someone I know is saying.
You
is
send
saying,
each other birthday texts. You're
yes.
friends.
So- and
Here we go.
it's
Giants.
easy. You say like a Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, and you say just take the guy, take the stud, take the All-American who's just unbelievable.
Oh.
Number 2 pick in the draft he should have been, and he fell because he ran a bad 40. You watch him play, he's amazing. Same thing with Will Johnson here. When they traded back to Detroit,
It has to be the knee injury.
and then they took.
No, you have to try. He's falling fast. When that happens, it's usually because teams know something we don't about the medicals.
Why is it always just so bad? Why is it always so sad?
It's okay. It's Paul. It's okay. We're gonna pick a corner in the second round
Yeah.
or the
might
third round.
Yeah.
You might get him in the second round. He
Booth-
hasn't been
Booth
taken
We
yet.
don't
worked
have
out
a guy.
great.
We don't have a second or third round pick.
Maybe
That
the
was
fo-
it. That was our
maybe-
big splash pick of the whole draft.
Maybe the
and we took a
fourth.
guard.
Maybe the 4th round. I'll fall.
Okay. Give me another 30 seconds, and then I'm gonna spin it back. Because what can I do better than anyone in the world?
Base history of the Minnesota Vikings series.
No, I didn't.
Secret
I
base
can't. I
history of Minnesota
refuse to
Vikings.
watch that.
He said John Boy said a
John
thing
Boy.
where the Vikings have
Oh, they-
always throughout their history been paddling into the wind.
Yes, paddling into the
Paddling into the
wind. The
wind,
history of the
that's
Minnesota Vikings. Listen. Fuck. What? Sorry.
No foul mouth.
Thomas
No,
Day.
it's great.
Why
It's
is your
great.
pain so
It's too
entertaining?
painful.
Reminds me of the playoffs. For somehow this show, it's sick. It's sick that this
Look,
show is just a bunch of people who enjoy watching me
Interviews are
sad.
like doubled now.
Hey,
It's unbelievable.
How many
People just
how
like
many viewers
watching
we got
the
in
game.
there?
But I will say this. Donovan Jackson, he's an excellent guard. He has a potential to play at tackle. But the Giants are moving up. This is a big splash of the draft.
Stop it. We're not
They
talking about the
trade
Giants yet.
34.99
Hold on. I want to
and
go
their
back. I want to go.
2026
I want to go
third.
back to what we just
No,
did.
you're
to
done.
get
You got a
up to
lineman.
25.
I can't believe what we
You know
just
what?
did.
You know what? Donovan Jackson had a
They give you so much
3.8
hope all the
GPA.
time, and then you.
He had a better GPA than me, and I'm about to get a PhD.
Jackson's
I
probably
don't
a smart
give
guy.
a crap about his
So,
GPA.
I want a
want someone who
smart
can go
guy on
out there
my
and
team who'll
dominate.
be able to
we
help
have,
out our
we have no cornerback. We have one cornerback.
Do you want to be the New York Jets?
No,
We are
I
trying
wanna
to
have a
avoid being the
defense.
New York Jets.
I want to have a defense.
The
Jackson's
Jets
good.
have the
He's-
defense and no offensive line. We have an offensive line and a
Okay.
defense.
Jackson paved the way for Henderson and Judkins. So the Giants just got Jaxson Dart.
Okay. Real quick before we get to this, I'm gonna try and be positive for a second.
The Giants just
Donovan
to be
Jackson, what I do like, during the stretch run for Ohio State there,
We're done with Minnesota.
he had no. We're staying.
I mean, no,
on this.
Donovan
We're staying on
Jackson
this.
is
We're
great.
staying
in
He's
on
good.
this.
He's a
zone
great
run
lineman.
schemes. He's going to be a beast in duo.
Donovan Jackson.
You're
listen,
a beast in duo.
The one missing piece on
Jack,
this
you know what
offensive
duo
line.
is?
The
Hell
one
yeah.
missing piece on this offensive
Squad
line was the
Fortnite
final
duos,
guard
baby.
position. The final guard position was the missing piece. He played guard at Ohio State, transitioned to tackle for the stretch run with all the injuries that he had, and dominated the entire playoff.
He's a team player.
Well, that's not what I'm going for, but I'm saying he's just very good at football, and he was able to adapt, and he played a pivotal role for that Ohio State team. Now, you can also argue that Ohio State team was loaded from top to bottom, and Donovan Jackson being there, yes, important to step in at tackle, but, you know, that
I'd
team was
rather take
unstoppable
that
at the
guard
end.
out of Oregon.
Will Johnson had a pick in the national championship game.
I just don't understand when you're a team that the one hole on the whole roster to me is cornerback. That's the one thing. And in the NFC, the Eagles have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. The Lions have Jamison Williams and Amon-Ra. The Packers, we'll see if one of their receivers steps up.
No, Paul.
Like,
All that
maybe they
matters is
didn't
J.J.
think-
McCarthy.
maybe
that's
they
all
didn't,
that matters,
maybe they
but
didn't
I'm
think
tired of watching a secondary get lit up.
maybe they didn't think Johnson was that good.
I truly believe Will Johnson isn't going because of the knee injury.
How many times have you seen
That's
Will
how
Johnson?
great players
I
fall.
talked to Will Johnson yesterday.
Have you watched him play college football?
He's got it.
You've watched him what?
He's got
one
I,
time.
I looked that man in the eyes yesterday.
You've watched him play one
And I
time.
asked him if he wanted to be. All right, hold on. There's a big pick.
He wanted to be Viking more than anything else in the world.
There's a big pick.
All right, who are the Giants?
This is Jaxson
Which
Dart.
quarterback?
This is Jaxson Dart.
Oh, Jack has been calling it for years. How long has he been saying that Jaxson Dart is QB2?
Big
Yeah.
in the room right here.
How long has he been saying
Where's your
that
boy?
Jackson Dart is
Where-
QB2?
where's your boy,
Jack,
Rich
you got to
Mitchell?
celebrate.
Jaxson Dart. I mean, I watch more college football than most, as I've said before. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that he's a better quarterback than Shedeur. He's the second best quarterback in this draft. And you watch him in that Ole Miss offense. I mean, one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. Better numbers than Eli Manning there. I wanted him in Pittsburgh. A Jaxson Dart-led offense is, seriously, guys, a Jaxson Dart-led offense is you don't punt, it's no huddle, you go up the field and score in 4 plays. Jaxson Dart to Malik Neighbors, oh my gosh, wait, Dart, Malik Neighbors, and Abdul Carter, the Giants are a playoff team. The Giants are going to the playoffs. I'll be the first to say right here, Giants to the playoffs.
And the thing about Jaxson Dart, the thing I like here, is he's a guy who needs to learn how to play quarterback at an NFL level. He's a great player. He's a great thrower.
He's the best
He just
ever.
needs to get better at executing more complicated reads on offense, being able to let Russell Wilson teach him how and to sit back. Admittedly, it is one read Russ, but
No.
I think Jaxson
telling
Dart
you.
will be able to fit in well into what the Giants are doing, and now maybe some people have saved their
Dart
jobs.
Dart to Neighbors.
Sanders probably ain't going in the first round, is he? At earliest, I can see him going as Cleveland at the round 2 turn. And as we all know, pick 33 is better than 32, so it makes a world of sense to sit.
Well, let's
Paul's
see
just
who's
disengaged. He's just done.
Sorry. Sorry.
Can you say anything about Jaxson Dart, Paul?
That's a good pick.
Here's what I'm going to say about Jaxson Dart. The Giants needed a quarterback. There were rumors of them taking Jaxson Dart at 3 that we were talking about to double up and land Abdul Carter and potentially the guy that they were eyeing much earlier than
Atlanta traded up?
Oh, maybe they're going for another quarterback.
What are the Falcons doing?
The Giants right now have had the best draft. Abdul Carter and Jaxson Dart.
Well, it depends what you think of Dart. But we talked about this with the Giants a lot this offseason. It could not be Russell Wilson, Jameis Winston. It just couldn't. Now, what I think worked out well for them is I was talking about them potentially taking a quarterback in the top 10, right? I was saying
they trusted that their guy would be available later.
They were trusting the actual news rather than the media. But for the Giants, it was if you go into the season with Russ and Jameis, you can't. A lot of Giants fans, a lot of people were saying, well, they'll be really bad. They'll be able to get a quarterback next year. That's just not the way it works.
Is in already.
Right? No, we'll get there in a second. But that's just not the way it works in football. You can't say, yeah, we're going to suck this year. Let's go ahead and hope for a quarterback next year. Maybe we get the first pick and can get Arch Manning. You need to take the guys that you believe in when you have the opportunity. They clearly like Jaxson Dart if they were mulling over top 10, which I do believe they were. It's just really well executed board for the Giants who liked Jaxson Dart. Now, if you don't like Jaxson Dart,
Atlanta with the trade too.
A miss, but
didn't the Falcons just make a trade for this pick?
I cannot believe
we
didn't take Will Johnson.
Yeah.
And now they're trading it back.
Yeah, they're gonna take Will Johnson. They're gonna do the obvious thing.
No, I pick it. Oh, never mind.
No, they moved up. I'm trying to get the details.
What if they went Mike Green?
Okay, here we go. Falcons received 26 overall pick and a 3rd round pick.
So functionally, they traded 46, 242, and a first next year.
Josh Hill, thanks for the show. Have a great weekend. Thanks a lot, Josh. Appreciate you.
Oh, they're gonna go Johnson here.
Very nice of you, Josh.
They got their guy up front. Now they're gonna go in the secondary.
Josh, I appreciate it. I'm not gonna have a great weekend.
Good night, Leslie.
Want you to know
have a good night.
But that made it a little bit better. That's going straight to the Spotted Cow Fund, by the way.
Oh, John Stockton. I hate the Matthew Golden pick.
John Stockton's a weirdo.
Man.
John Stockton? I think he's the best point guard of all time.
I mean, I agree, but...
Do you agree? I legitimately think that.
He's the best point guard of being a point guard. Okay.
Not cool, man.
Here we go.
I am... If this is Will Johnson, I might walk off. Because I thought it was the medicals. This is the only way that I can sort of cope is by saying, oh, it's your boy, Jack. He just gave a big uh-oh.
Oh, if the Lions get Johnson.
Here we go.
Interesting. So the Falcons are trying to solidify the edge rushers. They take James Pierce Jr. I guess, so here's one takeaway from this. The NFL was not as impressed by Mike Green's production as the rest of us were, or else the character concerns were real. But James Pierce, he's a guy who is an athlete. He's got a lot of speed. He needs to improve at how he wins. He's got a lot of tools, but he doesn't use them consistently. All of them need to develop a little bit, but he's got all the pieces you want to see from an edge rusher.
Second in the SEC in QB pressures last year.
And if you're the Falcons now, you've just transformed. You've added 2 exciting young talents to your edge rush room. Grady who?
I mean, look, this is a team who years and years and years have gone by and they can't get to the quarterback. And now you get two quality caliber players, the biggest position you need. That's a good pick here at 26.
Max Neumeyer came in. Paul, buy yourself a beer. Sorry about this.
Brother,
we'll have some beers later.
A lot of beers here.
We'll
so James Pierce, the one thing about him is...
Max.
Wait, is beers plural beers or beer?
A beer. And a lot of people...
Multiple beers?
No, beers.
No, beers.
Yeah, beers, yeah.
Right, beers.
A lot... Beers, yeah. So,
okay. I was thinking like moose or geese.
Those were end in...
So I'm going to say I'm having 3...
Whatever. I'm too...
3 beers. 3 beers. Is that 3 beer?
James Pierce, though, a lot of people talk about him not seeking contact, and a lot of people who talked about him possibly going to Detroit later in the draft said not really a Lion characteristic, right? To run in the hole and not be looking to light someone up. That Lions team, gritty. James Pierce, there's been concerns about that with him. I don't know. Like truthfully, I don't know him, so I'm not going to come out and say that.
The Falcons interviewed him. They looked into him carefully, and they liked what they saw.
I'm big on on SEC players
Who are highly productive.
sticking in SEC territory. So I do like this play here for Atlanta. SEC players sticking in SEC land.
Why am I blanking? Who did the Falcons take before? James Pierce and who's
The other
pick?
edge.
Out of Georgia.
Walker.
Walker. Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
they've
my gosh,
done a good job
They're keeping SEC guys right in the area.
in SEC territory. That's A+ for the Falcons. And as the Ravens make the pick, guys, I'm going to peace. I'll be right back.
Jeff Aiken coming in. I appreciate your channel, Class Acts. Look,
Thank
we
you, Jeff.
appreciate
Appreciate
this,
that.
guys. We know you're trying to make us feel better, and we appreciate you.
No, I turned around. I'm all
Donovan.
in. I'm all in. We needed a guard. We needed a guard badly. And I want to protect.
Paul.
I want to get big in the trenches. Listen,
Are
Ziggy,
you okay?
Ziggy, the NFC.
Oh, it's not how you can't keep this kind of delusion forever. I'm worried. I'm
Ziggy.
sleeping with you tonight.
Ziggy,
I don't
who's-
want you to have a psychotic break.
Who's the top dog in the NFC?
Paul, you're going to have a psychotic break.
Just answer me. Who's the top dog in the NFC?
Either the Lions or the Eagles.
Super Bowl champion Eagles, right? That defensive line, what they do to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, lit them up. Our interior has been a problem for a really long time. It has been a really big issue. Now with Donovan Jackson, across the board, the Vikings have secured that line for J.J. McCarthy. And the whole hope, as you said before, if J.J. McCarthy doesn't pan out, all of this is for naught. But if they believe in J.J., they've now given him everything he needs. Maybe they can find a way to get a receiver late. Obviously, it has to be late at this point. But if they can get maybe a third receiver, other than that, it's all there. I mean, this is the best offense in football outside of the court. If you remove quarterback, for any QB to enter into, this is the place to be. All-pro left tackle, all-pro caliber right tackle, solid interior, best receiver in the world.
Good number 2 receiver.
Great number 2 receiver. Jones and Mason, very strong running back duo. It's all there. So I'm all in.
But you want a brandy old-fashioned sweet.
I want a brandy old-fashioned sweet.
I understand you, Paul. I see what's going on here. I see it in your eyes. Just look at the camera. Look at the camera. Let them see your eyes, and they can decide what's going on here.
Yeah.
Tell them you like the pick, Paul. Tell them you like the pick.
I love the Donovan Jackson pick. That's who I wanted. I wanted Donovan
Folks,
Jackson.
if I show up dead in
wanted him.
Wisconsin tomorrow, know it was Paul
Well,
having a psychotic break.
I wanted Donovan Jackson bad. I wanted that interior offensive line.
Oh, you're trying, Paul. You're trying so hard.
Brother.
So hard.
I thought corner was the only thing we needed. Is there another Viking fan in here? Can someone? Where's the guy we talked to before the draft? There's someone. How is no one saying anything? Everyone's just looking at their computer right now. How is no one speaking
Because
up?
they're in shock, just
No,
like
they're
you.
not. No, it's like status quo. Listen. I don't hate. I really don't hate the Donovan Jackson pick. I think Donovan
I think
Jackson.
he's like the 5th or 6th best guard in the draft. Bill Lamoureux, Packers fan, coming in peace. Love your show, friends. Keep up the great work.
Shut up, Matt. Actually, no, I'm sorry, Matt Easley, you're right. I thought you were making a Lewis scene joke. We actually do need a safety. Oh, hold on, let me look around here. Let me see if anyone.
We appreciate you, Bill. You know, it's better than taking Malachi Starks.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I want to find someone. I got to talk to someone.
I'm not good enough?
You're just telling me I'm crazy here. I need someone to.
No,
There's
I'm
gotta
not
be
telling you.
someone.
You're
Everyone's
you're
working
crazy
here.
for talking yourself into it.
I can wave someone down. Is that inappropriate radio, Ro?
I mean, why don't you just go talk to Donovan Jackson right now? He's doing an interview over there.
Is
you
he
can
here?
You can go wave him down.
Is he here?
He's got to go through there eventually.
He's not at the draft, is he?
Oh, yeah, I guess he's not, is he?
Hold on. Is there another Viking fan? Ugh.
Folks,
Whatever.
you are seeing in real time. You don't get to see this very often. Paul's spiraling. This is what would have been this, but worse in the Kyle Hamilton trade. There.
Oh, dude, the Hamilton trade down, I was so mad. And you know what? I was also right. You know what my dad said after the Christian Ponder pick? I was so upset. He went, and I was a little kid at this point in time, so I was very, very upset. My dad gets up and he goes, "You've ruined the draft. I'm going to bed." But I think my reaction was justified.
I mean, could this night have gone any better for the Packers? The Bears take a tight end.
It's a nightmare.
The Packers
Vikings
get their
have created
guy.
an impenetrable offensive line, Ziggy.
Guys,
It's a nightmare for the Packers.
I sat back down and
Do you know
was
what's-
looking for my headphones. I'm like, where did I put them? But I forgot.
You know
I
what
don't
the
have
Packers?
them today.
The Packers have no rush. Who's coming after him?
Do the
I mean,
Ravens?
this is just the worst version of the Jordan Morgan pick.
Will Johnson.
So he's gonna be
I
an
wanted
all-pro.
Xavier Watts here, but I get Malachi Starks. Have fun with Lewis Sean, suckers.
Yeah, you tell him, Ziggy. Ravens
Look,
stink.
I'm sorry I'm lashing out. The Ravens have done nothing to us, but well, they've done things to you.
Ravens aren't good.
But like, I'm just lashing out because this pick is.
So
We
he'll,
should have gone over onto Boz's channel when that pick came in.
so he'll just get burned
Just
by.
laugh at us.
He probably.
No. Again, I want to pull back. I want to pull back for a second. The Donovan Jackson pick is not a laughable
We're off
pick for the
Minnesota.
Vikings.
Nothing.
It's not a
just the
laughable
way
pick for
it
Minnesota.
happened just
It's the way it happened.
Honestly,
yes.
if I wouldn't take Will Johnson off the board,
I would have said, all right, guys, like we need a guard.
It's just the way it happened. Was so
But having the guy that I've been tweeting about and talking about all weekend
On the board. Yeah.
on the board, just staring at us in the green room. He's sitting there by himself.
I'm so ready to watch Malachi
we had a
get.
chance. Think of how hard he would have played for us if we were the team that believed in him.
What the hell are you talking about, Ziggy?
What do you mean?
I don't want to. Don't put that in my mind.
We would have been the team that like.
All right, I gotta get over. I'm
Malachi is gonna get
Hold
trucked
on,
by
hold on. It's not too
by
late to
DK
trade
next
up
year.
and get him. It must be the need, right? It must be the need.
I like that fit.
Okay, so I know it was the knee. It is what it is. All
Now
right.
Malachi Starks, guys. How old? Probably 23 years old. He played his college football at Georgia and Athens. Grew up, played his high school football.
He's Lewis Sean.
18 miles from Athens. He's been home his whole life. Now up to Baltimore here. It's an adjustment for sure.
What do you think he won't be able to make it in Baltimore?
No, I'm just saying somebody who's been at
It is
home their whole
I am
interesting.
a
life.
little surprised to see Malachi Starks go before Emin Wari. I know he was the guy that a lot of media types are really excited about. I'm interested to think about why the Ravens did that. But I think the thing about Starks is if you he's set up to be a free safety, which I think is interesting. I think the Ravens drafting him suggests that they want to move Kyle Hamilton back to that versatile defensive weapon role where he was before.
Who do you think puts him on his butt more next year in the open field, Pickens or Metcalf?
Shut up.
Probably
Jack.
Metcalf, right?
Jack,
Who would
I
you
can't
say?
do this tonight.
Metcalf?
Isn't disappointment a
equal.
familiar
You say
friend for
equal?
Vikings fans?
I can't do this, Jack.
Do what, Robert Ziegler?
If
Talk
Will-
about who Malachi is getting bent over by next year?
What the hell? I zoned out for a second. I don't know what happened.
Jack's saying crazy
I asked you
stuff.
like 3 times a question. You just stared into your mic.
Sorry, I'm in another world right now. I've had a
You don't
weird
understand
day.
how depressed Paul is, Jack. You got to give him some credit here.
I'm
It's not his fault.
I'm a Pirates fan. I get it.
So the Lions are on the board next. We got to rally here and get through this draft.
I'm okay.
Because
I'm
the
okay.
Detroit Lions are coming in here, and there's a lot the Lions could be going for. Jahad Campbell, I think, is a really interesting player they could go for if they're willing to put up with the injury.
I
Mike
believe
Green feels
tonight.
like a player they could slot in. Like, there's a lot of choices for the Lions here. What do you? If you're the Detroit Lions, you see the players who are left on the board. Paul, what are you thinking?
If I'm the Detroit Lions,
Yeah, because they're picking next.
if I'm Detroit, I'm looking at Ezeraku and Green for sure at defensive end. I think that they need another guy there next to Aiden Hutchinson. Terry and Arnold and Rakestraw with DJ Reed now. I think that Tedero McMillan's coming in.
Oh, really?
Oh, so I guess a guy's gonna start coming in here. Interesting.
Well, that's neat.
As far as no, for Detroit, I think I probably go defense here. Now, the other question in Detroit
Tat.
is, could you look at a receiver, right?
Luther Burden,
I
maybe?
think Luther Burden could be a name that pops up there. Higgins is there. The Lions could use another guy. I like Jamison Williams. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown is one of the best in the league. But you get a third guy, maybe even a guy who could come in and take over that number 2 role for JMO. I wouldn't mind that if I were a Detroit fan, but I think they need to build up on that defense. Will Johnson's going to be an Eagle or a Lion. I'm going to be furious.
Do you-
That's just how it works out.
Is
Man.
there any consideration to like Tate Ratledge, a guard?
You
Even
guys-
trying to beef up that offensive interior once again?
Detroit likes that.
Or is that something you're targeting
Well,
in
hold
the
on a
second
second.
round?
If the Lions go and take a guard, and we're all throwing a pity party here that the Vikings take a guard.
We're
then,
not.
like,
You are.
well, the Lions have
Oh, no, I turned it
cornerbacks.
around. You were in the bathroom.
The Lions
I
have
completely
cornerbacks.
turned it around.
No, Paul did a Kubrick
Okay,
stare.
okay.
at the camera.
Again, I don't dislike Donovan Jackson. That reaction was not.
Oh, here we
All
are.
right. I want to apologize.
I just like
Why do I
Donovan.
feel like I always am apologizing on this?
You
Donovan
apologize. You
Jackson.
apologize. You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
You like the pick.
No, yeah. I like Donovan Jackson, and I feel bad that I tweet out
Good.
why oh why is woe is me. That's not how I feel. I saw him mock to the Vikings throughout the offseason, I liked the pick. I just didn't expect the guy that I wanted to be there.
It was a bad pick. It's all right. Don't talk yourself. It's okay. It's okay. It happens. It happens. It's all right.
Oh, seeing the Packers podcast over there,
Jeez.
Boz just celebrating. It
Can you
is
read
tough
this?
to see.
What does it say?
I cannot read it, but and you cannot read it either. But just read that.
I can't see it.
You gotta take off your glasses and read that.
We're deleting this.
All right, let me text. Let's see. Let's see my lines from Tom. Who do you want?
So the Lions take Tyleik Williams, defensive tackle out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
Instant reactions.
Great name. Now you got a Tyleik and a Malik in the league.
Yeah. As far as this goes for Detroit, I think I would have preferred to have gone with one of the Drushers or to have gone with Will Johnson, but they need D tackle help. Right now they have DJ Reader, Aleem McNeil, guys who had injuries last season-ending injuries, and we saw what happened along that defensive line once the injuries happened. Every single game except the Viking game, they got torn apart. So you had to beef up there. I don't think it's a bad pick for Detroit. The Rockdown Lions. Let's see.
What are they
They
thinking?
seem fairly neutral over there. Because if I can get a look from Will, see if he's giving a
And
thumbs
they're right
up or
over
not.
here. Try to get their attention.
But let me roll through.
So Tyleik Williams just feels like a Lions pick. He's a beast, and he's really great against the run. The problem is, and the thing you'll have to work on, you need Tyleik Williams pretty soon to develop into a pass rusher. Aiden Hutchinson, he's a great player. He will be even greater if you can get help around him. Now, Tyleik Williams, there's a lot to like about him. He's got a huge frame. He's very good at handling traffic. He's very good at handling double teams. What he needs is a pass rush arsenal. We hear that sometimes with these defensive tackles, and that's what makes the guys who went earlier so valuable. Several of them already have it or are truly freakish athletes. But once he gets going, this is a guy who you can't stop. He's very good at knowing what offenses are doing. He creates more penalties than he commits. And
I'm a huge fan of the pick.
Most impressively, I think, actually, he's one of the only huge guys in the draft that has consistently held a weight. I don't think people realize how hard it is if you're 360 pounds to stay about 360 pounds. That's very, very difficult to do. I like the pick for Detroit. They're just going to have to coach him up in the pass rush in order for him to really be with the guy they want him to be.
I kind of feel like Detroit should have gone offense here.
Really?
I feel like they need a little bit more of juice. Yeah, I mean, you got Amon-Ra, one of the best in the league. Jameer Gibbs was great. He can run, he can catch, probably. He's good. Montgomery, Thunder and Lightning. Their number 2 right now is Jameson Williams, right? Williams and...
Was Jack here when I truly can't remember. Was Jack here? This is almost verbatim what I said.
It is almost verbatim what Paul said.
I cannot remember if he
Jack
was here or
not
not.
here.
I had to have been in the bathroom.
That's really funny.
But
Say what you're going to say.
yeah, their number 2 is it Williams or the old Tim Patrick? It can't hurt when you're competing with teams like Green Bay, who now just got Golden, and Philadelphia, we know how loaded they are. It can't hurt to be able to score. Like, I liked Luther Bird in there, maybe going from a Tiger to a Lion, more so than defense.
Let me look at our boy Daniel Jeremiah.
You like that one? Tiger to a
Where
Lion?
did Tyleik Williams
You're a
come
real
in
Greg
here?
Turkington.
Big cat to big cat.
Hold on,
meow,
I just
meow,
want to see on
meow.
the big board. Where did Tyleik Williams come in? 'Cause
I can say Dane Brugler had him at 41 on the big.
yeah, I'm saying it feels like a little bit of a reach to me.
No,
and
but
I'm
the thing
just,
is, if you're picking a player at 28 and he's 41, that's not really a reach. This is not a draft where you can trade back and you're not going to get him at like 60.
Oh, here's Washington here.
Well, let me.
Washington's pick is in.
Let's,
There's a
let's
lot
see.
of things they
Tyreek
can do
Williams. I'm
here.
still
We'll
not
get to
seeing
that
him.
in
I'm
a
at
moment.
50. Maybe I'm missing something.
Why not
I'm-
just search?
I'm kind of enjoying the scroll. He's 67 for Daniel Jeremiah. I mean,
No, but
I
this
like
isn't
listen,
how the
listen.
Lions work.
I don't know much about Tyreek Williams, and I feel bad that
I know
because I
things
didn't
about
look
Tyreek
up.
Williams. You not listen to the whole spiel I gave about the
No,
kind
I
of
did.
player he
I
is?
did give it. I did listen to that, but I think for Detroit, I would have rather gone edge right there.
Detroit doesn't care.
I would have gone offense.
No, this is the thing about Detroit, and I say this seriously. They do not care what anyone else thinks, and that served them extremely well so far. So why would they change? Why would they start listening to anybody else? Because it's rational?
No.
Because they
And
care
Brad
about the
Brad
evidence?
Holmes has done a phenomenal
Brad
job
Holmes
there.
does what he does, and it works great.
Yeah.
I would have gone
The
Luther
man,
Burden.
Brad Holmes has an alien psychology.
Don't worry,
He's
David.
not a human being.
Don't worry, David. I've only had. This is the first Mountain Dew I've had in a long time. Mitch,
I only drink Mountain Dew when I'm down bad.
Mitch, Paul, go find a lion guy and hug it out. I thought given some of the dudes on the board, I think Jahad Campbell could have been a fun pick for them. I think I like Ezeraku. I just thought there were a handful of guys that would have been a little more exciting for Detroit. Now, exciting, again, we've talked about this before, kind of like picking Donovan Jackson over a flashier player.
Tyreek Williams is, I think, the best run defender in this draft.
Yes, and when you pick guys who aren't necessarily the sexiest pick in the world, but get the job
he
done,
looks pretty sexy. 300 pounds.
that's when things look
360.
better.
360. I like his. I mean, he wins the name
I
game
mean,
too.
Tyreek Williams weighs almost as much as the three of us.
Yeah. So,
he wins the name game also.
but here's the thing: is
Washington looks like they're in.
when you look at the NFC North picks tonight, you had Loveland at 10, you had Golden 23, 24 Jackson, and now right here at 28 Williams. Out of all those teams, you probably say the Packers are the best pick of
Yeah.
right out of them.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers had maybe the best night of any team in this draft.
No, I don't think.
I guess
I'm
say
not
the
going that
Giants.
far.
Well,
Or
the
the
Giants
Falcons.
just gave up a bunch.
Falcons had a great
gave
night,
up
too.
a bunch.
Falcons.
But I like the so the Packers had a very good player fall. I don't think anyone in the North swung and completely missed though.
The Vikings did. This is my girlfriend's team, the Commanders.
There you go. Yeah,
Okay.
this Will Johnson fall is pretty crazy.
It
though.
must be. It's the knee.
It has to be. Yeah.
Did
So, teams.
Did
this
friends
is the
not go to
thing
his
that-
birthday?
When we talk about draft falls,
his
here's the
friends don't
thing:
go.
is the things that make players good are all public. The things that are private are medicals and character stuff. Things we don't find out.
Clearly
about.
not character with.
Yeah,
with-
no, but I'm just saying when a player falls dramatically, unexpectedly, it's usually either one of those two things, or like take a player like Keely Ringo out of Georgia. We're just dead wrong about how good they are. Remember how everyone was saying Keely Ringo's falling rounds?
Yes.
If you look at the evidence, players who are reaches are usually worse than consensus.
Yep.
Players who fall are no better than other players taken around them.
No,
Now, to turn to the Commanders,
Yep.
I do like Josh Connerly as a pick for them. Why? Your future trades on one guy and one guy alone. Jaden Daniels. You have him. What you cannot let happen is what Houston let happen to C.J. Stroud, where the offensive line regressed, got worse, and all the momentum C.J. Stroud built up in that rookie season collapsed. So I think the Connerly pick, whether he plays, he needs a little bit of developing, but he will be a good tackle, I think. That's exactly the kind of player the Washington Commanders should be picking up here.
Yeah, a team who was in the NFC Championship game last year, their number one priority, obviously right now, with number 29 overall, is get somebody who can keep Jaden Daniels upright and healthy.
They've had a busy offseason, adding in Debo, the trade for Laramie Tunsil that I just mentioned. They've added a lot of pieces to that offense. I still think that with Debo and McLaurin, you probably I like Noah Brown as the number 3. Noah Brown is a solid number 3. I was debating whether or not I would want a third receiver there, but I think Ziggy, would you be comfortable with Noah Brown as your third receiver?
As a third receiver, yeah, I think Noah Brown is streaky. As a third receiver, I think the Commanders will want to take another receiver this draft. It is not urgent.
Yes. So I don't mind. I don't mind them at all building up here on that line. Now, they believe they can win, right? And keeping Jaden Daniels up, like you guys said, is going to be a big piece of that. So I like it right there. They needed help It is interesting.
That made total
I just wanna
sense
say
there for
interesting.
them.
But I'm just going through these teams, right, and the needs. The Ravens, edge help. They need safety too. The Lions needed edge help. The Commanders need edge help. The Bills need edge help. They need cornerback too. Will Johnson could be the pick here. But we're seeing all these teams that need edge go with the other need. I'm looking at Sports Illustrated here. What positions? Ravens, edge and safety. They went safety, number 2. Lions, edge and D-tackle. They went D-tackle. Commanders, edge and O-line. They went O-line.
What
so
that
there's
means-
got to be, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
Where's
what that
Jahad
means
Campbell?
is these edges that everyone was hyped up about. We were talking at the beginning of the draft. There's so many edges. They're so great. Teams don't agree. The
And, well,
Falcons were
the two
able to
of
get
them-
one and then trade up and get another.
We're really talking about 2 guys. We're talking about Green and we're talking about Ezraku. Maybe you throw in Jahad Campbell there.
Can you
but
see
he
Campbell
fits
going to
more of the
Buffalo here?
linebacker role as opposed to the edge of those guys.
I think what this
Can't-
fall
Buffalo?
means is teams
No.
don't buy that Campbell's going to be able to make the transition to edge.
Probably not, or it's just the injury. A lot of people, again, we were saying,
But that's not a
19
kind
was
of
the pick.
injury that makes you wonder if the player will ever be healthy again.
yeah, but there were many people who speculated if it wasn't Tampa at 19, just given the way that other teams' needs fit. But yeah, you're right, because that means he wouldn't go to edge. I'm sorry. So this brings us here to Buffalo. The needs are cornerback. If you told a Bills fan that Will Johnson would be here earlier in the night,
The Eagles are taking him at 32.
Then they shouldn't. If you tell me that Bill Johnson's here at 30 or 31, I'm not taking him. But
Well,
also,
you'd be
quick shout out, Bruce
concerned.
Stagfield coming in, great show. Have ESPN on mute.
Do you have any
He says, Cheer
questions?
up, Paul. We got a new guard.
yes, I'm okay. I'm okay.
Do we have
I'm
any
okay.
questions?
I just need to get out.
Any
I'm
questions
sorry.
from anyone or no?
We've got questions.
Throw them out there. We got some downtime here.
Packer fan, Paul, I hate to admit, but there's something entertaining about seeing your pain. However, I honestly wish things would go as you'd like and you didn't have to suffer all the pain. Well, thank you, John. I appreciate that. No, I'm okay. I'm really okay.
So, Jack, this is a question.
I'm seriously
Sanders
okay.
is slipping now. Are you interested in adding Shedeur Sanders later in the second round? This is from Israel Sosa.
If I can get him in the second round, so I've been trying to talk myself into him a little bit, and he has a fantastic arm.
He's so accurate.
Yeah, he has probably the best arm in the draft. He has an absolute cannon. And Pittsburgh has 2 receivers in DK and George Pickens, who I feel like would work very well with Shedeur. Somebody who loves to chuck the ball down the field, and 2 big guys who love to go and get it. So I'm trying to talk myself into him. If he's there in round 2, I wouldn't complain.
Then we've got another big one coming in from Nate Redance. I feel your pain, Paul, when we took Morgan last year, but all the best. I will just say, saying don't worry about it, guys. We took Jordan Morgan last year doesn't make me feel better.
Well, Shedeur's played daddy ball his whole life. I don't like that.
Getting that one from your dad.
So
Shedeur's a good player.
Maybe, Ziggy.
You still have my card?
You know
Okay.
my dad too well, don't you?
Something like that. But yeah, so the Buffalo Bills are on the clock here. Like Paul said, they've got needs at cornerback, they've got need at edge, they've got needs at defensive tackle. Josh Allen, we've seen it. He's a one-man wrecking crew on offense. With Josh Allen, you're just trying to see, can he get? He'll get your offense good. You just need a functional defense around him. So that's what they're here to do. Any position on defense, really, they could justify
yeah,
taking.
their needs: cornerback, edge, D tackle.
You could also even argue receiver.
I can see Jahad Campbell here.
Yeah, no,
Again, if Jahad Campbell's an off-ball linebacker, I'm not sure I buy it.
I mean, I get
Here we go. The Buffalo Bills select
it's like every
Kentucky.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Wow.
So over,
Yeah.
wow, over Will
so
Johnson.
This is just decisive, I think. I no longer feel bad about passing on Will Johnston. This means he wasn't there.
Oh,
but
you
Harrison's
gotta be
going.
kidding me here. The Eagles traded up to 31. You gotta be kidding me.
The Eagles know.
They might go green even.
I'll be interested in seeing what the Eagles do, but assessing this for Buffalo, we won't talk about the character concerns here. What we will say is on the field, Maxwell Hairston, despite missing 5 games of a shoulder injury, was an incredibly productive cornerback at Kentucky. There's a lot of talent here. Now, there's some worries you might have about his ability to transfer to the NFL. In particular, I need to see his press coverage skills improve. I thought in terms of how he fits, he could fit very well in a variety of zone schemes. But I think he could do a pretty good job for Buffalo here. I can see why they're picking him as their cornerback to take.
And he was right on this cusp here, this late, will he be a first rounder, will he not? And ultimately, here he goes.
He's so
extremely fast. Yeah, ran a 4.28 at the combine. I mean, that is blazing. His
And
makeup
when you
speed
get
is
beat as a
top-notch.
cornerback,
I could take him.
it's very hard to catch up to receivers in the NFL. This is a guy who can actually do it.
Dude, if I didn't quit track, I'd be able to take him.
Led the SEC in interceptions 2 years ago. 5 that season. He's got, ball skills and speed. That's not a bad combination to have if you're a cornerback. Again, there are the off-the-field concerns, but it's, to me, very eye-opening, especially seeing, Garrett's point out here. Ziggy's been saying it now. And what's Robbie saying? Adam Schefter says Will Johnson's a knee issue that has concerned some teams and helps explain why he's still not been selected. Should have asked him about his knee yesterday. I should have asked him about.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
You mixed it up.
Clearly, he didn't think the knee
it up a
injury
little
was going
bit.
to cause this, or he wouldn't be here.
It's
Although I wonder if he was here in part to lobby.
This
But that doesn't
feels
matter.
like it could be one of those situations, though, with Johnson, that as he's tumbling down the board here because teams are worried about his knee, people recover from knee injuries now very well. I get that there's concern, but if he's what people think he can be, and watch the tape at Michigan, man,
Hairston's awesome.
So the Eagles are targeting a particular player. Did you see what they did with KC?
What was it?
So they gave up pick 164 in the 5th round to move from 32 to 31.
Okay.
So that means there was probably a bidding war. They were worried about some other team jumping them. There's a particular player they want here.
Unleashed, Jeremy Hansen says they say whatever the knee issue with Will Johnson is cannot be fixed.
I mean, Harrison's great, but I'm surprised to see him go over Will Johnson.
And Nate says, I meant no disrespect.
We were just messing around, Nate.
I don't even know what he's talking. What are we talking about?
Nate was the one who said, I remember all the pain we took Jordan Morgan.
Oh.
No, we were just messing around. No, you're good.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
I said saying we felt your pain when we took Jordan Morgan doesn't make me confident about the outcome of the pick.
Oh, yeah. This is the funny thing, Nate. It's like I very easily can just like move. I had no idea what you were apologizing.
I mean,
you don't have to apologize, right?
This also makes me think Philly's not taking Will Johnson either. The Chiefs wouldn't have taken him at 31.
You're right. So why would you just jump Kansas City?
Like who's
here?
Philly?
No, I'm really excited to see. Could it be Mike Green? Could it be Jahad Campbell? Or is it somebody we don't even know? The Eagles, there's two possibilities here. Either they have a medical staff that disagrees with other teams. Because you have to keep in mind, 2 or 3 doctors can look at different injuries and come away with totally different conclusions.
You're a doctor.
Remember Drew Brees. The Dolphins said this guy will never play football again. The Saints said, let's bring him in. We saw how that went. Similarly, if you remember, it can go either way. Sometimes teams think guys can be productive, and then
you know
they're
who
not.
the Chiefs would have been eyeing? It's Donovan Jackson. After losing Joe Tooney, they would have been looking for some help in the interior.
But
there,
if the Chiefs and the
I'm
Eagles
sure the
were
Chiefs
competing for the same player, they wouldn't let the Eagles jump them. So there's some other team.
There's someone else. So wait, let's think. Let's look at who's coming up. Cleveland, Houston, Tennessee, Cleveland, Vegas, New England. Who are those guys?
The
looking
Philadelphia Eagles select Shedeur Sanders, quarterback.
Well, that would be. Who are those guys at the top looking for still? So Cleveland.
Could the Eagles
Cleveland's
take?
looking for literally everything.
Cleveland went with the line.
Could the Eagles take Burden?
They could be eyeing receiver.
I mean, Smith, Brown, Luther Burden.
But who is? Could Cleveland be looking to jump up? Tennessee and Cleveland. I mean, even Houston too. All of those teams need a receiver.
The Chiefs could have used a receiver too.
But why would Philly? Does Philly really need? Who's their number 3 right now in Philly?
No idea.
Wouldn't be as good as Luther Burden. I don't know.
Oh, could it be John Campbell?
Very possible.
You go and snag the linebacker. That seems like a Philly pick. Yeah,
an Alabama linebacker too. That seems the Eagles. Yeah.
So the Eagles move.
He's not from
up.
Georgia though. Are there any Georgia players around?
He's SEC though. It's close enough.
Yeah, Jahad Campbell here. That seems like an Eagle pick.
Yeah.
And then I'd be very surprised here if.
You're going to learn a lot about what teams are thinking here based on who the Eagles are going for, because it's either one of the injury guys that slipped or a player at a position that's getting pinched.
So wait, who else? Let's see. Best available right now. Will Johnson. No, position rank 2, overall rank 10. Just saying.
No, but
Jahad
that's the thing
Campbell.
is media doesn't get the medicals. So medicals can dramatically change the assessment of a player, and that's what it is in this case.
So wait. He had turf toe. Then he misses pro day with a hamstring.
No, there's a knee injury.
And now they're talking about a knee injury that can't be
I don't think
fixed.
it's an injury. I think it's some kind of condition that they're worried is going to cause injury in the future. It's something that probably only showed up on advanced medicals that teams were doing.
Thank you.
That,
Thanks for the offer.
Man, that sucks. If you're talking about a turf toe, hamstring, and now an underlying knee condition that you've had maybe for who knows how long. And Jake Davis, we really let the Eagles just get Campbell. Campbell on the Eagles is so scary. Hopefully not. How's it going?
What's up? Go Pack, go.
Yeah.
Don't you be saying "Go Pack, go" on our Vikings show?
You're a Packer fan, Ziggy.
Unleash Jeremy. I don't know Jeremy how Jeremy is as a source, but I'm going to use him right now. Albert Breer said Johnson's knee injury will progressively hamper him and his speed every year and can't be fixed.
I mean, if that's true.
Where are people hearing this, though?
Yeah, I
like he was going.
I mean, teams are leaking it out, is what it is, because teams are getting. Probably the Minnesota Vikings are leaking all this out, honestly.
I mean, I'd be happy to snag him in the second round now. whoever it may be.
It would be hysterical if Jeremy here was just making this up. That would be really funny, and I'd actually tip my cap there.
Like when people say Will Campbell or Will Johnson is this year's Cooper DeJean, the Cooper DeJean situation was totally different. That was a player slipping a little bit below because teams didn't buy the talent. Injury situations are entirely different. You just never know.
Arturo, yes, that's a good point, Ziggy. Arturo Santos, what are your thoughts on the draft so far?
Packers win. They won the draft. Congratulations.
I don't think they ran away with the draft.
I love the Giants draft.
I think people love the teams that add the most talent, but that's not always what it is. You should have the team that makes the smart
Truthfully,
I love the Giants draft.
If Will's knee is gone, I don't mind Donovan Jackson for the Vikings. I love the golden pick for the Packers. I think Loveland is a great receiving tight end. Maybe a little early, but and then the Lions is the one I actually had the biggest questions around. All right, let's see what are these guys doing.
Has to be Jahad Campbell.
Well, we don't know who's going to be, but let's see. They have 31 pick. Who are the Eagles going to select? Who they got?
Jahad Campbell, yeah.
You know, you were right, Jack. It's Jahad Campbell.
These sons of bitches.
An Alabama linebacker that screams Eagles.
No, they just always.
They were out of a Georgia player, so you go to the next best.
I mean, the thing about Jahad Campbell is I think this injury is a little bit less worrying long term. The thing with Jahad Campbell, and I think the reason teams were hesitant, is off-ball linebacker, I don't think is a position you want to target in the first round. As an edge rusher, he needs a lot of time to develop. But the Eagles are great at this. They're very happy to take players who they can be patient with, who they can give time to develop, and then let them be great in a year or two. Because the Eagles always have a bounty at these critical positions. So Campbell to the Eagles is a pick that I think makes a ton of sense.
Yeah,
the rich get richer.
I mean, we are, and I'm the main culprit here. We're talking about, Hurts and Brown and this Eagles dynamic offense. But what helped them big time to win the Super Bowl?
And what won them the Super Bowl was the defense.
And what held Mahomes to 10 points was this ferocious
The
defense.
game ended on the interceptions.
You can never have enough of these dogs up front, and they just got another one pretty late, in my opinion.
Well, but we talked about this. We said if you didn't go at 19 to Tampa, you could fall to the end of the first. And it's
and
the
here
Eagles.
We go.
Eagles
Yeah.
are sitting there and they're saying, "Hey, here's a guy who can play on the edge at times. He can play in the middle. He's a great athlete. If he lives up to the hype,
Roll damn tide,
they
baby.
got another absolute stud here." So this is how winning teams build up in the draft. And the Eagles, they just showed the graphic, the way they've built that defense up with Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, Jordan Davis, Jahad Campbell now. It's really, really impressive. And we're not even mentioning the guys. We're not even mentioning guys like Zach Bond, who was one of the best linebackers in football last year.
Yeah, the rich get richer.
Yeah.
You can't. You just can't have enough depth on up front there.
Ziggy, would you have been happier with the Vikings selecting Jihad Campbell or Donovan Jackson?
I think the Vikings are in a position where we have a lot of guys who can rush on the edge. I like our linebacker situation. Like, the thing you want with Jihad Campbell is when you don't have a linebacker who you're really comfortable sending in pass rush. And Zach Bond's a great player.
Look at that line.
But he's not so much of a pass rusher. Jihad Campbell, and I think our equivalent is Ivan Pace. Ivan Pace can cover really well. He can rush really well. He tackles really well. Jihad Campbell.
A little undersized, though. A little bit undersized.
Yeah, but a little bit undersized. If you want a guy that versatile, they can't also be big. You can't have absolutely everything. Jihad Campbell is going to be that guy for them, or at least they're hoping to.
Philly
But-
just has a
So
bunch
many-
of SEC dudes up front in that front seven. It's the best.
I just, with Jihad Campbell, I think needs a lot of time, and I shouldn't say struggle to see a projection. I struggle to see him hitting his potential anytime soon. I don't mind us passing on it. The combination of injury, and he's not great at any position. It's not like he's great at off ball and just needs to learn on ball. He needs to get better at everything.
So
I don't get it.
He is such an Eagle, though, through and through.
quickly, I just want to hit here. Jeremy says, do you think Jair Alexander will be traded during this draft? I don't. I actually think it's kind of trending towards him staying in Green Bay, which would be great for them.
I feel like with that golden pick spoke volume also about that.
Yeah, I mean,
If they had taken-
we talked about this a million times. If Alexander stays with the Packers, they need that number one cornerback.
If
The
Green-
room totally changes without him.
If Green Bay went and gotten Kentucky kid or Will Johnson, it's different.
Yeah.
But-
And then David here says, y'all made this the best draft night ever.
Barsamian?
No. Then
Oh,
we
different.
appreciate that.
We appreciate it. Thank
go
you.
Pack, go. Green and golden, baby boys. Tell me a bedtime story. So, Ziggy, I didn't really give you a moment, or at least I zoned out when the Vikings took Donovan Jackson. As a fellow Viking fan, did you want to talk about that a little bit more? I felt bad that my misery seemed to take away from your reaction.
So I liked, though more Will Campbell slips, in my mind, Will Campbell is no longer in the draft. Like, he's not a player we
Wait,
could
Will
expect.
Johnson?
Yeah, Will Johnson. I don't know why I
Okay.
said Will Campbell. Will Johnson.
Slate.
It's because Jihad Campbell just got selected. There is a player named Will Campbell in the draft.
Yeah.
We're all over it. We've been live for like 3 hours. It's 11 o'clock now, just about. I think Donovan Jackson, I think he's one of the more interesting like tackle guard hybrids. I love guards that you can move out to tackle if a guy gets hurt.
No, me too.
Because we had to trade a pick last year in order to get a tackle, and it worked out, but there's no guarantee. That's because the Jaguars had 3 great tackles.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot. I think the pick makes sense, and now that I've discovered that Will Johnson was not a player we could have gotten or that made sense for us to get, I'm okay with it. I was so tired. I mean, you look at why we lost last year. The interior offensive line failed when we needed it most.
I was being a baby before.
Look, you're always disappointed, but when we step back and look at it,
Yeah, I agree.
I think much more than the Jordan Morgan pick last year, this really makes sense for us.
And here goes
We
Josh
needed
Simmons.
this.
It makes
And
sense
the
here for the
Chiefs
Chiefs.
are rounding this out by taking tackle Josh Simmons out of Ohio State.
Do you know what's funny? The Chiefs, after all is said and done, pick at number 32.
Yeah.
Yep. Josh Simmons, I mean, this is a guy more than just about anyone else, I guess apparently Will Johnson, where the medicals really mattered. Patella injuries in your left knee, depending on how bad that can really mess you up. The Chiefs are in a bad spot at tackle. You gotta remember, they signed that kid out of San Francisco to a 2-year, $30 million contract when he started 4 or 6 games in his entire career. They need to tackle. You don't want to count on a guy who's never played football at the NFL level to be the starting tackle for Patrick Mahomes. At least you can have 2 of them now. So I think he can be a tremendous starting left tackle if he can get healthy. He's got the athleticism. I like it.
Look at what happened in that Super Bowl. We were just talking about it, how good Philly is and how they just totally dismantled Kansas City up front.
Look at the Bucs Super Bowl.
How
versus
great!
the Chiefs.
But here's the other thing that's kind of nuts about Philly. How great was that interior with Trey Smith, Creed Humphrey, and Joe Tooney, and they got wrecked by
They got
Philly's
destroyed,
interior.
yeah.
So it's at some point it's just the Eagles were just on one.
I mean,
But if
we've
you got a tackle you
seen-
can roll out.
Yeah.
We've seen Mahomes and the Chiefs. He's good enough to take him to the promised land. But the 2 Super Bowls that he couldn't finish, they got murdered up front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with Tampa too. And Simmons was the guy that Donovan Jackson filled in for, right? If I'm wrong.
Yep.
Jackson filled in for Simmons after his injury against Oregon earlier in the season. So, yeah, this is someone who was very good at Ohio State and he tore his patellar tendons, unfortunately. But
independent of the injury, I think Simmons would have been a real competitor for at least tackle 2, maybe even tackle 1. He's the most traditional tackle available in this draft.
That's what always is amazing about these teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs. They're very good at selecting late in the draft here. Where Josh Simmons should be a very good pick if he recovers well. Jahad Campbell should be a very good pick if he recovers well. You get really good talent that fell due to injury, and there's always a little concern there. But
And the best teams in
I
the
think they're
league
both
find
happy.
ways to scoop them up.
Yeah, if you're that's why they stay at the top here.
Well, that's it. That's the first round.
Okay, let's see here. Just visiting the comment section right before we get ready to log off.
First
Kelly.
of all, a lot of you have stuck around for a really long time.
We appreciate you guys.
every single one of you that's been here for this.
Yep.
We've had pretty consistently 300 to 400 people in here the whole time watching this. We're just 3 guys at the NFL draft. You make this special. We really appreciate
Should we
you.
stay on overnight up until the second round?
24
What
straight
time
hours.
is this room
Yeah.
closed? They've only brought out pick 9 in there.
Yeah,
There's so
Matthew
many guys
Golden's
listening.
still
We could be
coming
here
out.
for hours.
Just went there with.
Yeah, who's out there right now?
Yeah,
Shamar
Shamar Stewart
Stewart
just entered the
He was
interview
picked
room.
17, right?
Okay, so it could be hours before they're done here.
Let's see, just going through the chat here. Kelly
Sorry.
says 3 years. He's one of the best linebackers in the league. Gotta love the Eagles' luck. John, you guys are the best. Can't wait for September. That'll be funny. Seth asks you, Ziggy, you going shirtless in Lambeau?
Got to.
We're not talking about
That'd
this.
be, could
Got
you
it.
imagine that on Twitter?
It's
baby.
It's too late, man.
You have to.
Blind the camera.
The whiteness would lie.
Can you go shirtless now for us, please?
Jeremy, thank you. You made this the best draft night of all time. You guys are amazing.
Is that Jeremy Shockey?
Closet Packer fans. Yeah, Shedeur. Oh, here's our buddy Andrew. Shedeur to the Jets at 42. Shedeur not going in the first to me was still pretty
Well,
surprising.
I mean, he stinks.
Yeah, NFL
Scott,
teams
we
have
love
made
you
their
too.
choice.
A bunch of really nice comments coming in here from everybody. Really
So-
appreciate everyone.
Just to review our plans, we will be going live again for at least the second round of the draft tomorrow.
Maybe.
Potentially.
What do you mean, mate? We're going live for the
Potentially.
second round.
It's still
I mean,
up
this,
in the
this
air.
is 4 hours.
It's still up in the air.
Second round will be a lot faster.
Ziggy's going to push for it, but maybe.
Maybe.
Well, let us know right now. Are you guys watching the second round here? Ryan, from your experience doing these second round, how packed is the media room?
I don't know.
Oh, this is Ryan's first
I've
round.
I've heard a lot of people say that it dies on day 2. Absolutely dies.
Well, we're going to be here either way, so.
Ziggy wants it.
Ziggy wants
it bad.
I'm 50-50 on.
That is true. He did come all the way here. We could be kind of crazy not to.
I think
All
we
right.
should do fan interviews.
So-
I'll talk off air.
Yeah. Andrew Keane. Jack loved Shedeur until the Steelers passed on him.
I think he's terrible, Shedeur. He plays daddy ball all his life.
Zach, I've been back and forth. You're welcome for. Thank you for coming. You guys should be IRL streamers. Scott Becker. So yeah, we're gonna have a lot more coming out this week. It's been really cool. This was a great night. Donovan Jackson, man, you talk about future All Pros.
I mean,
falling
Donovan
in the
Jackson,
draft.
I really think the Vikings won the draft tonight. They were patient. They didn't take the guy with the knee injury. They took a position of need, the position that ruined us. They're building around J.J. McCarthy.
When you
There's
think
a really,
about
the
winning
Vikings have a kind of
football,
perceptiveness
the
in
Minnesota
draft
Vikings
that-
time and time again find ways to defy the
Yeah, well, so-
expectation.
Well, this is the thing, right?
The Giants won the
I
draft.
just said it. You and I are a bunch of guys. If the Vikings do what we think, I mean, that just shows they're thinking like everyone else.
The Giants won the draft.
Kwesi Adolpho, man, you talk about geniuses. I've been
I'm gonna
reading.
say,
I've been reading
overwhelmingly
the
people
Life
say they want
article.
day 2.
Yeah, I've been reading the Life article.
Overwhelmingly.
That was the top 10 or top 100 people who influenced the world. Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is going to change the way we think about football by the time he's done here, and I think it's because
He's the Mahatma
he
Gandhi
can
of
see
football.
things that.
I don't know what you guys are talking
He's
about.
the
just messing
Pythagoras
around,
of football.
The Giants won the draft.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Let's close it with this. Were there any clear losers tonight, in your guys' opinion?
We always say who's going to win, but what about who's going to lose?
Any clear losers? Now, I might need to actually pull up the draft board.
I mean, to be honest, I'm not gonna say it because I love my guy. So I'm not gonna. I was just surprised that Dallas didn't take a receiver. But I'm not gonna say they're a loser of the draft because Tyler Booker's an animal. But I was surprised they didn't go receiver for number 2 with CeeDee Lamb.
I really think the Chargers whiffed not taking a wide receiver.
Okay,
I really didn't like the Marion Hampton pick. That's the only pick I saw that I thought you guys really could have done better.
I don't want to say loser because all these guys who go in the first round are awesome players.
It's hard. I don't like saying it either.
No, you know who it is? It's the
there were no. I mean, I thought
Tyleek
Genty
Williams.
The
Lions
didn't make a lot of sense.
Yes, the
but there were
Lions.
no truly baffling picks tonight.
Tyleek Williams was a reach.
I questioned the Lions pick with Tyleek Williams.
I mean, I don't mind the pick.
No. Again, I don't think there was anyone where I sat back and went, "Whoa."
No.
I definitely questioned Booker to the Cow, but again,
Right, but
he's
not-
the best. He's the nicest guy in the world. So I love Tyler.
Right,
Is he up there right now?
Not a loser.
Tyler Booker's right
Booker's
there
up
right
there.
now?
Booker's up there.
He's
Dude.
our guy.
Jack, go talk to Tyler Booker.
I got to log off.
Go ahead. Go.
Can I go? Can I go?
The Saints taking Kelvin Banks
Guys, it was
at
awesome.
9 was pretty interesting. He's up there right now. He's the nicest guy in the world. All right.
In there?
We're going to wrap it up. We might go say hi to Tyler Booker. Ziggy.
There's no chance we get Tyler Booker. Jack might.
Why, he's friends with him.
We'll go from there.
Oh, he's going to slowly walk. Oh, all right. So we have a couple minutes here. Jack. So those are some of the picks that we questioned.
He doesn't want to be here.
Let's end it here. Winner, Ziggy. Any clear winner tonight?
I really liked. Who did I really like?
We've been talking about him all weekend. Giants.
I think the clear winner is the Green Bay Packers. They did what they needed to do. They didn't reach. They didn't panic. They got a great player.
Top
in a
guy
position of need.
who you thought might go in that 12 to 15 range, fell all the way down to 23. It was great. It was a great pick. I liked it too. Were you hit to? I think the Giants are definitely a win. Well, here's the thing though with the Giants is, it depends how much you believe in Jaxson Dart. So, but still, I think just taking Abdul Carter and getting the quarterback you like. Well, there goes the camera.
Camera just died.
Might be a good
All right,
time
well,
to call it a
the
show
camera's out.
here.
Ryu Hitsuya, thank you. We hope we run into you at the draft. Camera is out. Almost everyone said they do round 2 coverage, so we will see. But thank you all for tuning in. We appreciate it bunches. It was awesome having you here.
It's been a lot of fun.
We'll see you soon regardless.
All right. Have a good one.
Sign off.
Nice. That was a lot of fun. Thank you.
That was